but we live in denial and we're telling lies to ourselves. So, tí gbogbo wa bá ti agree pé kò ṣiṣẹ́, then I will move forward. But for the fact that some people are still clamoring for Nigeria, they then defend it. Then defend Nigeria back to back. And defend into Shisha. So that is where we are having problems. Because many people are defending the contraction. Don't in the country. You look in country. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ yín tí ẹ̀ ń sọ pé country ní Nigeria, I pity you. Àwa táwọn pé kò ń ṣe country because tó bá yẹ pé country ní Nigeria, ó yẹ kó máa care fún àwọn citizen ẹ̀. Gbogbo tí citizen ẹ̀ bá náà fẹ́ ló yẹ kó bá fẹ́. Ó yẹ kó lè defend àwọn citizens ẹ̀ against atrocities, against crime, against this, against that. But unfortunately, àwọn Nigerians gan ni wọ́n ní ká lọ gbẹnu sàn pé everything wà okay. Nígbà tẹ́lẹ̀ ti sọ pé everything wà okay. So kí lẹ tún fẹ́ káwa máa sọ? Ẹ̀yin lẹ ń defend ẹ̀ náà. Ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń defend Nigeria gangan ni ẹ̀ ń dáṣẹ́ dúró. Ìjọ tẹ́yìn ò bá ti defend Nigeria mọ́, ẹ rí pé Nigeria ó máa wọlẹ̀. But for the fact that we have people that are defending, the contraction, and then defend it now. We can't be defending something that is not working, Into bá ṣiṣẹ́ ò ṣiṣẹ́ kò sí iyèméjì nínú yẹn. Wọ́n mú yẹn sí yẹn kò ṣiṣẹ́ ń jẹ́ pé kò ṣiṣẹ́. But we have millions of Nigerians tí wọ́n mọ̀ tán pè ní country tán defend it. Ẹ̀yin lẹ́ ń defend it now. You keep defending it. And the more tẹ́ bá ṣe ń defend it, the more ní Nigeria yẹn máa strong sí. Bọ́jọ́ tí gbogbo bá ti accept pé kò ṣiṣẹ́, tí gbogbo á dẹ̀ dúró lórí pé kò ṣiṣẹ́ yẹn, ẹ realize pé within days, within weeks, but many people are defending it. And defending tó ṣiṣẹ́, kò add up. Tàbá dẹ̀ sọ, tàbá sọ lọ sọ́bọ̀. Ẹ máa sọ pé ká shut up. Ẹ ní ká come back home. Ìtẹ̀ máa sọ nìyẹn. Ẹ ń defend ìlú tó ṣiṣẹ́ kò add up. Àdètí parí títí. Àti campaign, àdẹ̀ṣe campaign pé bí ìlú ṣe operate kò ń ṣe country. Bí country ṣe operate kọ́ nìyẹn. But because ẹ lóyà sáwọn àwọn lórí burúkú politicians yẹn, àwọn tó ti bayé jẹ́, wọ́n ti bayé jẹ́, wọ́n ti bọ̀nà jẹ́.
We're celebrating Christmas. Yes. But wherever you are listening to us from, are you listening to us from Nigeria? So are you going to be enjoying the free train transport along the length and breadth of the country? Well. You want to know more about all that? I'm going to be telling you more about that in a moment. So wherever you are, don't touch the dial as we go straight to our North London studios, where my colleague and co-presenter, Mr. Olayomi Koiki, is this morning. Yomi, I know what is happening. And that is causing your thing to be doing that. But don't worry, I'm going to sort you out. Bayomi, good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Archie, and a good morning to all our viewers and listeners around the globe.
How are you? And how is the family?
We're doing very well. We're great, and it's good to be back again this morning after the long night of the winter time.
Well, some of you who could sleep, that is good for you. But those of us who can't sleep, we have to be waking up doing production and other stuff at dawn and stuff like that. So we don't enjoy it. But, well, it is a good one. We have Mr. Olayomi Koiki, my colleague and co-presenter in our North London studios, where we're going to be looking at everything Nigeria now. But let's start it from Niger Voices yesterday. The statement that was made by Professor Banji Akintoye pertaining to some elites who seem to be derailing or misinforming people pertaining to the Yoruba nation bit. For the sake of those who did not manage to join the program, can you just touch briefly on that as well, please?
Well, Niger Voices, like we always say, comes up every Wednesday on the Star Radio UK network, where we discuss so many things pertaining to Nigerians in diaspora, Nigerians at home, and those that have now decided to start, differentiating whether Nigeria is a country, and if it is a country, who are those that are culture or those that are the indigenous people, as we call them in Nigeria. We started on the note of the insecurity in the country that we've been talking about for some days now, and that seems to continue up to where individuals are being arrested, and likewise individuals are being killed. So how do we get this insecurity out of the way was part of the first hour of the program. Continue to checkmate the current administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And likewise, as we continue to move away from there, we went straight into, like you said, what Professor Banji Akintoye, the leader of the Yoruba Self-Determination Group, said in a daily and it's an open message, to the Yoruba elite, just to remind them that, the reason why, they are not supported today, we might be more in danger because the Armenians, were all, genocided, during the talks in the 19th century, when their elite refused to be part of what could have saved the Armenians. As at that period, it was one of the most genocide that is still in the history as we speak today. So that also led us to questions, surrounding, the future of Nigeria, as many decided to speak out, especially those that voted for this administration. We went into some of the the reportage that came out from Nigeria in the last 72 hours prior before Niger Voices, telling us how the pains of not literally enjoying the government, though the government might say we are new, but people believe that this is the ninth year of the government because it's still the same APC. Many of those that are lamenting were those that also paid their price to campaign and also voted for the administration. So it's quite a lot, that is being discussed. But like I said, we took on that note where we then look into the dailies that we couldn't complete because of the time strain in the morning.
Well, listeners, so that is a bit for you there. So if you ever miss Niger Voices, oh boy, you are missing a great thing. But we want to encourage you that just go to the Starr Radio UK platforms and you will have a real listen to it, and it will inform you greatly. We are here to give you the necessary information. But now, because of time, so let's kick on straight with what we want to be looking at today. Well, what better present can the administration of Bola Tinubu give to Nigerians by saying that, look, I know that traveling the length and breadth of the country during these festivities is quite expensive. Now, free transport for you. But we know the transport system, where the other time, I think sometime last year, when people were traveling on it, or was it this year, when people were traveling on it and there were kidnappings and stuff like that. So people will be a bit apprehensive. Do I go on that transport knowing that now people know that, yes, people are traveling freely and stuff like that, that's going to happen. But you know what I mean? It's a good news, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it's a good news, and also that will save some certain kind of money for many Nigerians that will be traveling in the next couple of days. The road network will be extremely busy, just like anywhere around the world, and that doesn't mean that what the government decided to do is to say that we're trying our best, especially in this very difficult time. When many Nigerians would love to go back, especially those that are living in Lagos State or those that are probably outside Lagos or the north, middle, to come back to their loved ones and celebrate the Christmas festival. So the president, under the news came out yesterday that 50% reduction will now be granted to anyone that wants to travel. How that is going to be done, we'll have to continue to monitor that. But like I said, it has been a lot of different, conversation as well, because the labor has literally kicked against it. But again, the government thinks that that is in the best interest. You talked about, the real network where during the period of the former president, there were some kidnap and also killings of innocent Nigerians. I think we haven't had or seen any such of attack. Maybe the security has been beefed up a little bit. I can confirm that as much as many Nigerians still traveled and plied these very dangerous roads, but it seems that again, it is just sometimes those terrorists that are just lying down the bush take advantage, because I know someone that traveled through the Kaduna Abuja road in the last couple of days. And as much as we were concerned, but again, this individual said it was a pressing need for them to be in Kaduna. But again, like I said, sometimes you might not be lucky, especially when those terrorists that are just lying down the bush will pick you up.
Well, it is true. It is true. But in these times, we just have to wish everybody the best in those difficult and challenging times. But let's Labour's statement that they made pertaining to the fact that they think that it's not a good move by government. Someone will say, listen, every little helps. Now, if Labour is asking for increments, now how many percentage of Nigerian population is working for government? They are let's say 20%, or let's say 30%. The 70%, whatever increment that Labour is getting, the Nigerian Labour forces are getting, I don't think those other people will be benefiting from it. So if the government has done a blanket saying that, well, ideally I would say that it should be means tested, so that if I have money, I don't need to get it for free. I can afford to pay my quota, or maybe a knockdown, something just to also help to boost whatever thing that is going on. But what do you think about Labour's punching or knocking the government pertaining to this action that the government has taken?
Well, you're quite right. The labor is there to protect, not just the workers, to fight, on behalf of many, workers that are working for the private, the public, and likewise, those that are doing their own self businesses, and protect them as well. So 50% transport subsidy, federal government slash the interstate fares, but the labor is already knocking the government. Why are they doing that? The federal government yesterday has actually announced a 50% reduction in the transportation cost will go along 22 interstate routes during this Christmas season. This was known by the Minister of Solid Mineral Development, Mr. Dele Alake, who actually chairs the Inter-Ministry Committee on the Presidential Intervention, disclosed this during the State House correspondent in Abuja, Asorok, yesterday. But like I said, already we've been hearing the reaction from the labor. According to the National Union Road Transport Workers, Shegun Falade says that the union will literally commence the implementation on fares from today. And I will confirm that tomorrow. I'll be sending our team that are representing us back in Nigeria out to confirm if they are traveling from Lagos to Ibadan or Ekiti. They will be getting this discount before they board, so that there'll probably not be fighting going on by the time they've boarded the transport, and then reduction will not be happening. Well, given the further explanation, I like to say the 50% reduction in the fares was arrived at the conjunction with companies operating luxurious buses. President Bola Tinubu has literally directed that commuters on all train services will get a free ride on Thursday up to the January 4th, 2024. But the Nigerian Labour Congress and the trade union faulted this initiative, describing that the federal government of President Bola Tinubu is just as confused as Nigeria itself is confused.
Well, I'm not too differ there. I mean, if government is doing that, why not? I mean, majority of people are going to benefit from it. But listen, let's start already. Anthony Energy, once again, thank you very much for listening in. But let's touch on this story. Now, Nigeria's debt is shot up to what? 87, that is the domestic debt, I believe. Yes, shot up to 87 trillion naira in quarter three, the third quarter that is ending. That was ending September. So, what do you think is going on? Do we see a corresponding development in the country, or yes, to show all that we are borrowing money, or is it again, like I said, money that we are just taking to maybe pay up loans or pay workers, which becomes a recurrent thing? Is that what is going on?
Well, every country is owing. I mean, America is in a big debt. UK, United Arab Emirates. But when we look into those countries, how do we gauge whether their citizens are also enjoying the benefit of if the country is in debt? Many Nigerians will probably not worried if they have the basic things of life. If Nigeria is owing, as much, because as long as what the purpose of those loans that were taken by the previous administration, and the new one is working on behalf of Nigerians. But again, what we've seen is that we've seen wastage. We've seen not just wastage, we've seen also that because the country is not producing as much, so the little revenue that is coming in was also being used to pay our debt. Well, like you said, the Nigerian total public debt stock has now hit about 87.91 trillion, which is close to about $114.35 billion as at September, according to the statement by the Debt Management Office on Wednesday yesterday in Abuja. The DMO says that the amount, represent the domestic external debt of the federal government, the 36 state government. Remember that each of these state governors also, at some point, do borrow money, but the question is whether their borrowing reflect into the lives of many Nigerians in those states. I mean, you can continue to borrow, for projects, but sometimes those projects are probably not even, what borrowing for, because we've seen projects that sometimes the quality, of those projects are not up to the standard, but yet some of the governors have taken advantage and borrow along the line. The 87.91 trillion total debt, which we said is about almost $114 million, billion dollars rather, is what we called a marginal increase of 61% when compared to June figure, which was just under 87.38 trillion naira. But the debt office said this trend was explained by the decrease in the external debt from $43.16 billion as of June 30th to $41.59 billion as of September. It also went further to say that the moderate increase is just under 1.80 trillion in the domestic debt. Also, our external debt continued to increase due to the redemption of $500 million Euro bond. It also increased due to the payment of $413 million as a first principal repayment. We have to continue to pay the debt, if otherwise, we will all be in debt with some of those countries that we've taken the loan from in the first place.
Wow. Let's start really quickly. He said we have to pay the debt. If not,
if not, some of us might be traveling, that they might be holding us when we're traveling, especially if you're going on in Nigeria. Imagine traveling to China with a Nigerian passport and they say, just, oh God, just stay there. It seems that we have some issue with your country. I'm sure it doesn't go like that, but, just a little bit of...
Well, interestingly, Nigeria was trying to, information that came through this morning, trying to, get the yuan, the Chinese currency to be used in trading. So is it that they want to boycott the usage of the dollars and now start using the Chinese yuan for currency exchange?
I'm not too sure if we're going to be able to use that in Nigeria, but again, I know that there's a lot of push by the Chinese. I know there's dollarization that is also, coming up. So there's a lot of, especially when you look at the BRICS summit that took place in South Africa not too long ago. It seems that, especially there's a fight going on between Russia and Ukraine. So the dollarization is becoming more pressure. Whether we will be able to start using our own currency to operate, time will tell as well.
Okay, listeners, it is Starr Radio UK. I was looking for one other story that has eluded me, pertaining to the oil refinery in the south that was supposed to have been started, and information coming through says that it's started. Do you have any information to that?
Well, I mean, that is what the news is saying. But again, the news can say that. We just have to make sure that that is exactly what it means. You know, the headline says the Port Harcourt Refinery recommences operation after years of shutdown. The development is coming after many years of underperformance, turnaround maintenance of the facility. Let's go into it a little bit. The Port Harcourt Refinery Company in Rivers State has recommenced operation in line with the federal government promise to ensure production of refined product at the facility coming up to the end of this month, December 2023. This development is coming after many years of underperformance, the turnaround maintenance of the facility. Four of the Nigeria's refineries in Port Harcourt, Warri, Kaduna have a combined capacity to process 445,000 barrels per day, but they have been shut down since 2019. However, in August, the Minister of the State for Petroleum Resources, Senator Enik Lukoburi Biri, said the Port Harcourt refinery will recommence operation in December, which is exactly what they are saying now. Well, Lukoburi said this as an inspection tour of the rehabilitation work in the Port Harcourt refinery plant. Our objective in the coming year today is to ensure that in the next few years, Nigeria stop fuel importation. I will not believe that, but again, it's a good note if the Port Harcourt refinery is back on board. But to say that we are not going to be importing refinery or refined product, I would definitely say that it's probably talking to those in Nigeria, not those of us outside the country.
Well, listeners in the Starr Radio, okay? Mr. Laimi Koikimedia and North London studios. I'm actually here in the South studios, and we're bringing you updates from Nigeria. I would let Yomi bring you the rest of the stories making the rounds. Over to you, sir.
Well, 26 minutes past 11, 21st of December 2023, countdown to that. Christmas time, and also countdown to Issue Day. Issue Day is coming up on the 24th across the world. As we always say, Issue is not the Satan that is now been linked to by so many Nollywood that have tried to destroy a tradition, tried to destroy an indigenous people by giving false narrative, and everybody commit a crime, they always say is because of the issue. Well, Oshiomhole was the biggest threat to the APC, needed to be removed as the chairman. Well, it seems that politics is back again since that the government have settled down. The internal wrangling fight continue as they all prepare again for 2027. Politicians care less. They're always ahead of the game. And when they start criticizing each other, be rest assured that something is just cooking underneath. And sometimes you might end up finding them in the same gathering, in a wedding, and then they are drinking wine. These are the two faces. Oshiomhole is a time well known, as we all know. He's been a governor. He's been also a Labour president as well at some point. While the one on the right-hand side is known as former governor of Ogun State, Amosun Ibukunle, currently a senator as well. They continue to be in the politics, and they continue to say that they are doing their best. But the question is, he left Ogun State with so much, not just debt, also unstable system. He was so wicked in the sense that he actually refused to, to fix certain areas. Especially, I came from Ogun State, so I can talk about that. This governor, as at the time, would not fix certain parts in Ogun State because he says that most of them never voted for him. So you can see that even within the tenure of people like these, sometimes we should call them back for inquiry, but this doesn't happen in a country like Nigeria. Former Ogun State Governor Ibukunle Amosun has said that Senator representing Edo North, Adams Oshiomhole, needed to be removed as the national chair of the All Progressive Congress. At the time, he was ousted because he was a threat to the party. Oshiomhole was the APC National Party between 2018 and 2020 when former President Muhammadu Buhari was the party national leader. In building up to the 2019 election, remember, we were on the ground as well. Just as, like I said again, I was covering the election in Ogun State, while the party wanted Dapo Abiodun, which is the current governor in Ogun State. Well, I'm also refused to go in line with that. He wanted another candidate, which eventually lost to Dapo Abiodun. But in 2019 build-up, the former governor, Rocha Okorocha, remember? I'm sure the one that created that happiness commissioner of Imo State, and Ibukunle Amosun of Ogun State were all aggrieved over APC primary polls presided over by Oshiomhole. Like I said, it's easier for them to come out and criticize each other, but they are still in the same party, and they're just probably doing that as they prepare for the 2027 again. Well, as we go back again, no going back. Well, not going back for the Yoruba, but it's about no going back to PDP, says cross-carpeting River APC lawmakers. Remember that last week we talked about 27 lawmakers that decided to leave PDP into APC, but they are now saying that we are not going back, just like we hear that all the time from those that are campaigning for the right to self-determination. We have crossed that Rubicon, and there is no going back for us. Eneme George have said, as the political complexity in Rivers State continue to dominate discussion in the country, a member of the Rivers State House of Assembly who defected to the All Progressive Congress APC from the People's Democratic Party, Emeni George has ruled out returning to the former party, explaining the resolve of the cross-carpeting members to remain with their new party. George, who was a guest on the news platform yesterday, said that the 27 of them that moved to APC are committed to supporting President Bola Tinubu's Renew Hope agenda. So it seems that they actually dumped Atiku now for the Renew change. So you can tell that politics in Africa is all about them, not about the people that actually voted, because people voted for them because they were members of PDP. Imagine if I voted for a Labour Party, and then along the line he decided to switch to Conservative. I might have the right to recall him back because my vote was not for Conservative, and it goes vice versa. AFDA, we talked about this because again, it's not in Nigeria, but because we know Femi Akinwumi Adesina, the African Development Bank president, also Dr. Akinwumi, from Nigeria, is talking about the withdrawal of international Starr from Ethiopia amid diplomatic breach. Not too sure what that means, but let's go into it. The bank president, Dr. Akinwumi Adesina, a former minister and a Greek during the Jonathan, I believe, in a statement issued on Wednesday yesterday that the office would, however, remain open under an office in charge. Those measures will not affect national recruited staff from Ethiopia who will continue their work and remain full employment with the bank. The bank will assure them and their family of its duty of care. I love that word. This is the word that many Nigerian politicians do not give Nigerians, duty of care. Well, they care about themselves, especially when they run out of Nigeria into other countries for properly taking care of themselves, but not to Nigerians. 11:32. I'm going to come back again to you in the studio, Mr. Archie. Then when we come back, we'll review some of those things coming out of the social media again this morning.
Well, listeners, Mr. Olayomi Koiki bringing you everything that you need to know as per what is happening in Nigeria. But before we go to, let me acknowledge every one of you who have tuned in. Yes, the various people on the various platforms, the sister broadcast platforms that you are listening to us from. We appreciate each and every one of you. As I said earlier on, without you, there is no need use for us coming to city, and therefore you hold our backs, and we appreciate it greatly. Now, it's talking about mental psychiatric patients in Yaba Hospital that has increased by 100%. Now, I touched on this one because we're looking at a time where either because of loneliness in this part of the world, which I think that Africa might not have that, but again, because people have traveled to various parts of the country to go and work, and maybe they think that even if I get free transport and I go there, do I have what it takes to actually do whatever I want to do? You go and see your grandma or your mom and stuff, you don't have the means to do that. So mental health in that part, in Nigeria as a whole, and then Yaba as a place, how do you see it all? Why the increment? Is Nigeria not actually helping out in those things?
Well, we pray all the time that we do not have breakdown when things goes wrong, and as human beings, some point in our life, either through a loved one that died, either through the current situation of the country. Each morning, I've been up about 4 o'clock this morning before I went back again to bed, and I actually zoom around different platforms to see what is being said there, and you would wonder why many Africans are now looking to exit Africa. We're not talking about Nigerians now, we're talking about many Africans from Ghana, and different platforms are now also advising what you should be expecting. We had one of our campaigner, Yalaje, had a guest yesterday, Sister Yeti Queen. She's a lawyer, also a lecturer in the UK. She talked about many of those that are now arriving into Europe probably will not understand that the system is different from where we're coming from. We blame culture for beating our wives, doing so many things. But what we are talking about this morning is about not just in Nigeria, it's just about many of us are going through so many things. But do we have these services? Federal Neuropsychiatric Hospital Yaba is well known. Many people will know Yaba. Even those that live in that area are always concerned because sometimes people could dress as normal, but trust me, they are not normal people because they have gone through a psychiatric issues or problems. We also have one in Abeokuta called Aro. How functioning they are, I don't know, but let's go into it. According to the Chief Medical Director of the Federal Neuropsychiatric Hospital, Yaba, Lagos, Dr. Oluwagbenga Oweye, has said that there has now been increase of 100% in the psychiatric patients admitted into the hospital in the year ending 2023. What could be leading to many people breaking down? Again, making the disclosure yesterday in Lagos during the hospital annual scorecard presentation, the CMD blamed the country's economic challenges, among other social economic factors, as the responsible for the increase. He said it had been deducted that in 2023, the total number of patients that are now attendance increased by 3%. There was 7% increase in cases attended compared to no increase in 2022. We have also 100% increase in admission cases in which the drug abuse cases is 10%. Many Nigerians have now ended up to drug abuse. And like we always say, the best thing is to avoid it. If you're feeling lonely, maybe you pick up a call, speak to someone. And if you're one of those that are calling, you might want to sometimes take time to speak to them. Mr. Archie, we that are in these public figure that talks every day, we receive calls in tones and numbers. People are going through different things. And I'm not talking about Nigeria alone. I'm talking about in Europe, in America. But the only thing we can always do is we don't have what they have, but we can always console them when they reach out to us.
Well, it is so true, so true. Because mental health, you can just have anything can just snap like that. But who is there to help you? Maybe you just need to talk to somebody and you'll be okay. But as Yomi is saying, so when you have the call, at times, but when it's worrying when you have one call, can you give me $50? Can you give me £100? Can you give me any?
I always say that maybe they should go to their politicians.
Of course, because they keep on voting for them. That's why they are doing whatever things that they are doing. Well, listen at Starr Radio, okay. Yomi will bring you what is happening on the social media platform.
The Yoruba Nation Clubhouse says that the copper mask of Oba Lufon, let's see if we can get it out quickly, is being discussed this morning as they posted that just an hour ago. As the Yoruba campaigners continue to promote the Yoruba transistor radio that has now reached the shore of Yoruba land, if you're interested to have one, well, you can buy one and also give one as a Christmas to your loved ones. It is only on the shortwave that you'll be able to listen to the live transmission where Professor Banji Akintoye will be speaking to us on the 1st of January. I've been confirming that already. Chief Sunday Bo will also be speaking at some point during the period. It's on the shortwave, but it also has the FM inbuilt, which you can also continue to monitor other news from Nigeria as well. But in future, there might be the FM Yoruba Nation, but for now, this transistor radio also have what they call the Bluetooth Connect, also have the solar panel. That means you can literally charge it. You can also charge it using the house input. You can use the battery. It also has a USB port where you can literally also connect your phones as well. Well, now let's go straight to social media at 11:38. As many festival period has been are coming to you, but again, the Yoruba Nation Clubhouse says the copper, which you're looking behind me, Oba Lufon II came into power in Ife Kingdom at the time of great turmoil. The life-size pure copper mask of Oba Lufon represents supremacy of the Yoruba artistic dexterity in the medieval era. Copper is an extremely brittle metal. Going further to cast, Europeans tried severally but failed to master the art of casting, molding copper without shattering it. They had to add some impunity in order to manage it. Yorubas were able to do this with almost 100% copper. Oba Lufon is also known for introducing the Ogbonic system of democratic check and balance in Yoruba land, including the Iweri Mefa institution, 6 elders, and their symbolic gesture. I had the privilege to reach out to the Metropolitan Police in UK in October under the FOI. to find out where and what is happening to one of the Yoruba sculpture that has been kept here because it's got to do with what we called a buyer that wanted to sell it in UK some years ago. But as usual, they've returned back my request, even though my request was not as fully granted because I've been told that it's got some personal information details. And because of what I'm going to be using it for, it will be very difficult for the Metropolitan Police, to release such information to us. But the question is, what is the Ooni of Ife, the Ojaja II, the paramount ruler of Yoruba land, should be doing is to communicate now to the King Charles to find out why a 1,000-year-old sculpture kept in UK with the Metropolitan Police being kept there, probably dusty, when it should be returned back to where it was actually meant to be. Well, the Metropolitan Police, from what we heard, wanted Nigeria government to negotiate with the individual that brought it from Belgium, that brought it for €200. And I'm not joking, that was what he paid because the government in Belgium actually auctioned it. And this sculpture, that is 1,000 years old, more than enough to give back to Nigeria in multiple fold. We hope that Ooni of Ife, the Ojaja II, will be doing everything possibly best to see how we can get this sculpture out. Well, let's look at what more is trending on the social media this morning in terms of Simon Ekpa continue to trend. And it seems that there's this systemic way of pulling down videos, especially the ones that comes with Simon Ekpa. I noticed that this morning they had a press briefing 24 hours ago with Bazonia. We transmitted that this morning. Facebook says that we can't, YouTube says we can't have such video on our timeline, and they actually pull it down. It shows that the social media platforms are aware of what is happening in Nigeria, but they are systematically not allowing the news to come out. Maybe they are not agreeing to what Simon Ekpa and the Ambazonia are doing, but like I will always say, if we don't allow peace to happen, then there will be problem ahead. So that is what we can say this morning. But like I said, Simon Ekpa continues to trend as usual. Many congratulations to Nigeria. Not too sure why. I believe it might be to the Port Harcourt Refinery, but it's easier said than done. When Nigeria says things is done and ready, you need to just double check it again. Fulani is trending this morning. Oshiomhole is trending. We talked about it. And the 40 GB is trending. I guess that is linked to the video. Not too sure why they're calling the 40 GB. But again, as usual, that is how far we can go at 11:42 this morning. My name is Olami Koiki, Starr Radio UK. I'll come back again to you in the studio, Mr. Archie.
Yeah, I remember back in, was it last year or this year when the national airline was launched, and then we ended up finding out that there wasn't any plane there.
They actually, went to Topia and give us, a painted plane or pay so much money. So if they're saying the refinery Port Harcourt is working, I just have to make sure that the window is closed.
Well, listeners, that has been Mr. Live for you. We'll be back. He'll be back tomorrow before we take the Christmas break. So keep your dance on locked on Starr Radio again. Yummy, let me say thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Archie. Bye for now.
Bye-bye. All right, then, listeners. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Let's take a quick break, and once we come back, we'll continue with the show.
All right. While I take a quick break, good morning, everyone. I'm going to first go and do Muti Boyle and Yebidi Pami. So, I think Showore spoke somewhere at the book launch yesterday. I listened to a bit of it. Only our time Jakpa, not like my Jakpada. Because at some point, something will lead to something, and Nigeria will eventually start falling apart. But go to fall apart, there's a lot of what we need to do, which is what we are doing right now. Continue our own campaign. And draw fún ẹni tó máa wá fún yín ní iṣẹ́ tí ẹ fi ṣe wàhálà lé lórí. Ṣé rò pé ìlú táwa náà wà tá à ń jàǹfààní ẹ̀? Àwọn kan ló jà, ẹ̀jẹ̀ sùn lọ rẹpẹtẹ. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni, ẹ̀jẹ̀ ta sílẹ̀ gan nílùú yìí ká tó lè máa gbádùn ẹ̀. So tí ìyàn kan bá ń sọ wọ́n pé ó máa wá lásán, èmi náà sọ pé ó máa wá lásán náà ni. Àárín jà o, àmọ́ tó bá tásìkò olúkálùkù àmọ́ the right thing. Ẹ jẹ́ àkọ́kọ́ gbélé járe kí n lọ ṣe cornflakes ibi tẹ̀ tí ń pa mí gan kùn mí ṣe kankan. Àwọn arànú mi ò jẹ́ ń gbádùn látẹ̀kan fi ṣe jókòó báyìí. Ẹ jẹ́ agbọ́n tí Ṣòwòrẹ́ sọ níbí báyìí kí n fi padà.
It is pointless chasing a rat when your house is on fire. Nigeria needs a revolution or else. Nigerians must understand that unless something drastic happens, we cannot have elections that are won on the basis of ideas as things stand in Nigeria today, our successive governments have destroyed the basis for any progressive politics. You cannot have a country where young people who are brilliant, who have ideas, are told to run for councillors, while people with antiquated ideas are recommended to be presidential candidates, and even they become president. That's why the country is the way it is today. Unless a revolution happens in this country, same way they had in Sudan, probably in Algeria, it's going to be difficult to have free and fair elections. I am saying it so that we're not under any illusion that somehow, if we continue to talk, it is not a battle of wits, that the democratic space will open for us to have a country where good people, great ideas can lead the country. As we chanted during our recent protest march in Maryland area of Lagos, in Nigeria, where just 5 people will be richer than 200 million people, call it work. In Nigeria, where your NEPA bill is greater than your house rent, call it work. To the skeptics who say Nigerians are too apathetic and divided to rise up for a revolution or up to a revolution, I say this: hunger doesn't know ethnicity, insecurity doesn't know religion, and when Nigeria becomes a better place, it won't matter where you come from. The time for revolution is now, and it will not be televised.
Wọ́n ní televise nígbà tó máa wáyé. Ìwọ tó rọ pọ̀ máa televise revolution. Mr. Koiki, ìjọ ló máa ṣẹlẹ̀, déètì wo ni? Ṣé wọ́n máa mú déètì fún kan bẹ́ẹ̀ ni? Wọ́n mú déètì. Ẹja ń fi ilé ìsẹ́yìn ìjàre àti kúrò ní Green Studio. Ẹja fi ti Yorùbá Nation ká fi kọ́ ẹ̀yìn. Wọ́n televise ṣe rò kọ́ máa televise revolution. Kò sẹ́ tó máa televise, everybody ló máa jáde nígbà tó bá tásìkò yẹn. Ìyá máa jáde, ọmọdé máa jáde, àgbàlagbà máa jáde. A máa bèrè pé kí ló dé tí ìyà ń jẹ wá? Ìyà ò tí jẹ wá náà. Àbí ìyà ń jẹ wá ni? Ìyà ò tí jẹ wá. Tí ìyà bá ti jẹ wá, gbogbo wa máa jáde, á bèrè ẹ̀tọ́ wa. But as far as I'm concerned, èmi ò rí pé ìyà ń jẹ wá. Tí ìyà bá ti jẹ wá dáadáa, gbogbo apáta àtèmi àtiwọ́, everybody, àtọmọdé, gbẹdú, ẹ̀gbọ́n mi dáadáa, ò ní bàjẹ́ fún yín. Báwo ni gbogbo ẹ̀ ṣó ń lọ lọ́dọ̀ yín? Gbogbo wa la máa bèrè ẹ̀tọ́ wa. Ìyà ò tí jẹ wá nísìn, gbogbo tá a ṣe ń ṣe yìí. Preambles la ṣe ń ṣe. Ìyà ò tí jẹ anybody. Ìyà ń jẹ wá, wọ́n pa wá ní wéré, wọ́n ń jẹ this, ẹ bá wa pè Ìgbòho, kò sẹ́ni tó máa pè Ìgbòho, gbogbo apáta la máa jáde, la máa bèrè pé kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀. But for now, àìtí dé stage yẹn, a ṣe warm up. Àpótẹ́ bá dẹ̀ warm up. Warm up kẹ̀rẹ́, oríṣiríṣi nǹkan ló máa mú wá. Mo kàn fẹ́ gbé fóònù yẹn síwájú mi ni o. Gbogbo ẹni tó bá fẹ́ rédíò tó jáde 35,000 ni, kò sí àní-àní níbẹ̀. Dọ́là ni. Dọ́là ti di àárọ̀ yìí nísìn. Tó bá send owó through àwọn application 1,495. Tó bá lo àwọn agent táwọn máa ń lò ní London 1,000 and kìíní kan ló bọ́ sí. So the exchange rate is crazy. Ìlú tó ti bá yé jẹ́. So ẹ jẹ́ ká tún play Sowore lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí. Mo kí ẹ̀gbọ́n mi Gbẹ̀du. Ẹni tó bá fẹ́ bá mi sọ̀rọ̀, ẹ sì lè wọlé tó máa gbóúnjẹ wá síbà ní ìsìn máa mú cornflakes ní ìsìn máa jẹyin. Tí bá ti wá jẹ tí bá ti jẹun tí kùn mí lé dáadáa, àwa bẹ̀rẹ̀ conversation. Mo kí ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń darapọ̀ mọ́ lórí ẹja gbọ́ Sowore lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí jàre. Sowore gbọ́n sókè. Sowore ti gbọ́n, ó mọ bó ṣe ń lọ. Ó mọ̀ pé tá a bá ti dàrú, a lè tún tò. Tó bá rẹ̀ ti dàrú, definitely Nigeria máa pín. So intel fi jẹ́ kó dàrú yẹn, àwọn tuntun tún plan. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni, ti ready. Because tá bá ti ready ni, èmi náà kóra mi mọ́, gbogbo ti ready. A fẹ́ gbé gbogbo pressure lọ Ìgbòho lórí àbí. Ìgbòho náà ti ṣe tán, ṣáwa ti ready. Ìgbòho náà ti ready, ṣáwa ti ready. Ṣé Ìbà Gani Adams ti ready? Ṣáwọn Àgbẹ̀kọ̀yà ti ready? Ṣé OPC ti ready? Ìgbòho nìkan kọ́ ló máa gbé iwájú. Ìgbòho ní àyà, kò ń sọ̀rọ̀ ogun, ó ní àyà ni. Èmi àti ẹ ti sọ̀rọ̀ kọjá, bá mi ò ṣà. A ti sọ̀rọ̀ kọjá. But I give him update every day. Bí nǹkan ṣe ń lọ Nigeria, I give him security update and other news and some other things that is not for public consumption. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni, òkú ìyàwó ń bọ̀, a lọ máa gbáradì lágbára Ọlọ́run. Àìtí mú date. Bí àkọ́kọ́ bá sọ fún mi pé ó ti mú date, irọ́ ló wà ń bẹ̀. Koiki ló ń sọ̀rọ̀ on behalf of Ìgbòho nísìn. Kò tí ì sí date kankan, but ó máa bọ́ sí lágbára Ọlọ́run ní February. Ẹ lọ máa fi yẹn sí inú diary. Ẹni bá fẹ́ travel pẹ̀lú wọn, ẹ lọ máa prepare. That's all I will say. Ṣé Ìgbòho ń bọ̀ ń lé, Ìgbòho wá lé. So tẹ́ ń béèrè, ṣé Ìgbòho ń bọ̀ ń lé? Kíní kan Ìgbòho ní gbogbo wa. Èmi lè lọ represent Ìgbòho. gbẹ̀dú lè lọ àmọ́ bí agbẹ̀dú fẹ́ láyà yẹn ẹ̀gbọ́n mi gbẹ̀dú ṣe láyà ṣe lọ represent Ìgbòho ta ló máa lọ represent Ìgbòho gbogbo wa lè lọ represent Ìgbòho sẹ̀yìn tẹ́ ń béèrè pé Mr. Koiki ṣé Ìgbòho ń bọ̀ ṣé Ìgbòho máa wálé kí lẹ fẹ́ mọ̀ bí Ìgbòho máa wálé fún kí lẹ fẹ́ mọ̀ yẹn fún àní láti mọ̀ yẹn gbogbo wa ní Ìgbòho bẹ́ẹ̀mi gan tẹ̀ tó wá lọ́lé àwọn Koiki wà nílé tó pọ̀ so you know yes tẹ́ bá dẹ̀ fi ra aṣọ mo lè confam yẹn náà nísìn so Ankara ìlànà ajá Ankara the carnival gbígbówó ṣòwò rẹ gbóhùn sókè gbóhùn mi wájà rẹ. Nigeria needs a revolution.
Nigerians must understand that unless something drastic happens, you cannot have elections that are won on the basis of ideas. I still stand in Nigeria today as successive governments have destroyed the basis for any progressive politics. You cannot have a country where young people who are brilliant, who have ideas, are told to run for councillors, while people with antiquated ideas are recommended to be presidential candidates. And even they become president. That's why the country is the way it is today. Unless the revolution happens, same way they had in Sudan, probably in Algeria.
Wọ́n ní kí Sowore lọ bẹ̀rẹ̀ as a councillor. Àwọn tó dẹ̀ ní brain, àwọn ló ń control yìí. Wọ́n ní Sowore lọ bẹ̀rẹ̀ as a councillor. Àbí nǹkan tẹ́ máa ń sọ kọ́ nìyẹn. Àbá sọ̀rọ̀ títí di the kingdom come. Irọ́ là ń pa. Àìtí rẹ́dì, bàbá rẹ́dì.
As we chanted during our recent protest march in Maryland area of Lagos, in Nigeria where just 5 people will be richer than 200 million people, go to work.
Kelewak.
In Nigeria where your neighborhood is greater than your house rent,
Kelewak.
To the skeptics,
Kelewak.
Nigerians are too apathetic and divided to rise up for a revolution or to the revolution. I said this. Hunger doesn't know ethnicity. Insecurity doesn't know
Hunger.
Nigeria becomes a better place. It won't matter where you come from. The time for revolution is now. And it will not be televised.
Kò ní televised ẹ̀. Sowore ló ń sọ̀rọ̀ yẹn. Ẹ jẹ́ n wá ti fídíò mi tó ṣiṣẹ́. How many minutes lélẹ̀? Òkèdè à ń pè lè pọ̀. The full video. Ẹ jẹ́ àgbọ̀ lè. Mo kí ẹ Citizen AY mo rí yín bẹ́ẹ̀ ẹ̀gbọ́n mi dáadáa tálàfíà lẹ́wà AY bàbá nírúgbà òrùnkẹ́ Citizen AY did a lot about Goldie ẹ lọ wọ àwọn fídíò kan tí Citizen AY ṣe ó sọ̀rọ̀ nípa Goldie ọ̀dọ̀ Citizen AY wọn ti kọ́kọ́ gbọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ Goldie àwọn tó ta Nàìjíríà ọ̀tà fúnra wọn ẹ lọ wo àwọn fídíò yẹn Citizen AY ẹ lọ wo àwọn fídíòs yẹn Goldie George Goldie kódà ó níwọ̀ gbọ́dọ̀ kọ ìtàn rárá ó bayé jẹ́ ó bọ̀rún jẹ́ àìtí dé stage yẹn tàbá dé stage yẹn gbogbo àwọn máa béèrè lọ́wọ́ àwọn olóṣèlú pé kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀ ẹ ṣe jàre Citizen AY ẹ máa gbọ́ Sowore ní background. Ọba ti pa Sowore ti pẹ́ Ọlọ́run ló lẹ̀mí ẹ̀. kẹ̀ǹsàrò wíwá Nàìjíríà ti jẹyàn kẹ̀ǹsàrò wíwá 1994 lọ́pàá ìlú wèrè ń pọ ọmọdé ló ń pa àgbàlagbà. Mo kí ẹ̀gbọ́n mi jáyàjáyà. Compliment of the season, Yami, Chrissy, Erama. Ẹ jẹ́ n parí breakfast mi, ká wá bẹ̀rẹ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ tiwa. All right, ẹ jẹ́ to play the revolution.
There's pointless chasing a rat when your house is on fire. Nigeria needs a revolution or else. Nigerians must understand that unless something drastic happens, we cannot have elections that are won on the basis of ideas. As things stand in Nigeria today, our successive governments have destroyed the basis for any progressive politics. You cannot have a country where young people who are brilliant, who have ideas, are told to run for councillors, while people with antiquated ideas are recommended to be presidential candidates. And even they become president. That's why the country is the way it is today. Unless a revolution happens in this country, same way they had in Sudan, probably in Algeria, it's going to be difficult to have free and fair elections. I am saying it so that we're not under any illusion that somehow, if we continue to talk, it is not a battle of wits, that the democratic space will open for us to have a country where good people, great ideas can lead the country. As we chanted during our recent protest march in Maryland area of Lagos, in Nigeria, where just 5 people will be richer than 200 million people, Kolewek. In Nigeria, where your net problem is greater than your house rent,
Kolewek.
To the skeptics who say Nigerians are too apathetic and divided to rise up for a revolution or up to the revolution, I say this: hunger doesn't know ethnicity, insecurity doesn't know religion, and when Nigeria becomes a better place, it won't matter where you come from. The time for revolution is now,
okay,
and it will not be televised.
So we're letting go. Compliment of the season fún gbogbo ẹ̀yin tí ẹ darapọ̀ mọ́ wa. Èmi ọmọ yín náà ni olólùfẹ́ gbogbo yín Koikimedia. Bringing the world. Àwọn ọmọ mi máa ní ogun wọn á correct ọmọ nínú world ni. I love my map. Bringing the world closer. Gbogbo tó ń lọ lágbàáyé tó bá ti fẹ́ mọ̀ máa bọ̀ lórí ọ̀dọ̀ tiwa. Ọ̀dọ̀ tiwa ló ti máa mọ gbogbo tó ń lọ, torí èmi náà máa ń káàkiri máa lọ gbọ́ gbogbo tó ń lọ lágbàáyé, màá wá mú wá fún gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá nílé àti lóko. So táyì náà bá fi mọ tó ń lọ lágbàáyé, ẹ wá wà ní bíbá. Ẹ̀yin méjì làgbàlagbà máa ń jẹ nínú ilé, 3 gan lẹ́yìn kí n máa jẹ, bọ̀kólú ẹ̀ má lọ máa sóso tó máa pààyàn sínú ilé fúnra yàn. Àbúrò ọmọ yẹn nísìn. Mo kí gbogbo alẹ́ nǹkan sí pé àtúkàbọ̀ sórí ètò wa. Mo kí àwọn ọmọ tó ń bá mi ṣiṣẹ́ nílé, àwọn gangan ni wọ́n fi ń pè mí ní Koikimedia. Ẹ̀hàn pé mi wà ní bíbá nísìn, táwọn bá ṣe wà nílé yẹn nísìn, àwọn ló ń jẹ́ kí ẹ máa rí gbogbo tó ń lọ nílé, gbogbo tí ẹ mọ̀. Àwọn ìyá tó ń sunkún yẹn, ẹ rí àwọn ìyá kan tó ń sunkún lẹ́nu ọjọ́ mẹ́ta yìí, táwọn ọmọ yẹn ṣe ń káàkiri, ìyẹn ló ń jẹ́ kó easy fún wa pé ká lè mọ̀ tó ń lọ, kí ló ń lọ nílé, àti pé kí la lè ṣe. Can't find my give $sign logo. What is your ìyá wọn ẹ máa lọ sórí page wa kejì ni ẹ jẹ́ n send the link yẹn sí ibẹ̀ lẹ́tí mẹ́rin fún wa ní super chat. YouTube ti gbá mi dànù láti April ọ̀jẹ̀ rówó gbà wọ́n ti tojú bọ channel mi kódà fídíò mo ní máa ṣe fídíò Samuel Ekpa yẹn lọ sórí YouTube mọ́ wọ́n pull it down èyí tí mo ṣe pẹ̀lú òun àti tó ṣe pẹ̀lú òun àti Ambazonia níjẹta YouTube láàárọ̀ yìí nísìnyí wọ́n ti pull it down pé kò ní sí wàhálà Nàìjíríà yẹn gbogbo wọn pátápátá ló máa jẹ gbá I don't want to go that side so ẹ tó bá fẹ́ support wa ẹ máa lọ sórí backup channel wa màá share link yẹn nísìnyí àti April ní àwọn kan máa ní ẹ wọ́n fi Yorùbá Nation gbáwó ẹ̀yin tẹ́ mọ̀ tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ẹ lọ wo Channels Television wọ́n ń ṣe advert lórí page wọn 1 billion ní Channels ti reach nísìn 1 billion viewers ìmọ̀ wá sí ìbámu ní ẹ wọ́n fi àwọn èèyàn ṣáwọn tó fẹ́ fún wa lówó kọ́ máa fún wa lówó àbí ẹ jẹ́ n fi link yẹn síta ìyá mi tẹ́ bá lọ sórí yẹn lè send owó sínú yẹn ẹ lè fún wa super chat láti yẹn Al Jazeera láàárọ̀ nísìn kí n tó bẹ̀rẹ̀ studio ẹ mọ̀ pé journalist wọn kan ó kú ní Gaza wọ́n máa ń ṣe press mọ̀mọ́ tó ń ṣe wọ́n ṣàfihàn report Israel fún ICC International Criminal Court gbogbo àwọn kìnìyàn kì í yá but it's good àwa náà ti gbé Buhari lọ síbẹ̀ tẹ́ bá lọ sórí page mi ẹ̀rí ibi táwọn lawyers tí wọ́n lò ń gbà yẹn àwọn brothers wa kan lamẹ́ríkà so mo kí grandma lè Àjàyí ẹ káàbọ̀ sórí ètò wọn so link yẹn mo fi síbẹ̀ ìyá mi Kristi tẹ́ bá gbọ́wọ́ lé ó máa gbé imú wa live náà lórí ẹ̀ YouTube méjì la máa ń ràn lójoojúmọ́ kọ́tà ṣe ń try àwọn èèyàn dẹ̀ wọ́n lọ subscribe sórí channel ẹ bá wa lọ subscribe ó wà very very important. Ìjáyà ń béèrè pé níbo ni a ti lè rí rédíò ní London ẹ̀gbọ́n mi kò sí rédíò ní London o ìnà Nàìjíríà ló wà nílẹ̀ Yorùbá so kò sí bó ṣe kó wá sí London so ilẹ̀ máa rányàn kó lọ bá yín rà wá bó ṣe máa dé London fún yín so that's all I can say. Ṣójò fẹ́ rọ̀ ní àbí kí ló ń fa atẹ́gùn tó tó yìí ṣàmárí snow ní London ṣá nínú ọdún yìí ẹ jẹ́ n start channel mi tó kù so Ìjáyà tẹ̀bá máa send number ẹni tẹ̀ máa contact àwọn èèyàn tí ń ra o kò dẹ̀ pọ̀ 3,000 pieces ṣe ni first come first serve dẹ̀ ni tó bá ti tán ọmọ láti tó order mi ti producer so ìjọba Ìtàló mo rọ́wọ́ yín ẹ ṣé gan Ọlọ́run túbọ̀ máa bọ̀ yín láṣìírí ẹ ṣé gan mo appreciate ẹni tó bá dẹ̀ fi support wa First Bank mi lọ́ fi síta yẹn 30 96 80 84 48 mo ti withdraw cash app mi because wọ́n ti report ẹ̀ títí ọjà ìkarówó gbà lórí ẹ̀ náà ojoojúmọ́ ló ń report mi ẹ jẹ́ ká ṣàdébi tá à ń lọ ẹni máa kàwé mi ẹ̀rí oríṣiríṣi ń bẹ èmi ò ní time yẹn níṣẹ́ àwa on the movement èèyàn máa ń focus nínú movement ni ò ní jẹ́ kí distraction kankan oríṣiríṣi táwọn máa ń èmi ò fẹ́ kí nǹkan distract mi àwa lórí ìrìn àjò ni Ọlọ́run ọba Elédùmarè àdégbé wa débẹ̀ mo kí Sheikh Imam Nazil ẹ káàbọ̀ sórí ètò mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ojú oríṣiríṣi ló ṣàn wòyàn àwọn ojú dáadáa dẹ̀ ní gbogbo ojú tó wò mí bọ̀tẹ̀ ìwọ ojú kan tó wà ó yẹ yín àwọn ojú ńláńlá ẹ̀já ń bínú no problem Ọlọ́run wà àwa di òpó Ọlọ́run mú mo dòpó Jésù mú mo dòpó sẹ̀lẹ̀ mú mo dẹ̀ dòpó àwọn onílẹ̀ mú ní ọ̀fífẹ́ Ọ̀jájá second orí adé babalá ṣífìlà fún yín bàbá mo rántí gbà tán ní wá gbẹdúṣẹ wá sígbà yẹn nígbà tí Ọọ̀ni wá sí London ṣáájọ wà níbẹ̀ mo kí Ọfọláyan ó rà pé ìtẹ̀ láǹfààní ẹ lọ kí wọn nígbà yẹn pẹ̀lú ìyá àdúrà ojú tó ń wò mí lójoojúmọ́ dash mayor àwọn ojú dáadáa ló ń wò mí báyìí àwọn ojú kan tó wá wà ojú kòónù lábẹ́lẹ̀ bí wọ́n mọ̀ ìṣá ojú àná ò ní gbà tàbí mo sọ fún yín pé spiritual battle là ń jà ẹni tó bá yé ló lè understand ẹ rò pé ojú lásán ni gbogbo tá à ń jà yìí wọ́n ti lọ́ọ̀kì Nàìjíríà pa we are fighting a spiritual fight mo kí bàbá mi tìyá mi o mo kí gbogbo yín dáadáa bí ṣe ọlọ́pẹ́ ẹni tó bá kí mi náà èmi náà kí yín mo ń bọ̀ nìbàdàn láìpẹ́ àwọn tèmi Ògúnmọ́lá ọ̀rọ̀ máa ń fi nǹkan sínú oúnjẹ mo ní tó bá wọn ẹni kò fi sínú oúnjẹ ìjọ́kíjọ́ ti bá ti wálé wàá gbé mi lọ́jọ́ tó máa ń jàmà láti ẹ̀ pẹ̀lú ègúnfe bọ̀mọ̀ tí wálé nísìn ìyá ẹ̀ ti ṣe ó ti ṣe tó dáa ìyá ẹ̀ ti jù kankan wá ìyá Kristi nìkan wọn kò ní bàjẹ́ fún yín kò dẹ̀ ní tán bẹ̀ láíláí Shalom ẹ ṣe gan ni mọ̀ pé owó ni Ìjẹ̀bú láìkó owó nígbà tí mo ti rí gẹ̀mú owó yẹn èmi gan àyà mi já kò ní tán níbẹ̀ fún yín mọ́ mi. Thank you so much. Níbo ni ká títù bẹ̀rẹ̀ láàárọ̀ ẹ̀ mo ń try láti mọ̀ pé láàárọ̀ tí bá wá sórí program mo ní tó bá ti di January 1st tí bàbá Akíntóyè bá ti ṣe ọ̀rọ̀ tí wọ́n tán orí Yorùbá Nation Radio gbogbo àná la máa gbé world media home based media ẹ ṣé gan ni mọ́mí wa Chrissy mo appreciate yín pẹ̀lú ẹ̀yin tẹ̀sí fún wa náà àtàwọn tó ti fún wa gbogbo náà mo kí. Brother mi kan nígbà tá a ṣe program níjẹta àbí jẹrin ó ní Mr. Koiki ó ní mo bẹ́ẹ̀ torí ọ̀rọ̀ Colonial yẹn àbí Colonial àbí whatever yẹn ìyẹn ni kò máa bá ń ṣe program lé lórí kò tí ì yí ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ yàn nílé mo kọ sílẹ̀ mo kọ sí Colonial ó ní mo gbọ́dọ̀ ṣàlàyé ẹ̀ fáwọn èèyàn. It seems a lot of our people do not understand. Mo kí a great Yoruba nation. Mo kí gbogbo àwọn ọmọ APC náà. Like I always say, we are not fighting each other. Àlàyé la jọ ń bára wa ṣe. Mo fẹ́ situation. Mo kí ẹ àwọn ti Koikimedia team ní Ṣàgámù. Gbogbo yín pátápátá. Àwọn boys mi wọ́n ti mọ tí mo fi ránṣẹ́ sí wọn. Àwọn tó kù ó kù díẹ̀ ni. Àwọn ò ní sọ̀rọ̀ ká má múṣẹ. Gbogbo bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe ń ràn mí lọ́wọ́. Àwọn 25 ló ń bá mi ṣiṣẹ́ nílé but 15 kan ẹ mọ̀ wọ́n báwọn kan wà spy ni wọ́n fẹ́ èmi náà ní spy government ní DSS èmi náà ní DSS bẹ́ẹ̀ èmi náà ní Koiki náà ní DSS tiẹ̀ mo ní intel káàkiri gbogbo Nàìjíríà aláìtàlá ìsúnmọ́bílá ìlàzíláhùwà kò ń ṣe tẹnu iṣẹ́ tèmi gbé dání kò ń ṣiṣẹ́ kékeré wọn tó fún mi ní information kan láti Kaduna as at 72 hours ago mo rán yàn kan lọ sí Kaduna ẹ wọ̀ pé bẹ́ẹ̀ ni gbogbo military formation wà there's a lot happening in that shito country called Nigeria but mo kí gbogbo apárápátá mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin àgbàlagbà ìta bá sọ ta bá fi ṣẹ̀yìn ẹ má bínú ṣebí kó bá dá fúnlẹ̀ Yorùbá láwọn sáré ẹ̀ òkè mi ti jẹun nísìn gbogbo tí mo jẹ àgbàdo ló fi ṣe conflicts yẹn wàláì conflicts tí mo jẹ lẹ́ẹ̀kan kò mean anything àgbàdo mílíkì yẹn ó wá látara màálù fresh milk mo dẹ̀ máa ń lo team milk náà lẹ́ẹ̀kọ̀ọ̀kan ẹ̀yin nísìn bí ṣe wà báyìí nísìn tí bá kọ̀ ni mo tún jẹ lé agídí ni mo ti wà full up already and I'm not joking now ẹ̀yin méjì tí mo ṣe mo tẹ̀ ti parí méjèèjì because mo jẹun sùn lánàá and this is my first meal for the day ìtẹ́rin tí mò ń jẹ nísinsìn òun ni first meal kí ló wá dé tílẹ̀ Yorùbá débi ń pa wá tí ìyàn wà nílé why kí ló dé why ṣẹ́rí question yẹn àìtí ìráwọn olóṣèlú akọ́wá bá wa answer ẹ̀ kí ló dé tẹ́bi ń pa àwọn èèyàn kí ló dé tó di pé gàrí wá di tó wọ́n fún jíjẹ kí ló dé tí àgbàdo di tí a lè máa mọ̀gì mọ́ why kí ló dé aláṣẹ kí làwọn èèyàn wá ṣe gan tẹ fi kórí wọn sábẹ́ ègò táwa wá ń sọ pé ẹjẹ́ ayọrí ìkúrò lábẹ́ ègò ẹ wá di pé àwa di enemy sí yín and it shouldn't be like that. Tí Nàìjíríà bá ń ṣiṣẹ́ as an example ìwọ̀nba gan ta bá ń sọ àwọn èèyàn máa sọ fún wa pé Mr. Koiki ṣe mọ̀ pé mi náà níná gbogbo ràkàtíà tó ń sọ ní London yẹn kò make sense. Kí làwọn èèyàn wá ṣe òkè tó fẹ́ ṣe poultry business wà níbí báyìí nísìn ṣe mọ̀ pé poultry business wọn ejò máa ń wá síbẹ̀ tó pọ̀ wọn ejò like ẹyin jíjẹ but tí iná bá wà tí gbogbo system yẹn wà set up which it is mo ṣáà rí àwọn kan nígbà kan gbogbo àná la máa rí fídíò yẹn very massive ó dà pé Ọ̀ṣun state not set up poultry business yẹn sí wọ́n bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí complain bíyá fún kọ̀ọ̀kan àbí nǹkan méjì mo àmọ́ bíyá gọ́vnà Adeleke padà sàn ó help wọn ṣèbó owó tó ń fún àwọn governors wa ẹ jẹ́ ká tẹ̀ dúró lórí àwọn state wa ẹ jẹ́ ká fi ọ̀rọ̀ Nàìjíríà sílẹ̀ ẹ jẹ́ ká dúró lórí state wa gangan láti Kwara state Kogi state Ondo state Ekiti Ọ̀ṣun Ọ̀yọ́ Ògùn àti Lagos kí ló dé tí ìyà ń jẹ àwọn èèyàn wa ẹ jẹ́ á béèrè lọ́wọ́ àwọn governors wa ṣé owó tán fún wọn láti federal whatever tó máa pín ní every month ṣé kò wà enough ni àti pé internal generated revenue tí wọ́n tá mọ̀ sí IGR kí ló dé tí wọ́n increase capacity yẹn by building on the people India àwọn Indian àwọn government wọn ló build wọn they are very good in everything kí ni gbogbo ẹ ṣe rò pé production lọ ní India which I'm gonna link with this conversation mo ní bíbá in international news yìí mo ń wo Vantage lánàá girl yẹn ṣe mọ̀ pé pé kò ní sí third world war ó máa kù díẹ̀ o kọ́lọ̀ má jà rógun o gbogbo ìtẹ́ ẹ̀sẹ̀ táwọn ẹ̀sẹ̀ pé yẹn kò ní sógun irọ́ là ń pa fúnra wa truth and question mú kí yín tẹ́ bá ní kò ní sógun ní Nàìjíríà likely pé third world war ó lè erupt o the Red Sea is in danger right now ṣé mọ̀ pé ẹ mọ̀ pé India náà ti di super power gan kí ló mú wọn tó fi di super power because wọ́n build àwọn èèyàn wọn wọ́n náwó fáwọn citizen wọn wọ́n build wọn up wọ́n wá ti di èèyàn ńláńláńlá ṣé mọ̀ pé bí ṣe wà báyìí nísìn Nàìjíríà ló yẹ kó máa jẹ́ subcontract of a lot of things tó yẹ ká máa ṣe kí ni mo mean by that òyìnbó nísìn wọ́n subleti many of the projects tó ń ṣe láti Bangladesh as an example ṣé àwọn pé Bangladesh ló ní the biggest garment kí ló ṣe Nàìjíríà tó jẹ́ pé gbogbo ìyẹn ló yẹ káwa jẹ́ super power lé lórí so that tí bá fẹ́ ṣe mọ́mí wa tó wá bá wa ṣe program ní last week Mr. Koiki àwọn nídìí fídíò yẹn kí ló dé tí mo tí ì bá wọn ṣe mo ní ẹ má bínú mọ́mí ọwọ́ mi kún ni mo busy díẹ̀ ṣe mọ̀ pé automatically iṣẹ́ tó yẹ káwọn kan bá wa ṣe nílé nìyẹn so bẹ́ẹ̀ mi ṣe ń parí fídíò mi tí bá kọ̀ ti fún wọn ní information which is what my team are doing tí bá ti fún wọn ní information but níbi tí kò sí stable electricity tí okay mo ti send the computer sí wọn mo fún wọn ní generator ìyàwó mi jẹ́ kó yé mi pé generator is there for backup kò ń ṣe tó yẹ kíyàn máa tàn mọ́jú láti 24/7 it is only there for backup spell orúkọ yẹn dáadáa Mr. Ọláfẹ́lẹ̀ òkìkí lẹ́kọ́ yẹn mo ní ṣòkìkí o Kóìkì lórúkọ mi o ẹ bá ń tún kọ Koiki àwọn kan tẹ̀lé ọmọ Ìgbò ni mi ní tó bá wù ní kẹ́ pè mí problem yìí nìyẹn èmi ṣàmọ́ bí tí mo ti wá ọ̀rọ̀ ọmọ Ìgbò ni mi. Adéyínká grandson lẹ̀ ló dágbò wàhálà yẹn lẹ̀ kọ́lọ̀ máa yọ kúrò nínú prison tó wà ó sì wà ní prison. ṣe mọ̀ pé Nàìjíríà is because mo wà lórí TikTok láàárọ̀ ẹ má bínú I'm just mixing things and mo máa move because ní topic mo ti jí láti mo tají time mo ni mo jí yẹn náà ilẹ̀ ti fẹ́ mọ́ tán náà ràn pé bí i almost bí i to 5 or somewhere around there or bí i 4 mo ṣàdìde màá lọ èmi náà lọ sórí TikTok màá lọ mọ táwọn èèyàn sọ bọ̀bọ̀ kan sọ̀rọ̀ nípa ẹni tó bá fẹ́ travel this and that àwọn tó fẹ́ lọ sí Hamburg ẹni tó fẹ́ lọ Germany dẹ̀mọ̀tòrò àwọn kan náà sọ̀rọ̀ Mohbad ẹ̀gbọ́n kan náà wà wọ́n rà pé kinní kan ààrẹ máyégún ló ń pè wọ́n láàrin àwọn ọmọ American kan wà ní báyà mi ṣàjókòó síbẹ̀ náà wo náà sọ but I don't comment but I just like the feel of the new technology how every one of us is engaging in different things so platform kankan ní nǹkan tó ń discuss kódà mo wọ platform kan àwọn èèyàn ń discuss nípa ẹ mọ̀ pé àwọn platform kan tó wà tó ń support Wùnmí gbogbo bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe ń bú Wùnmí yẹn àwọn ìyá kan wà tó ń support ẹ̀ mo wà lórí platform yẹn mo jà ń gbogbo tó ń sọ and in life ẹ máa balance nǹkan náà ni ẹ máa wo síra wọn irú ìlú yìí nísìn kéèsì kan wà nísìn irú kéèsì designing nísìn ó níwọ̀n bá tèmi lè sọ because òfin wà nílùú tiwa ẹ mọ̀ Nàìjíríà everybody is just talking about the case of Mohbad tó bá yẹ pé ìlú tó dá ní Nàìjíríà tó bá sọ fún yín pé ẹ lè sọ̀rọ̀ lórí kéèsì yẹn ẹ lè sọ̀rọ̀ lórí ẹ o ṣé mọ̀ pé kéèsì kan wà ní London nísìn ìmọ̀ bí a pépà ṣé inú pépà tẹ̀ náà inú kíní mo ti kà inú NCA National Crime Agency First Bank manager kan tó ní wọ́n gbé wá sí ó gba òun náà wọ́n máa swear or something like that kéèsì yẹn lọ sí mo tètè gbọ́ orí Gazette ni mo ti kà níjẹta èní Thursday àbúrò àgbẹjọ Monday so àwọn kéèsì kan wà nílùú yìí ẹ lè sọ̀rọ̀ lé lórí o ó níwọ̀n bá tẹ̀lé sọ, but Nigeria is a lawless country, so everybody kàn ṣe analysis tílùú ìbá jẹ́ pé ìlú tó da ní Nàìjíríà tó bá ní ẹ lè sọ lórí case because but nítorí pé system yẹn ò ṣiṣẹ́, so mo wà lórí different platforms èmi náà máa lọ ń gbọ́, so tẹ bá wá sórí platform tẹ́lẹ̀ náà nísìn intawa ń discuss òun ni pé àwa dúró lórí pé Nàìjíríà ò ṣiṣẹ́, kò mí ìpẹ́ni tó ń sọ pé òun náà fẹ́ àwọn tó ń sọ̀rọ̀ ní other platforms yẹn náà in tó ń sọ right, but the same thing táwa ń sọ yìí òun náà ló ń affect gbogbo wa. Okay, ẹni tó mo wà níbi platform débi pé wọ́n advice bọ̀bọ̀ kan ó náà pé Canada ló wà pé ó máa láti mọ̀ mọ́ tó ṣẹlẹ̀ ṣá, wọ́n ṣáà advice ẹ̀ pé bí a kò tẹ̀ withdraw gbogbo information ẹ̀ kúrò lórí social media. I don't know what has happened. ẹ mọ̀ immigration kẹrẹ mọ̀ sí mi máa sọ pé ẹni tó bá bí sí ìlú yìí ó máa go through immigration, so tó bá jẹ́ pọ̀rọ̀ immigration èmi máa ń like immigration. Ìlú yìí kàn ni pé tó bá ní òde ìlú kan, and this is just an advice, mo ṣe visa o but lórí ọmọ immigration mọ̀ sí mi ti go through ẹ̀ èmi ti go through ẹ̀, so mo dẹ̀ máa ń bí mọ̀ sí pé kí ló dẹ̀ bí èmi sí ìlú yìí last born wa irú ẹ̀ lọ bí sí Margaret Thatcher ló pa òfin yẹn mọ́, kò jẹ́ kó máa bí èèyàn sí ìlú yìí kó máa dípẹ́ automatic British àti gba British passport gan ti le gan nísìn, and they're making it very tighter and tighter. So ṣe rí àwọn tó ń sọ̀rọ̀ náà ní other platforms yẹn tán ní èèyàn máa sá lọ a máa travel kíní kan Nigeria is not working, Africa is not working. It is the same problem táwa ń sọ̀rọ̀ lé lórí pé àwọn colonial during the colonization ìtọ́ṣe nìyẹn. We are now going into the second or the third slavery. Àwa la wá ń travel nísìn a máa lọ raise owó a máa parọ́ ni a máa mo fẹ́ máa go through gbogbo alámọ̀ olúkàlùkù ló mọ eré tó ń sá fáwọn family ẹ̀ àti wọ́ bó ṣe fẹ́ kúrò Nàìjíríà èmi ti kúrò nísìn 25 years ago. This is the problem tá à ń try láti resolve pé we should now work about or we should talk about báwo la ṣe fẹ́ make sure pé ayé wa going forward. Ẹ ṣe gan ìgbọ́n mi gbẹ̀dùn mo rí ìtẹ̀fìránṣẹ́ owó gidi mo fẹ́ ẹ tètè pè mí kẹ́ bóde ẹ pé máa ra chicken yẹn wà ní ẹ̀yin kúkú mọ ibi tí mo wà ẹ má dẹ̀ sọ ibi tí mo wà fẹ́ ní kankan ẹ mọ̀ pé mi àti yín ẹ bá ti sọ ibi tí mi wà èmi náà sọ ibi tẹ́yìn náà wà ọ ẹ mọ̀ pé ọ̀dẹ̀ ń wá ní Nàìjíríà, so ẹ̀yin dẹ̀ lẹ́ máa lọ represent Ìgbòho, ẹ̀yin lẹ́ máa lọ represent Yorùbá World Media nílé, ẹ̀yin àti Dr. Zabi àti Alhaja Ara ẹ̀yin mẹ́tẹ̀ẹ̀ta ni máa rán lọ, èmi á dúró sí ẹ̀yin òde báyìí èmi á máa gbé gbogbo transmission Ọlọ́run wà pẹ̀lú gbogbo. So what I'm just trying to say is that Nigerians are good people. There's nothing right about that. But now we are now understanding that kò sí kankan tó ń pè ní Nigerians, it is lie. But many Nigerians still doesn't want to accept that. So ẹ fẹ́ mú Nigeria, ẹ fẹ́ máa jẹ́ Nigerians, àwa ní no problem. If that is what you want, mo kàn fi ń ṣàpèjúwe pẹ̀lú àwọn platforms. Ẹ mọ̀ pé mo ti fún yín ní multiple àwọn tó bá mọ platform tí mo dárúkọ nísìn wọ́n pe ẹ̀gbọ́n yẹn ní Ààrẹ Máyégún, àwọn fine girls kan wà níbẹ̀ àtàwọn mọ́mí kan ó dúkọ̀ àwọn yàtọ̀ American accent mo èmi náà ṣàrẹ́rìn mo wà nínú orí bẹ́ẹ̀dì mi mo kàn ń gbọ́ létí mi lè mo lọ sí page kan ìyẹn woman ìyẹn tẹ̀ ní ìyẹn complain pé òun lè ever fẹ́ dúdú bàbá òun ti nà ìyá òun kíní kan domestic violence. It happens as well. It is not something that we advise that is good, but please if you are in that situation sometimes maybe you have to work out so that come out the problem. Mo wà níbi àwọn tó support Wunmi mo gbọ́ analysis àwọn mothers yẹn. I'm not here to defend Wunmi. I'm not here to ṣẹ́rí problem tí wọ́n go through yẹn àti kéèsì Mohbad tó bá jẹ́ pé ìlú tó da náà ni ní ìwọ̀nba kò ń ṣe pé ìlú náà ọmọ crime tó wà nílùú yìí kò ń ṣe kékeré rárá. Ẹ̀wọ̀n kò journalist làwa we get report about crime ó náà àwọn Twitter kan táwọn náà follow everyday tí máa lọ ẹ̀ka ọ̀rọ̀ ìyàwó Ọlájírè ẹ̀yin tẹ̀sẹ̀ ń jí ní America ní Canada ẹ̀ka àbọ̀ sórí ẹ̀yin tẹ̀ wà ní Japan àwọn tí wà lọ́wọ́ alẹ́ New Zealand Australia mo kí gbogbo wa ẹ̀yin tẹ̀ wà Nàìjíríà náà mo kí yín ẹ̀yin tẹ̀ dẹ̀ tí gba Yorùbá nation country o mo máa ń sọ fún yín gbogbo nonsense táwọn jagbajantis yẹn sọ it is all lies. A ṣe ń campaign ní pàfẹ́gbà country àìtí dé bẹ́ẹ̀ bọ̀ kọ́ba Elédùmarè kó jẹ́ kójú gbogbo wa ṣí ìtorí ojú gbogbo wa ò tí ì ṣí a wà nínú ìgò tó ti lock àwa fẹ́ ṣí gbogbo àwọn ń jà Koiki bí ìwọ ṣe sọ yẹn kọ́ ló ṣe jẹ́ kó sọ ò bá sọ báyìí tẹ́mi ò bá sọ dáadáa ìwọ náà sọ tiẹ̀. So gbogbo àwọn platforms tó ń complain pé Nàìjíríà ò da kéèsì Mohbad rí báyìí a fẹ́ travel the same complaint tẹ́ ń rí yẹn òun ni Sowore náà ń try sọ pé tá a bá fọ́ gbogbo ẹ̀ ká fọ́ délẹ̀ bá ṣe máa sọ nìyẹn. Okay, some of us are well ẹlòmíì mo ti gbọ́ woman kan náà mo tún wà lórí platform alẹ́ àná tẹ̀ mo tẹ̀ ń gbọ́ yẹn mo jókòó bẹ́ẹ̀ ìyàwó mi jókòó báyìí mo ṣáà ń gbọ́ bèbí wọn àìní ẹ àwọn ọkùnrin kan nísìn ẹ wọ́n máa wá sórí platform àwọn ìyàwó náà máa wá tó bá ti wá báwọn ìyàwó yẹn wá gbowó lọ́wọ́ different things. So every platform have what they are discussing, but lórí platform tọ̀dọ̀ tiwa self determination la dúró lé. But all this your complaint about Nigeria, Nigeria is not doing this, Nigeria is not doing that, Nigeria is this, Nigeria is that. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni òun náà kíní kan mi pẹ̀lú kéésẹ̀ mo kàn fi ń ṣàpèjúwe ni pé if the system was good, if the system was loyal, journalist lèmi mo fi ń reference ni kí n fi máa sọ̀rọ̀ kéèsì wọ̀n mi fún problem wọ̀n mi nìyẹn. As far as I'm concerned, that is a part of the problem in Nigeria that has been created that we are trying to resolve. But ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ẹ̀yin because ibi tí interest àwọn èèyàn wà nìyẹn, whether we like it or not. Ẹ̀gbọ́n mi Ìjayà, the interests of Nigerians are always attached to certain things. Interest yín eléyìí táwa gbé dání ló yẹ kó jẹ́ interest gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá, especially because eléyìí ló máa fún wa ní the kind of future that we are talking about. Whether I return back to Nigeria or not, as long as kọ́nà fún gbogbo alẹ́ mi gúngùn, I can have my future here and I can decide not to be in Nigeria. Mo mọ àwọn tó lọ sí Nigeria in the last 40 years. Mo mọ àwọn tó ti dé Nigeria in the last 30 years. Kò sí nǹkan tó fẹ́ lọ mú Nigeria. There's so much to do in this world. Now, ẹ jẹ́ n padà sí India. India ti gbé warship lọ sí Red Sea. Ẹ jẹ́ n wò bí a máa rí mo tẹ̀ ti gbígbà tí mo gbọ́ bí yẹn tẹ̀ ti sọ́nà. So ẹ jẹ́ kí n wò kí n kà jáde as an article India Red Sea. Kí ló ń ṣẹlẹ̀ níbẹ̀? Because wọ́n ò lè afford kí $200 billion wọn. Mo ti rí lórí mint. A kà nísìn. India cannot afford $200 billion of owó tó máa pa kó get stock láàrin route yẹn Red Sea yẹn ibi tí àwọn ọkọ̀ ń gbà tó ń gbé oríṣiríṣi ẹ̀ mọ̀ pé àwọn dẹ̀ ń produce nǹkan. So wọ́n ò lè afford kí wọ́n lose owó nítorí àwọn Yemen àwọn Yemenis àwọn ti di another din tó yẹ pé ìjà tó ń lọ ní orí omi yẹn ó kọjá bó ṣe ó kọjá rẹ́rẹ́rẹ́. Ẹ jẹ́ kí n sáré kà fún yín kó lè yé wa. This is coming from the Mint, website kan ní www.lifemint.com in case they bá feel a reference ẹ̀. And the headline says the Red Sea. Òun kọ́ ni wọ́n sọ nínú ìtàn Bible. Ẹ̀yin tẹ́ jẹ́ Kristẹni. Òun kọ́ ló sọ nínú ìtàn Bible Israel Red Sea. Ṣé òun náà ni the same Red Sea yẹn náà ló máa jáde tán ní ó ṣí táwọn ọmọ ogun Pharaoh tó wọnú ẹ̀. Or they pàdé. I'm sure many people that are Christians will understand that. Ẹ bá mi fi sí comment section. Ẹ̀yin pastor tẹ́ wà lórí live show pẹ̀lú mi. Now, kí ni important fún India? The Red Sea important and its economic impact. Bá a ṣe ń sọ̀rọ̀ lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ báyìí nísìnyí. Bàbá problem pọ̀ ní area yẹn. Okay, dash me your ní òun náà ni. So Red Sea náà ni Òkun Pupa. Pledge to support Palestine cause. Yemen Houthis have been hijacking ships that ply the Red Sea to travel through the Suez Canal, S-U-E-Z Canal. Here is why that has raised jitters throughout the oil and gas industry. There's a lot of issues in that side. Okay, there are only one Red Sea. So Red Sea, náà láti béèrè. Torí ẹ̀yin ọ̀jọ̀gbọ́n la jọ ń sọ̀rọ̀. Mo kí ẹ̀gbọ́n mi triple DRS. Akópalẹ̀ mọ́dún. Let's go further. A series of attacks on commercial vessels in the Red Sea have been reported since the Israel-Hamas war broke out on October 7, sparking fears of global supply of chain distributions. On November 21, a Galaxy leader, an Israel cargo vessel en route from Turkey to India, was hijacked in the Middle Eastern Sea with 25 people on board by Yemen's Iran-aligned Houthi rebels. This disruption is significant as approximately 12% of the global shipping traffic navigates through the Red Sea and the Suez Canal. It's a very, very important route for business. Moki Pastor Ayodele Mubarak, Ekabo Daddy, Ekabo Sir. Adekupale Modun Abawalaye. And like I always say, you don't believe in Christmas, please, ẹ má condemn àwọn tó believe it. Àwa náà máa ṣe ṣùdé ní 24. Tó bá jẹ́ pé ẹ ló believe it. Tó bá dẹ̀ pé Muslim nìyẹn, but ìyá mi á ní ẹni ọdún bàbá láyé ló ń ṣọdún ni o. Again, let's go further. All the ships belonging to Israel enemy or that deal with it would become a legitimate target. Now, India not ti gbé warship lọ síbẹ̀ because they have $200 billion to play with that they cannot afford láti jẹ́ kó wà jeopardized. Now, kí ni tọ̀dọ̀ tiwa ní Nàìjíríà? Every day, àwọn ọmọ Nigerians à ń dìde, à ń jí, but wọ́n prepare future kankan fún wa. I want sọ fúnra wa pé fair enough, some of us will be much advantage than the other. Ẹlòmíì kan máa jí láàárọ̀ Nàìjíríà ó lè di olówó bíá through fame, bíá through whatever. But in reality, what about all the others? Tàbá ń sọ̀rọ̀ nísìn, we have 100 nínú 774 local government. Lánàá a sọ pé wọ́n sọ fún Tinubu nísìn ìyẹn Jagaban pé kó declare state of emergency because there's no jobs in every 774 local government. Ìwọ bá mi wo local government ọ̀dọ̀ tiẹ̀. Kí ni wọ́n produce níbẹ̀? Yàtọ̀ sáwọn tó wà ní àwọn axis kan níbi Ọ̀gbárá ọ̀nà Ògùn state, a mọ̀ pé oríṣiríṣi company wà níbẹ̀. But apart from àwọn ibi tó jẹ́ gbòógì, think about níbo ni ibi tó jẹ́ the major production hub tó wà ní local government ẹ bá mi fi sínú comment section. So why are we asking for Yoruba Nation? We are asking for Yoruba Nation so that we can be able to now decide our own sovereignty. Because sovereignty tó wà ńbẹ̀ nísìn ti Nigeria kò favour wa based on the fact that àwọn tó ń represent wa, they are being also controlled from outside and from within the federal. But ẹ̀ ń disagree pẹ̀lú wa, whereas ẹ̀ ń complain bitterly. So I don't know what you guys want, Momontefe, because if you are complaining about Nigeria and we are bringing another solution, Ṣòwòrẹ́ ti sọ pé ẹ lè fi election fi bring peace àti unity àti ntẹ́nfẹ́ ní Nàìjíríà. Ẹja túgbọ́n tí Ṣòwòrẹ́ sọ níbí.
It is pointless chasing a rat.
It's pointless chasing a rat. Kí ló ń pè ní rat? Ẹ mọ àwọn eku tó wà nílé yín yẹn tó fẹ́ jẹ ráìsì yín tẹ̀sẹ̀ rà, tó fẹ́ jẹ gàrí, àwọn náà ebi ń pa wọ́n. Even though ó yẹ kí a ti eradicate gbogbo kìíní yẹn to some extent. Kò ń ṣe pé kò sí láwọn ìlú kankan, but ibi tó máa wà, ibi tó ti ń dín dòdò, tó ti ń dín àkàrà, bí àwọn ṣọ́ọ̀pù kankan nílùú iná tó ń ṣe chicken and chips, bó kò jẹ́ kí eku máa wá sínú ilé. Eku tó fẹ́ gba bíbẹ̀ kọjá nísìn, á try gan because system yẹn á ti clean ẹ̀. Kò sí ọ̀nà tẹ́kú fẹ́ gbà wọlé, kò ń ṣe pé wọ́n nílé wọlé o, but ó wà very very minimal. But nígbà tó yẹ pé Nàìjíríà ti wà develop, ara lé síbi títí ẹlòmíà ni àwọn kọ́lé, ilé tẹ kọ́, okay, ilé tí ń fine, but títí ò débẹ̀. There is no point chasing a rat in Mokia Easy Dollar káàbọ̀ sórí ètò. There is no point chasing a rat. À ń complain pé Nàìjíríà ò yẹ wá, kò ṣiṣẹ́ fún wa. Àwa dẹ̀ wọ́n á mú another option wá lábẹ́ bàbá wa Professor Banji Akintoye, the leader of the Yoruba Self-Determination Group, pé okay, a ti try, a ti gbìyànjú pẹ̀lú Nàìjíríà, ṣe jẹ́ ká gbélé ìyẹ̀wò, ẹni no, ẹ fẹ́ secure Nàìjíríà, èmi béèrè pé ta lẹ́ ń secure fún, ta lẹ́ ń protect Nàìjíríà fún, because àwọn tẹ́ ń protect ẹ̀ fún, òun ni Shell, òun ni BP, òun ni àwọn olówó ńláńláńlá, òun ni àwọn elite wa tí bàbá Akintoye sọ. Mo ti ṣe audio yẹn jáde lánàá nígbà tí mo ṣe Starr Radio, ẹni tó bá rí audio yẹn ẹ bá wa pín káàkiri. Ṣòwòrẹ́ gbóhùn sókè.
House is on fire.
Ilé wa ti wà lórí iná. Nigeria is on fire. But many Nigerians are living in denial. It is currently on fire. There is nothing we can do to rectify the damage that has been done if we do not pull out of Nigeria. If you are one of those that say, we don't want to pull out of Nigeria, mo máa ń gbọ́ argument kan táwọn kan máa ń sọ pé we are better off ká wà ní odindi. Lọ́kàn wọn kan wọ́n rò pé bí wà tẹ́ pé a fẹ́ pínra wa sí half. Ó dẹ̀ better ká wà ní formation kan báyìí. Ẹ mọ̀ pé lóòótọ́ formation da, ẹ mọ̀ tí wọ́n bá ń gbá ball, formation yẹn da báyìí. But ìyàn lè gba 6 and 6 náà. Ó lè gba ìyàn gba 3-3. The formation of this country tá à ń pè Nàìjíríà tó wà lódindi kò ní any impact. Ó mì gan jẹlẹjẹlẹ ṣe pé kí ni ṣe mì bí ọ̀rọ̀ Nàìjíríà nìyẹn. So àwa live in denial. à ń sọ pé níjọ́ kan lágbára Jésù Kristi, lágbára Ànábì Muhammad, lágbára àwọn onílẹ̀lẹ̀ Yorùbá Nàìjíríà máa san wá. Okay, lóòótọ́ ó máa san àwọn kan bọ̀ kò ní san ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àfi tá a bá ń parọ́ fúnra wa. Tí Nàìjíríà bá máa sànyàn ni ó jẹ́ kí a má rí so much of the atrocities tí à ń rí tó ń wà lójú wa tá à ń rí but à ń live in denial. Now àwa wá ti wá wo ilé ayé ta wà lénìí nísìn a rí i pé dandan kọ́ ni pé ká wà lódìndín báyìí. Ẹ jẹ́ ká wà ní ààbọ̀ láàbọ̀, ká di bọ́dà wa, ká wá bá àwọn tó kù ká bá wọn ṣe, àwọn tó kù ká bá wọn ní relationship, ká bá wọn ní representative, ká send representative wa lọ sí àwọn tó kù. Kò mean pé àwọn tajọ́ ń gbé yẹn we will become enemies. We will still be friends with the Hausas. We can even be friends with the Fulanis, but Fulani ta fẹ́ bá ṣe àmọ́ pa ti gba fingerprinted. Bẹ́ẹ̀ mi ṣe wà nílò ìnísìn, my fingerprint is with them because ìdí tí mo jẹ́ fún wọn ní fingerprint mi ni pé because I want to live here. Tí màá fẹ́ gbé nílùú ìmọ̀ ní fún wọn ní fingerprint. Ṣẹ̀rẹ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ òmùgọ̀ tẹ́ máa ń sọ Koiki come and lead us. Orí yín ó pè tẹ́ máa ń sọ bẹ́ẹ̀. Mo sorry gan. Ìwọ tó ní kí Koiki come and lead us. Nobody is going to lead anybody. Everybody will come out at the appropriate time. Ṣòwòrẹ́ wà níbẹ̀, kí ló dé tẹ́ lọ bá Ṣòwòrẹ́? Ẹ lọ bá Ṣòwòrẹ́ náà, ṣebí Ṣòwòrẹ́ ń sọ pé òun ready. Ẹ lọ bá Ṣòwòrẹ́, ẹ wá ní Koiki come and lead us. Nígbà tí mo wá sílé for 6 months, kí lẹ ṣe sí? Ṣèbí mi wá sílé tá ń lọ káàkiri, tá ń gbé campaign káàkiri, ẹ̀yin náà ẹ lọ ṣe yẹn kí n rí yín. Stop saying Koiki come and lead us. I don't have to lead anybody. I don't have to come and lead anybody. Ṣé èmi nìyà ń jẹ ni? Èmi kọ́ nìyà ń jẹ. Ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wà ń lé gangan nìyà ń jẹ jù. I am 6,000 kilometers. I am here to guide. Mo dẹ̀ ti sọ fún wa pé èmi ò ń ṣe àwọn mídíà tó kù. I will be at home in 72 hours. Tẹ́ bá yẹ pé tòótọ́ lẹ ready. Ti ready. When we came home and we were talking about the movement, many of you bí bàbá yẹn Kọ́lá Olótù nígbà táwa ń lọ sínú igbó tá káàkiri ẹ lọ gbọ́ fídíò tó sọ ó ní òun tilẹ̀kùn mọ́ rí nígbà tí gbò èbé mi wá sílé ẹ béèrè lọ́wọ́ Kọ́lá Olótù pé kó jáde kó lead yín. Nígbà tẹ́mi wá sílé pẹ̀lú Ìgbòho bàbá yẹn náà òun tilẹ̀kùn mọ́ rí ó ní kó máa ro àmàlà fóun. If you are waiting for me ẹ máa wait, ìyá máa jẹ yín dáadáa ká tó débi tá à ń lọ. No problem, èmi ò ní kẹ́ máa wait for me, but if you are waiting for me continue to wait. My job is to remind you every day on this platform that the country is not working. The only solution is for us to talk about it and prepare our mind. Mo dẹ̀ ti sọ pé tí Nàìjíríà bá dé stage tó wà ní anarchy stage tó wà níbi tá a ti rí pé yes àti ready lóòótọ́ àwa kan máa wá sílé a máa darapọ̀ mọ́ yín. Look, journalists wà káàkiri àgbáyé nísìn tó ń fight on behalf of the people, innocent people. They are there, they're fighting. So this Nigeria that is on a fire, ẹ̀jàgbọ́n tí Ṣòwòrẹ́ sọ lẹ́ǹkan sí.
Nigeria needs a revolution.
Ó ní Nigeria need a revolution. Kí ló dé tí Ṣòwòrẹ́ ń lo terms revolution tó yàtọ̀ sí táwa ń sọ which is self-determination. Ṣòwòrẹ́ mọ̀ pé tẹ́ bá fẹ́ rí a reset button. This is a mobile phone. I have this phone now. Think ọ̀kan bá ṣe fóònù yìí nísìn. There's probability pé wọ́n lè sọ fún mi pé a máa reset ẹ̀ ni tí mo bá lè fix the problem tó wà lórí ẹ̀. Wọ́n á dẹ̀ sọ fún mi pé Mr. Koiki gbogbo data yín picture files tó wà níbẹ̀ a máa wipe it off. That is what we are saying. If you do not wipe off the current data tó wà Nigeria, then intention pé ẹ̀ ń top it up by voting every 4 years. That means you are giving the politicians extra power to become dominant against every one of us. And Owokere is another kind of devil because ẹni tó lówó ó máa intimidate ẹni tó ní, especially in a society that is lawless like Nigeria. Irú bíbá ẹni sìn. I don't have to look up to mo sorry pé láti mention DJ Copy. Olówó ni wọ́n lóòótọ́. I don't have to look up to her. Olówó tiẹ̀ èmi ó jẹ́ kọ́ ni mo jẹ nísìn. Ẹ má dáhùn náà bá ṣe máa sọ bá ṣe máa wá àwọn tó wà lọ bá ṣe máa sọ nìyẹn. Koiki come and lead us. Ìgbà tá a wá sílé tá a wá lead yín kí lẹ ṣe sí. Àkóbá àdàbá náà kọ́ lẹ ṣe fún wa pẹ̀lú Ìgbòho àtèmi. Àbẹ́yìn kọ́ lẹ lọ kó bá wa. Tẹ lọ sọ fún wọn pé wọ́n fẹ́ dàlúrú. Ìlú òde ti dàrú báyìí nísìn. Mo kí ẹyí tán tó sè brọ́dà mi dáadáa kò ní bàjẹ́ fún ẹ. Èyí tá a ṣe ń sọ fún àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá ni pé tí gbogbo wa bá ti láì pé lóòótọ́ Nàìjíríà fix kò wà fixable because àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá kan sì believe pé a sì lè fix Nàìjíríà. Ibi táwa ti ní issue pẹ̀lú yín nìyẹn, a lè fix Nàìjíríà. A ti kọjá stage pa fẹ́ fix Nàìjíríà. Ṣé rí gbogbo wọ́n máa restructure Nàìjíríà, ó máa padà sí regional government bí ìgbà tí ó ṣẹlẹ̀ ní 1960 yẹn, ìyẹn ò lè wáyé mọ́ because àwọn olóṣèlú ti taste power. Mo kí yàrá wúrà _ Yorùbá and ẹ̀yin tẹ́wà lórí Twitter space. Wọ́n ti taste power. They are very, very happy the way Nigeria is. Look, if you say that we are going to be able to fix Nigeria, the question is, Eshegoni, Mr. Ike Oluwa, one in Nigeria cannot be fixed. But many Nigerians, I read your comment, I see your reaction. Everybody is not happy with the system, but you don't want it to collapse. That is where there's a difference between why Soviet Union collapsed and Ukraine is able to stand on its own. Latvia is able to stand on its own. Why don't we allow this country to fold up? When we say fold up, the Yoruba territory, Oshimawa, the Igbo territory, Oshimawa, the Hausa territory, Oshimawa, the Middle Belt territory, Oshimawa, the first thing that we want to take out is that name called Nigeria. The moment we can pull off that name, and then we go back to our original name, we can then start talking about the movement of a new way of life. What a lot of you want is, you are waiting for these corrupt politicians like Amosun, all these corrupt politicians like Yayi, Oshoba, and the rest of them. They are not going to fix Nigeria. What they are there for the purpose is just to keep us together, as they say, keep them together and let them fight each other. Imam lẹ́yìn kankan máa dá wọn lóhùn. Àwọn tí máa dá lóhùn wà láàrin àwọn tí àní dá wọn lóhùn. So again, let's talk about where we continue from. Ẹ̀jàgbọ́n tí Sowore, mo ń try láti break down a little bit of what Sowore said, and I'll go straight into another section.
Yes. Nigerians must understand that unless something drastic happens, we
I like that bit. Go to Kelen Consumer.
cannot have elections that are won on the basis of ideas. I still stand in Nigeria today.
Ekalo meaning drastic. What is the meaning of drastic?
Drastic.
Tàbá sọ pé
Drastic.
ní àwọn bá sọ fẹ́ pé
Drastic.
kí ló dé tí Sowore ṣe lo èdè yẹn, ẹ jẹ́ rewind ẹ̀ díẹ̀ padà. Ẹ gbóhùn sókè Sowore.
We cannot have elections that are. Nigerians must understand that unless something drastic happens,
What is the drastic thing that is going to happen for us to be able to move forward? Okay. Tẹ́ bá ní ẹ fẹ́ Yorùbá nation. Ẹ sọ fún Bàbá Fẹ́ Babalọ́lá, ẹ sọ fún Fẹ́mi Fálànà, ẹ sọ fún Robert Clark, ẹ sọ fún ta ló tún yà àwọn lọ́ọ̀yà ńláńlá. All these big lawyers. Ẹ sọ fún wọn pé kó sọ fún Tinubu pé kó pull down 1999 constitution. Mo kí Bàbá Nurudeen. Okay, fẹ́ self-determination. Can we pull down the 1999 constitution? Can we pull down? We pull it down completely. Ní lò mọ́ ní Nàìjíríà láti fi ṣe Nàìjíríà. Àwa ṣe draft a new constitution. Gbogbo eléyìí tí mo ń sọ yìí can happen within a space of time. Now, ṣé evidence wà? Ẹ jẹ́ ká lọ wò laptop yìí, ẹ̀ ń gbé súnmọ́ bí ó ti jìnnà sí mi jù. Mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ̀ ń darapọ̀ mọ́ wa. Kí ni meaning drastic?
Drastic.
Likely to have a strong or far-reaching effect. Nigeria would not have impact on our lives just as it never did. Tẹ́mi fi ṣetán ní secondary school. Mọ̀mísí mi ló spoil ní gbogbo owó tí a fi lọ sí secondary school. There was no government support from 1991, ṣe 1990 mo wọlé, yeah, títí dé 1995. Èmi ni mo ń sọ, èmi ò sọ tẹlòmí o. Tí mo fi ṣetán ní Abẹ́òkúta Grammar School is a public school, if I'm right. It's a public school. Kò ń ṣe private school ni mo lọ. Ní secondary school mo mean. I went to a private school. Ká tẹ̀ sọ pé private yẹn, àwa la decide pé ohun ẹ̀ ni because government ṣe public school. Ẹ̀yin lè rán ọmọ yín lọ. Okay, I went to the public school. but a very sound one and a very, very strong school called Abeokuta Grammar School. Tafi tẹ́mi fi ṣe tán ní 1995. Mọ̀mísí mi ló ná the last penny títí tí mo fi ṣe WAEC. There was no government intervention at all. Ìwé ni tí mo rà ni, aṣọ school ni, hostel tí mo gbé ni, I mean boarding school tí mo gbé ni, oúnjẹ tí mo ń jẹ ni. Ọlọ́run mọ̀ tí ìyá yẹn ná for that period. Ṣé mọ̀ pé it is not the same thing ní outside the country. Ní outside the country, o máa ra school uniform. Government ò ń bẹ̀ rà, but tó bá wà stock, torí àwọn kan wà poverty náà wà ní abroad, àwọn kan máa intervene. Wàá lọ bá wọn, government ti create àwọn kan náà, àwọn charity kan náà tún wà. Ẹbí ọmọ ẹ tó lè wọ kò lè raṣọ school wàá bẹ̀ sort it out. But pé o máa sanwó school nílùú yìí, ò ní sanwó school at least up to secondary. Tó bá wá fẹ́ lọ sí university, ṣe rí gbogbo wàhálà táwa ṣe ń wá owó ta fẹ́ fi wá sí business center ní university ìlú yìí, mo ti sọ fún yín so many times, but èmi ò ní discourage anybody láti má wà. Tó bá jẹ́ pé yẹn ló lè gbé ẹ wọ UK, ló lè gbé ẹ wọ Canada, ló lè gbé ẹ wọ Europe, ibikíbi tó bá máa gbé ẹ wọ, I don't care. But it is all business center. Business center ni. Because business center I mean pé àwọn university yẹn nílùú yìí wọ́n fi ń make owó láti fi progress. Ṣòwòrẹ́ wá ní something
drastic,
it has to be radical and extreme. Ṣé kò ń ṣe extreme ni wọ́n fi wá bá wa nígbà táwọn òyìnbó yẹn dé? Lóòótọ́ à ń try láti avoid nísìn lórí ètò tèmi nísìn pé ọ̀rọ̀ a máa jà yẹn but àwa pé àwọn tó yé ní bíbáyìí tí wọ́n mọ̀ mí dáadáa orí M1 la máa padà sí. Ìgbà tá a fẹ́ padà sórí M1 yẹn láì tí mọ̀, tó bá mọ̀ tó ń pè lẹ́mọ̀n máa béèrè lórí comment section because mo ní sọ fún ẹ. Orí M1 tá à ń sá fún yẹn, orí ẹ̀ náà la máa end up sí. Ìgbà tó máa wáyé, àsìkò tó máa dé, tá máa fi bọ́ sórí M1 because M1 oríṣiríṣi ọ̀nà dẹ̀ ló lè gbà wọnú M1. Mo lè join M1 látọ̀dọ̀ M25, mo lè lọ join látòrí M1 látòrí A40, mo lè gba A406 wọlé, anywhere ló lè gbà wọlé as long as tabasha ti wà lórí M1. A dẹ̀ máa pàdé ra wa lórí M1 ni at some point. Wọ́n dẹ̀ mú date fún M1, ó máa come up on his own nígbà tí gbogbo wa bá ti gbọ́ àgbọ́yé dáadáa. But they are avoiding. Èyí tó tó sí ni pé in Nigerian school, you will even buy chairs and tables in the 21st century. So when we are talking about this manipulation táwọn olóṣèlú wa ń lò fún wa nísìn, àwọn tí mọ bó ṣe ń lọ, they become so powerful in the sense that they are now using the country àwọn ṣẹ̀dá àwọn politicians yìí àti tìbú wa, àwọn ló ń represent wa pẹ̀lú àwọn West. They are the puppet of the Òyìnbó people. Ẹ̀rí Ṣèyí Mákindé ẹ lọ bá mi bèèrè lọ́wọ́ Ṣèyí Mákindé governor Ọ̀yọ́ state pé nígbà tó wá sí London, what has been the advantage sẹ́yìn tẹ́wà nílé nísìn tọ́nà wá ṣe summit kan ní London because wọ́n fẹ́ raise the IGR. It's all lies. Then don't come here and tell us Koiki, it will take some time. You will never progress in a system that is not just biased on the indigenous people, it is also taking us backwards. So let's go back. Mo ti ṣàlàyé fún yín nípa Red Sea, the importance of that area. It is so important that India ti send its warship lọ síbẹ̀ nísìn, méjì ló wà níbẹ̀ nísìn. Àwọn Yemen yẹn tó ń sọ yìí, àwọn Yemeni, they are ready to fight to the last man standing. Kí ni mo sọ fún yín? So the probability pé ìjọ kan kò máa gbọ́ gbòòs tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀, ọlọ́mọ ayé kí World War III kó ṣẹlẹ̀ o, but like I said, the chances of that is still very high. I want to move swiftly to the next section. We want to go back again to the British, ọ̀rọ̀ àwọn British gangan náà ni. The British Empire of Nigeria. Mo kí bàbá wa Ṣítù Ọmọ́wùnmí, mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀tẹ̀ ń darapọ̀ mọ́ wa. We've been talking about this for some days now, and it will be my focus more as we go into 2024. Unbelievable that come and we were found in Nigeria in 1914, and Nigerians are so happy. You know what they do? So, nígbà tó found in Nigeria in 1914, so ìran Yorùbá yẹn, kingdom wa yẹn, ká sọ yẹn nù. Nítorí pé wọ́n ti àwọn òyìnbó tí tó jẹ́ onígàbẹ̀jẹbẹ̀ tó òyìnbó bá ń bẹ rẹ́rìn báyìí kó tètè mọ̀ pé something is not right. These are the people that some of you are still trying to save Nigeria for. Mo sọ fún yín pé mo pray pé kọ́ lọ́n jẹ́ kó fún ẹ ó kì í tẹ̀ ní kó fún ẹ ní visa pé ó fi lọ sí slave museum pé ó fi lọ wo slave museum wọ́n ní fún ẹ sọ pé ó fi lọ sí British museum ó fi lọ rí gbogbo àwọn artifact wa tó wà níbẹ̀. Ẹ wá mọ tó mọ̀ mọ̀ ṣe during that era àwọn pípé ṣe jàǹbá ṣẹtẹ̀rí jàǹbá tó ṣe yẹn we should not have anything to do with them again. Mo ń bọ̀ ẹ má bínú kò jẹ́ ká ní kankan ṣe pẹ̀lú wọn mọ́ láyé but Nigerians still prefer the lies. A sì prefer pé ká wà lábẹ́ wọn kó máa parọ́ fún wa. And this is why Koikimedia, as we go into 2024, which is just some few more days now, we will focus more. M1, when there's fire on the mountain, everybody will run. There is fire on the mountain. Run, run, run. Colonial Nigeria was ruled by the British Empire from the mid-19th century until 1960. When Nigeria achieved independence, mo wá ń béèrè lọ́wọ́ gbogbo wa èyí tán tó sìn níjọ́ òní nígbà tí wọ́n ṣe election lọ ní February wọ́n ń ṣọ́ àdúgbò wọn mo ń béèrè lọ́wọ́ yín nísìn kí la ti achieve after independence ní Nigeria. No, on a serious note ṣé ká ṣí phone line àbí ká kàn máa sọ̀rọ̀ lọ kí la ti achieve láti gbà tá ti gba independence. Mo ń bi gbogbo wa nísàn tèmi kí la ti achieve ní Nàìjíríà ẹ kò sọ ta ti achieve ẹ má side mi nísìn ẹ má side mi ẹ kò jẹ́ ká kọ̀ tẹ̀ wò kí la achieve gangan sef. I mean only there's probability pa ti lè achieve nǹkankan ẹ má jẹ́ ká go wrong o ẹ má nítorí pé a fẹ́ Yorùbá nation a fẹ́ Yorùbá no kí la ti achieve láti independent láti 1960 because in terms of one nísìn ni pé we are until 1960 when Nigeria achieved independent kí la achieve àti pé kí la feel láti fẹ́ achieve ní another 63 years tá bá ṣe wà in existence. Then who is scared of the dissolution of Nigeria? Ta ló ń bẹ̀rù pé ká dissolve ìlú tó found I mean ó dáhùn pé get nǹkan tó ń sọ níbẹ̀ we what found in Nigeria ni kò ń ṣe pé forget about gbogbo tí church àti mọ́ṣáláṣí sọ fún ẹ̀ bá barọ́ ló wà níbẹ̀ kò sí ẹ̀mí mímọ́ kankan kódà wọ́n gbàdúrà gan sef. I am sure kan pé àmọ́ bí ìgbà tí lùgádì yẹn bóyá inú ìwòwò gan ló wà ní bóyá inú omi òkun ló wà ní bóyá wọ́n tẹ̀ ti ṣàǹjọ̀nú kan nígbà tó ń found in Nigeria we don't know. That is the reason why we are going through all this turbulence. Ìyàtọ̀ kan ní pé àwọn ò ní volcano ní tornado ẹ lọ sí America ẹ lọ wo gbogbo tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ níbẹ̀. Ọlọ́run fi tibẹ̀ yẹn ó fi káwa béèrè lọ́wọ́ pastor ẹ̀ àti mọ́ṣáláṣí imam pé ṣé nígbà tó ń found in Nigeria Koiki sọ pé wọ́n found in Nigeria ní 1914 ṣé wọ́n jókòó àdúrà ṣe mọ̀ pé nísìn nílẹ̀ Yorùbá kò sí nǹkan tá a kì í jókòó àdúrà fún tí aláfà bá ṣe máa fi parí tiẹ̀ mọ́ṣáláṣí àwọn kìrìsìtẹ́nì náà máa ṣe tiwọn oníṣẹ̀ṣe máa ṣe tiwọn lórí ìjókòó kan. We love who we are as people but mo wá ń béèrè pé ṣé nígbà tó tán dá Nàìjíríà sílẹ̀ ṣé wọ́n jókòó àdúrà ṣá because lùgádì tí a gbọ́ pé ó ṣiṣẹ́ fún àwọn British Empire àwọn colony níjọ́ náà lọ́hùn because òun ni governor administrator wow you look good òun ni governor administrator as at that time ó ń ṣiṣẹ́ on behalf of the colony as at the time ni bí ìgbà tá a ṣe ń ní president nísìn òun ló represent UK òun ló represent ìjọba wọn ní gbogbo Nàìjíríà kò dé ń ṣòun ló make decision yẹn wá láti bíbá ẹni òun kọ́ ló wá sọ síta ni. Ta ló mẹ́tọ́ ń pè ní lugard ẹ má parọ́ o ta ló mẹ́tọ́ ń pè ní lugard àwọn Nigerians tó wà nílé àtẹni tó wà níta ta ló mẹ́tọ́ ń pè ní lugard tẹ́ ẹ bá mọ̀ mo fẹ́ ṣe analysis lé lórí ni o ká sọ̀rọ̀ nípa lugard. Ibi báyìí máa ń kọ́ra wa lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ ni forget about gbogbo tó ń gbọ́ nílé tẹ́lẹ̀ àní ibi báyìí ló ti máa gbọ́n tó ń pè Nàìjíríà èmi náà mọ̀ tẹ́lẹ̀ ìwọ̀nba tí mo mọ̀ nísìn mo gbọ́dọ̀ fi kọ́ ìwọ náà lẹ́kọ̀ọ́. Ta ló mẹ́ni tó ń pè ní Lugard? Ta ni Lugard? Ta ni Lugard? Wọ́n tó wá fún ní oyè wọ́n pè ní Lord Lugard. Ta ló ń pè ní Lugard? Let's talk about Lugard. On the January 1st, tó bá máa di January 1st nísìn, January 1st, how many days nísìn ló kù tá a máa fi wọ January 1st lágbára Elédùmarè? How many days ló kù? Ọ̀la 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. Ó kù 11 days. Ṣé mọ̀ pé tó máa di January 1st nísìn? Ṣé mọ̀ pé January 1st ni wọ́n merge Nigeria together? Truth and question ni ó lè ní Lugard. Tó bá tẹ̀ jẹ́ pé ó lè ní is a different thing. Ó ti ṣe jàǹbá on behalf of British Empire fún ìran ẹ̀mí àti wọ́. Ilẹ̀ wa kọ́ ló ní problem o. Okay, ẹ̀ka ìnímọ̀ nìyẹn, èmi ò ka ìní ti lọ. Tabaka ìnímọ̀ da 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. Ẹ̀ ń ka ìnímọ̀, èmi ò ka ìnímọ̀, èní ti lọ already. 11 days ló kù, a lè ka ìnímọ̀, èní ti lọ, ẹ̀gbọ́n mi, triple DRS. Ṣé wọn kó tó bá di 1st of January nísìn? It will be ṣé 64 years kọ́ ló máa pín yàn àbí? No, kò lè, sorry, I take that back. It will be 109 years to merge Nigeria. Yeah, I'm right. 1914, and 1914 till 2014. How many years near? Èmi náà sáré calculate ní bíbá. Oya. 2024 rather, not 2004. 2024 minus 1914. So Nigeria will have been 110 years old. No. I think Big Barry, mo rí 114, mo rí 109. No, 110 ni. Èmi náà ti calculate. Ẹ̀bẹ̀ kọ́ máa minus 2024 minus 1914. 110 ni. Ìbọ̀lẹ̀ ti rí 114. Ẹ delete Mr. Ọlárẹ̀wájú. Kò ṣe 114. 110 ni. Ìbọ̀lẹ̀ gbọ́n mi ti rí triple DRS. Ìbọ̀lẹ̀ ti rí 119. 2024 ta fẹ́ mú ní January 1st yìí. Yeah, 110 ni sẹ́. Èmi náà ti calculate. Àkànmá minus 2024. Now, ta ni grandparent ẹ̀ dàgbà ní gbogbo àtàwà lórí ètò báyìí? Mo fẹ́ mú kọ̀ọ̀kan jáde tó ju 110 years old lọ. Àbí tó gbọ́ ìtàn pé bàbá mi, màmá mi, ó ju, mo mọ̀ pé ìyá kan wà, ìyá yẹn ṣẹ̀kú ni, ìyá tó máa ń wà lábẹ́òkúta, èmi láǹfààní àti rí wọn. Ìyá àgbàlagbà kan, ó náà pọ́ṣẹ̀ kú láìpẹ́ ni. Mo dẹ̀ mọ̀ pé ó ju 110 lọ. Ká tẹ̀ mú ìyá yẹn sẹ́gbẹ̀. Nínú platform nísìn láàárọ̀ yìí, àbí lọ́sàn-án ìrádà, aago kan fẹ́ lọ lò. Ta ni parent ẹ̀ or grandparent wín tí ẹ gbọ́ nínú ìtàn yín pé ìyá yẹn dàgbà? Kódà àtẹ̀mọ́ éèjì wọn bọ̀wọ́ ju 110 years old lọ. Ta ló wà ní platform yìí láàárọ̀ lọ́sàn-án yìí? There must be somebody that our parent. What am I trying to say that? Tí a bá rẹ́ni tó ju 110 years old lọ, that means pé àwọn ò lè pera wọn ní Nigerians. Kí ló ń pera wọn níjọ́ náà lọ́hùn? This is where we are having difficulties to explain fáwọn èèyàn wa nílé pé Nigeria tẹ̀yìn kàn rí yẹn. Àwọn Nigeria tẹ̀yìn rí yẹn. I mean, yes, I agree pẹ̀lú ẹ̀gbọ́n mi easy. Ètí mo tẹ̀ ń try láti fi mú jáde bẹ́ẹ̀ ni pé nígbà tí wọ́n ti create Nigeria, kí ni gbogbo wa ń jẹ́? Even though they told us we are Southern Protectorate, but we are a kingdom of our own. But on the 1st of January, 1914, Lord Frederick Lugard, the governor of both the Northern Nigeria Protectorate and the Colony, and the Protectorate of Southern Nigeria. Protectorate of Southern Nigeria ni ilẹ̀ Igbo àti ilẹ̀ Hausa. Àwọn kan bàbá mi ní Oduduwa Empire là ń jẹ́ nígbà yẹn. So that means pé as at that time, èyí tó tó sí ni my grandfather was over 100 years when he died about 15 years ago. So ibo la máa kó category àwọn bàbá yẹn sí. So that means pé wọ́n force Nigeria lórí àwọn bàbá yẹn, àwọn tí jọ́nà lọ́hùn àtàwátà wà nísìn. So that means pé wọ́n override in tí àwọn máa ń sọ pé ọlọ́run ti Jésù lẹ́fẹ́ ni ọlọ́run tànábì ni àbí tàwa ta máa ń sọ pé àwọn ò nílẹ̀ wa níbi tó ń pè nílẹ̀ Yorùbá ní Yorùbá kingdom ní Ilé Ifẹ̀ ní kinní kan ní báyìí ni wọ́n override yẹn wọ́n wá fún wa ní Nàìjíríà yẹn ni òyìnbó wa maintain títí òyìnbó tó jẹ́ bìrìtìkó tó jẹ́ ìjọba wọn tá à ń pè ní ọbalẹ̀ ibi báyìí wọ́n fẹ́ jẹ́ kí a wá override ẹ̀ padà ibi tá a ti ní problem láàrin ara wa nìyẹn because àwọn lọ override ilẹ̀ tiwa ilẹ̀ another confirmation here my grandmother is 114 when she died in 2009 mo kí Queen Momo Ọmọlára bẹ́ẹ̀ rí notification ni àwa wà lórí ètò lójoojúmọ́ akúpalẹ̀mọ́ ọdún mà mo kí bàbá wa mo kí ẹ̀yin tẹ̀ ń wọlé lọ́tún lọ́sẹ̀ mo kí bàbá Akínládé Emmanuel Taofeek Quadri mo kí yín ìtàn sọ fáwọn Yorùbá ni pé tó bá di January 1st nísìn ẹ̀rí Channels Television wọ́n máa sọ̀rọ̀ nípa when Nigeria was amalgamated no when it was amalgamated we should now de-amalgamate it yes Nigeria was amalgamated but we have the right to also say in tí wọ́n amalgamate yẹn o ta ló fún wọn ní order kan amalgamate ṣé wọ́n discuss ẹ̀ pẹ̀lú àwọn ọba ẹjọ́ náà lọ́hùn àbí wọ́n kọ̀ ṣe on their own ẹ wá mọ tó máa happen many Nigerians are now saying Koiki yes o ní argument pẹ̀lú gbogbo area yẹn but we have moved on ẹ jẹ́ ká move on ẹ jẹ́ ká protect Nigeria èmi wá ń bẹ̀rẹ̀ pé kí la fẹ́ protect Nigeria fún nígbà tá a lè protect identity wa tá a fi mọ́ra wa sí Yorùbá ni mí ọmọlúàbí because the same set of people ẹ travel identity yìí yẹn will continue to remain behind àwa gbé Nigeria síwájú a gbé Yorùbá sẹ́yìn so tí má jáde nísìn tí bá fẹ́ travel nísìn màá wá ná Nigerian passport sí wọn tó bá jẹ́ tó mọ̀ nípa ọmọ Nàìjíríà kò ń ṣe pé Nàìjíríà mo kàn we have people now that knows about who we are with our names are you from the southwest part of Nigeria wà wá máa bèèrè lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀ pé báwo ló ṣe mọ̀ a ní because of your name Ọláyọmí because Ọláyọmí ò kì í ṣe Emeka Ọláyọmí ò kì í ṣe Musa Ọláyọmí mí pé ilẹ̀ Yorùbá lórúkọ it is likely to generate from. So why don't we now have our own real identity tó máa jẹ́ pé passport tí máa gbé káàkiri ní gbogbo àgbáyé àbí mo travel because kò ń ṣe gbogbo ọmọ America ló ní passport ibi tí ilẹ̀ ṣúdé láàárọ̀ yìí kí ló fẹ́ fi passport ṣe wọ̀ kúrò nílùú wọn àwọn Americans ò kí ń travel they prefer to be in their country because 53 states ní àbí 56 àbí how many ló wà ń bẹ̀ wọ́n tí ì tọ́ ọbẹ̀ tán and some of them are not exposed and I'm not joking àwọn British mi ò ní British passport kò síbi tó ń lọ so kí ló wá dé tí àwa ń sọ pé ẹ ṣe jẹ́ ká padà sí bá ṣe wà tẹ́lẹ̀ rí ká override tí wọ́n tọ́ ride lé wa lórí ní 1914 ibi tá a ti níjà láàrin ara wa nìyẹn o ibi tí conversation yìí tó fi ń di pé àwọn olóṣèlú dẹ̀ mọ̀ pé tá a bá ti lè override ẹ̀ eléyìí tẹ́ ń pè Nàìjíríà yẹn òun ló máa wà lẹ́yìn Yorùbá máa wà níwájú kí ló dé tẹ́ ẹ̀ fẹ́ àwa máa ní àwa ni ìran ọmọ aládé àìtí ìdí ìran ọmọ aládé until tá a bá hold identity yẹn in what is called a proper identification in today's world tá à ń pè ní Yorùbá passport as long as tá a bá ṣì ń sọ pé a ní Nigerian passport a dẹ̀ ń pera wa dán ọmọ aládé gbogbo wa ń tanra wa nìyẹn kò sí nǹkan kan tó ń jẹ́ ọmọ aládé ẹrú ni gbogbo wa tó bá di January nísìn in 11 days from today tabaka ẹni mọ 12 days tabaka látọ̀la 11 days wọ́n á máa sọ̀rọ̀ ní gbogbo news in Nigeria wọ́n á máa sọ̀rọ̀ nípa this same amalgamation tèmi sọ fún yín pé is a fraud ẹ jẹ́ ká di amalgamate kí a lè rí ọ̀nà kọjá ẹ wá ń sọ fún mi pé ọdọọdún mẹ́rin o a máa lọ dìbò a wá gbé ẹni tó jẹ́ èèyàn tiwa síbẹ̀ okay after tẹ bá ń ṣe yẹn lọ títí ẹ sì ń shield identity yín it is called identity theft. In táwọn òyìnbó ṣe fún wa ní 1914 in ta lè pè ní identity theft ní ẹ jẹ́ ká kà díẹ̀ sí. On the January 1st 1914 which we have talked about it is now about 110 years ago 110 years ago olórí burúkú arákùnrin kan tó ń ṣiṣẹ́ pẹ̀lú àwọn British Empire ìjọ náà lọ́hùn tí mo máa fojú ẹ̀wọ̀n yín nísìn torí ẹlòmíì ò mọ ojú ẹ̀ ẹlòmíì ò mọ bó ṣe rí òun ló ń pè ní Lord Lugard òun ló ṣiṣẹ́ as governor administrator ní Nigeria as at that time tó wá change ibi tí òun a máa ka ìtàn ẹ̀ nísìn ṣé mọ̀ pé wọ́n gbé wá láti ìlú mi ni. This is the man that we're talking about. This is your grandfather as long as tó bá sọ pé o fẹ́ Nàìjíríà, as long as tó bá ṣe ń sọ pé we are one Nigeria, grandfather eléyìí because òun ló create Nigeria. Ọlọ́run forget about gbogbo pé yẹn Ọlọ́run lọ let's pray for Nigeria. Ọlọ́run ò create Nigeria, Lugard ló create Nigeria. Àwòrán ẹ̀ lẹ́ ń wò yẹn. Tẹ́ bá dẹ̀ fẹ́ kí n yọ background mi kúrò ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wà lórí TikTok, I can do that so that kẹ́ lè ríran dáadáa. I can do that just for a few minutes. Kọ́ ẹ pé system okay máa lọ sí enhance àbí effect ẹ jẹ́ ká yọ kúrò. Ṣẹ̀rí òun lélẹ̀ Lugard nìyẹn. Arákùnrin tá à ń pè ní Lugard òun lè arákùnrin tí ó create Nàìjíríà fún èmi àti ìwọ tó fẹ́ kú lé lórí. Arákùnrin tó create Nàìjíríà fún ìran tiwa tí àwa ń sọ pé kò jẹ́ kó rí bẹ́ẹ̀. Bọ́lọ́run ṣe dá wa kọ́ nìyẹn, bí Elédùmarè ṣe dá wa kọ́ nìyẹn. Elédùmarè dá gbogbo wa bí ó ṣe jẹ́ kó rí, àmọ́ ẹ fẹ́ gbà ẹ dẹ̀ fẹ́ gbọ́. Ẹ̀yin dẹ̀ lè fẹ́ gbọ́ yẹn àwa náà ní gbà because ẹ lè máa sọ fún mi pé torí Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu kí wọ́n á para mi lórí Nàìjíríà nígbà tí Nàìjíríà ò kí ń ṣe ìlú tí Elédùmarè create. Elédùmarè kọ́ ló create. Lord Lugard, as at that time, was just a British colonial administrator, bí bàbá mi ṣe kọ́ sí bíbá, who played a significant role in the history of Nigeria. History yẹn lèmi fẹ́ jẹ́ ká rewrite. Ẹ wá ń sọ pé Koiki ó fẹ́ dá ogun sílẹ̀, Koiki wàhálà ti pọ̀ jù, ìwọ àti Gbólẹ̀. Ìwọ mọ̀ pé wàhálà yẹn ó bẹ́tà ká dá sílẹ̀ nísìn ká lè protect ọmọlúàbí wa, ká lè protect who we are. Kò ń ṣọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀sìn, kò ní kankan ṣe pẹ̀lẹ́ sìn. Eléyìí ń ṣọ̀rọ̀ mùsùlùmí ni mí, kìrìsìtẹ́nì ni mí, oníṣẹ̀ṣe ni mí. Àní ká kọ́kọ́ padà ká di amalgamate Nàìjíríà. Tó bá dẹ̀ wá ń sọ fún mi pé kò lè rí bẹ́ẹ̀, màá máa sọ fún ẹ pé irọ́ ló pa. Ìlú kan wà tó ń pè ní Soviet Union, ó ní agbára ju Nàìjíríà lọ. Òun náà wọ́n founded ní. It was founded in the 30th of December 1922. After tó ti found in Nigeria ni wọ́n ṣe found the Soviet Union. Kí ló wá padà ṣẹlẹ̀ sí Soviet Union? Ìlú mélòó ló padà jáde kúrò? Kí ló fà á tí USSR ṣe fail? The unsuccessful August 1999 coup against Gorbachev sealed the fate of the Soviet Union planned by the hardliner communists. The coup diminished Gorbachev's power and propelled Yeltsin and democratic forces to forefront of the Soviet and the Russia politics. Again, kí ló fà á tí Soviet Union ṣe break? Why did Soviet Union break up? Why did the Soviet Union collapse? Òyìnbó tó lò nìyẹn. Nàìjíríà máa collapse. Ó bá máa gbàdúrà lójoojúmọ́ ní mọ́ṣáláṣí àti ní ṣọ́ọ̀ṣì. Nàìjíríà máa fọ́, ó máa collapse. Ìgbà tó fẹ́ collapse ni Ọlọ́run ò tí ì fún anybody. Nítorí pé Ọlọ́run kọ́ ló create. Lugard ni ó create Nàìjíríà. Is a British administrator. So tó o bá mọ̀ tètè máa gbọ́ sínú mind ẹ̀. A máa pín Nàìjíríà. A máa wá pín pẹ̀lú jà ní a máa pín pẹ̀lú peace ni. But èmi mọ̀ pé orí ẹ̀ ń mọ̀ ní gbogbo a máa bọ́ sí nígbà tásìkò bá tó. A ṣì ń wọ́n mọ̀pù ni torí pé a lè continue kí àwọn òyìnbó tí wọ́n ní the same iota of truth tí wọ́n ń believe òyìnbó. Èmi sọ fẹ́ pé irọ́ lóyìnbó ń pa fún ẹ, òyìnbó máa parọ́ títí nítorí pé onírọ́ ni wọ́n bó ṣe parọ́ títí tó lọ amalgamate wa pẹ̀lú àwọn Fúlàní olórí burúkú tí wọ́n ní ilẹ̀ wọ́n wá fẹ́ gbalẹ̀ mọ́ wa lọ́wọ́. Ìwọ wá ní kèmí dákẹ́ torí pé kí wọ́n lè jàǹfààní Nàìjíríà. Ó lè jàǹfààní kankan nínú Nàìjíríà torí pé Nàìjíríà is not a God creation. Ọlọ́run ò create Nàìjíríà. Kò síbi kankan tó ti kọ́ sínú Bible pé Ọlọ́run create Nàìjíríà. Sọ bí tó kọ́ síbẹ̀ nínú Quran tó gbé dání pé Ọlọ́run ló create Nàìjíríà. Táwọn church kan ní pray for Nigeria àti pray ìgbà kan Elédùmarè wá sọ pé irọ́ dà ń pa àdúrà yẹn ò lè gbà. Ẹ bèrè lọ́wọ́ Sẹ̀lẹ̀, ẹ bèrè lọ́wọ́ Kérúbù, ẹ bèrè lọ́wọ́ gbogbo àwọn KICC, ẹ bèrè lọ́wọ́ Redeem, ẹ lọ sí gbogbo àsàlátù pátápátá. Irọ́ ni gbogbo wọn pa. Kò sẹ́mi kankan tó ti create Nigeria tó wà nínú Bible tó wà nínú Quran. Quran ló wà lọ́wọ́ mi, English Quran ni. Mo ka ìtàn kankan níbẹ̀ pé Ọlọ́run níbì kan ó wá create Nigeria. It is a man-made. Ìtò bá dẹ̀ ti jẹ́ man-made, there will always be problem. Problem tá à ń rí lẹ́ẹ̀ni tá à ń bára wa jà tá à ń ní conflict of interest pẹ̀lú àwọn Igbo pẹ̀lú àwọn ẹ̀yà tó kù nítorí pé Ọlọ́run ò create bẹ́ẹ̀. Ọlọ́run náà òun dá gbogbo wa, òun dá wa dáadáa ní ìwọ̀nba tí òun lè dá wa. Àwa kóra wa sínú abẹ́ àgbo ìtàn pè Nàìjíríà nítorí pé Lugard olórí burúkú tí kò ní kú síbi táṣọ ẹ̀ wà. ó wá create Nàìjíríà fún wa. Àwọn wo ló ń ṣiṣẹ́ fún? Ìlú yìí ló ṣiṣẹ́ fún. Tí wọ́n bá wá ń trust ìlú yìí against tèmi sọ, ìwọ ló máa jẹ gbàtó èmi oúnjẹ lọ́tún tó ń fẹ́ máa sè nísìn. What are you doing now? Help me to do as well. Ìwọ ló máa jìyà. Èmi wà láàrin wọn níbí. The worst case scenario ni pé mo ní kankan ṣe pẹ̀lú ilẹ̀ Yorùbá àti Nàìjíríà. Look, ayé yìí dùn bàjẹ́. Ṣorí ayé tó ń rí. Mo tẹ̀ tí dé Amẹ́ríkà, mo fẹ́ lọ rí easy ní Miami, mo fẹ́ dé New York, mo fẹ́ dé Australia, mo fẹ́ màá wá máa sọ̀rọ̀ Nàìjíríà òṣìwò ní ìlú wà lágbàáyé tó dùn bí wèrè tíyàn lè lọ káàkiri tó máa gbé British passport dání tínú ẹ̀ máa dùn. Ìwọ gbé Nigerian passport dání wàá fi gba etí ẹ̀ ní wàá di ẹ̀ mọ́lẹ̀ kó tó mọ̀ pé visa tó fún ẹ gan authentic ni wàá ti mú ẹ dé prison. Àní Nàìjíríà kì í ṣe country. That is where we are having clash between you and those idiot political parties. Tó ń pera wọn ní APC, tó ń pera wọn ní PDP, tó ń pera wọn ní AAC. It is all lies. And they know this. Tó bá wá sọ fún mi pé kò lè collapse. Ọlọ́run ní jẹ́ kó rí bẹ́ẹ̀. Ẹyẹ máa disrespect Ọlọ́run. O mọ̀ why? Jẹ́ nǹkan fún ẹ. Ìlú kan ní agbára ju Nàìjíríà lọ ní 1991. Wọ́n ń pè ní Soviet Union. Tó bá wá ń gbọ́ Soviet Union ni wàá ti máa gbọ́ USSR. Ó pín ju olúkálùkù gbé bọ́dẹ̀ wọ́n kọ́ọ̀tì bọ́dẹ̀ olúkálùkù lọ́n ti wọn. 15 republic ló jáde kúrò nínú ẹ̀. Nàìjíríà ò bá jáde pẹ̀lú 20 countries problem tiẹ̀ nìyẹn. Ìlú wà tó pé 200,000, ìlú wà tó pé 35,000, ìlú wà tó pé almost 50,000 tó wà láyé yìí. Ìwọ ń sọ fún mi pé àwọn Koiki àwọn kéékèèké yẹn kí la máa ṣe pẹ̀lú color form country tí wọ́n olúkálùkù kó di owó ọmú yẹ̀mú. Wọ́n wá ń fìyà jẹyìn àwọn ìkà ẹ lọ́wọ́ dínà bó ṣe ń tẹ̀sí lójú ó wá ń gun mọ́tò ó ń tẹ̀sí lójú kò ní tẹ̀sí ṣé ẹni tó fẹ́ ṣe gọ́ọ̀nà Kogi náà nìyẹn. They are all the same corrupt individuals. Yàyà Bello ẹ wọ́n gbogbo wọn bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. Wọ́n wá dagbada wèrè bolẹ̀ ẹ wá ń tẹ̀lé wọn lẹ́yìn ẹ ṣe mùgúnmùgún àwa ń sọ fún yín pé ẹ jẹ́ ká pull out èèyàn mélòó ló tún fẹ́ dìbò ní 2027 ẹ lọ dìbò. ìfẹ́ náà mi mo fẹ́ gbé ogun wá èmi àti Ìgbòho ogun ò ti wọlé báyìí nísìn ogun oúnjẹ wọlé báyìí ṣé wọ́n ti rí èmi ọmọ ìṣòro èmi ò tẹ̀ follow news lẹ́jọ́ mẹ́ta again ṣé wọ́n ti rí bọ̀bọ̀ tó kidnap òun àti band crew ẹ̀ ẹ̀gbọ́n mi gbẹ̀dú kílẹ̀ gbọ́ lórí ẹ̀ ṣé wọ́n ti release ẹ̀ ṣé wọ́n ti release ẹ̀ in tó yẹ kó máa dùn á nígbà àyà pé wọ́n create Nàìjíríà fún wa tá a bá tẹ̀ mọ̀ níjọ́ náà lọ́hùn eléyìí tá a wá mọ̀ nísìn kan ṣé TikTok wà ní 1914 òmùgọ̀ ṣó fi pé tí TikTok bá wà ní 1914 àwọn èèyàn wa máa gbà níjọ́ náà lọ́hùn àwọn ọba oníjẹkújẹ tó ti bayé jẹ́ ó ti bọ̀nà jẹ́ òun náà kọ́ láàrin lẹ́jọ́ mẹ́ta yìí kí gọ́vnà máa fún ọba ní certificate of kinní kan tó yẹ kó fún nígbà tí àbí kó pògèdè kí gọ́vnà kó ṣubú kó máa rọ lọ síbi tó ti máa tọ́jú ẹ̀. Ọba monarchy system tàwa jẹ́ ọba monarchy ọ̀bí bàbá ẹ̀dá kó bú ọba ìlú yìí òfin kú nìyẹn. Tẹ́yìn bá ń bú ọba èmi ò lè bú king ní bíbá tí orí báyìí lè mi gbé ìyẹn la ṣe ní God bless the king. Some of you are all in bondage lẹ́wà but àwa máa release yín. It will be painful, it will be hard, it will be difficult but I need give up. Tẹ́ bá rò pé àwa kan máa give up we are not going to give up. Tẹ́ bá rò pé àwa kan máa give up èmi ò ní give up. Yes, it's costing a lot of things. Financially, it's costing. Spiritually, it's costing. Èmi mọ̀ torí pé wọ́n mọ̀ pé tá à ń sọ yìí in tó máa liberate gbogbo wa pátá òun la gbé dání. Tó bá fi pé APC ló máa liberate ọmọ ẹni tó máa wà nìyẹn. Ó bẹ́tà ká kúkú wá lọ set up another APC nígbà tá a bá délẹ̀ Yorùbá. Mo kàn fi ń ṣàpèjúwe ni o, but kò ní sí pé Nigerian system ló ń lò mọ́. Mo ní ẹ sọ fún Afẹ́ Babalọ́lá gbogbo àwọn lọ́ọ̀yà ńláńlá jàgbàjàgbà lọ́jà ẹni kọ́ bá wa sọ fún Tinubu pé kó pull down 1999 constitution nígbà tóun ti wà níbẹ̀ nísìn ariwo tó yẹ kí gbogbo wọn máa pa nìyẹn. Afẹ́ Babalọ́lá ò lè pariwo kankan over 10,000 pounds ló donate fún King's College nílùú yìí about last year kọ́ ni. They are all the same. Inú wine kan náà ni gbogbo wọn ti mu. I don't have anything against him but these are our early tí bàbá Akíntóyè ń sọ. Tí wọn náà bá rántí ẹlòmíì mo ti dárúkọ bàbá yẹn náà òfin pé Elizade mọ́tò ó ní táìmù gbogbo wa ni bàbá yẹn ti wà ní 80+. Àwọn ti jayé tèmi àti ọ̀ lè jẹ́ ẹ lọ wọlé tó kọ́ èmi dẹ́rọ̀ ni mo débẹ̀ ni wọ́n sọ pọ́ sọ fún mi ìwọ wà níbi tí yà ń jẹ́ èmi wá ń sọ fún ẹ òun dúró de bàbá Adébóyè bàbá Adébóyè ò ní kankan ṣe pẹ̀lú ọ̀rọ̀ tó wà nílẹ̀ yìí ẹ jẹ́ kó máa bá wa bí Ọlọ́run níbi ọ̀tọ̀ ṣe ń bẹ̀ àmọ́ sẹ́ àwa máa pín lé wọn lórí. These are old men àwọn tí ṣayé tiwọn àwa tó kù nísìn bá ṣe máa ṣayé tiwa ló kù nísìn tó bá dẹ̀ sọ pé Koiki don't touch the anointment òmùgọ̀ nìyẹn. It has nothing to do with religion. Ẹ̀sìn nílùú branch àwọn Adébóyè ó wà lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ mi níbí báyìí lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ lémi just about few meters away from tí bá débẹ̀ nísìn wọ́n ti tiẹ̀ everybody ti lọ fa gbùrù wọ́n ti ṣiṣẹ́ lọ everybody ti ṣiṣẹ́ ó tún di ìrọ̀lẹ́ bí adíjọ́ Thursday lọ́mọ àwọn ṣe ìjọsìn kékeré kan bá dẹ̀ tún dijọ́ Sunday church everybody everywhere ti close everybody ti lọ sí church ó ti lọ síbi iṣẹ́ ó ti lọ fa gbùrù. Ẹni tó jẹ́ medical doctor wà lára àwọn tó jẹ́ àwọn members wọn tó ti lọ ṣiṣẹ́ but ìwọ nísìn ìwọ ṣe medical tán ní Nàìjíríà as a member of the Redeemed Christian Church as a member of Celestial as a member of KICC as a member of Catholic ó wá ń wa ọ̀kadà káàkiri ṣọ́kadà ló yẹ kó máa wà àbí kó wà lọ hospital kó máa tọ́jú àwọn èèyàn. Àwa ń sọ pé kò lè jẹ́ kó rí bẹ́ẹ̀ ó wá ní kémi shut up oníkó come and lead us ìkan tí mò ń bọ̀ jókòó dé mi pásítà mi ló ń ṣe lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ nísìn pẹ̀lú ọbẹ̀ tó dùn. Kúmúyè gbogbo wọn bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ ẹ sọ fún gbogbo wọn àwọn elite wa nìyẹn tí bàbá Akíntóyè bá sọ̀rọ̀. I am not calling them in a negative way ẹ má get me wrong but these are our elite they have large followers ẹ̀ńdó de Genesis kò sọ fún yín pé ó máa lọ báyìí you go wait ẹ̀ńdó de Yàdúrà àwọn ọmọ Yàdúrà ń gbádùn ayé wọn pàdé mi ní gbogbo wọn Gbẹ̀dúmọ̀ mo ti lọ church Yàdúrà dáadáa mo ti jẹun níbẹ̀ mo ti ṣe fàájì níbẹ̀ pàdé mi gidi ní gbogbo wọn àwọn ọmọ wọn àti àwọn ọkùnrin mo sọ ọmọ àwọn obìnrin yẹn o ẹ̀ńdó de Yàdúrà gbogbo àwọn yẹn small yeah they are philanthropists but kò lè ká ṣé Yàdúrà lè fix gbogbo 191 local government tọ́ba tẹ̀ ní gbogbo owó yẹn ṣáwọn olóyè máa ṣe. So some of you are living in denial. The unsuccessful August 1999 coup ní Soviet Union okay ẹ jẹ́ ká kà báyìí eléyìí nísìn wá látọ̀dọ̀ United States Department US Department of State bó ṣe máa rewrite history Nigeria nìyẹn láṣẹ̀dùmarè ó máa collapse àwọn kan láìkì tí máa sọ pé break up why is it so windy outside kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀ is it gonna rain or what ní ládẹ́gùn yẹn fẹ́ pẹ́pẹ́pẹ́ báyìí I'm not sure we're gonna see snow ní Christmas yìí o ẹ jẹ́ ká kàn tí America sọ sometimes we just feel very pain because it's like pé à ń communicate pẹ̀lú yín but kò ń ṣe fault yín Nigeria is on a spiritual bondage because gbogbo tá à ń sọ kò jẹ́ kó pẹ́ kó tó yé yín but spiritual bondage lẹ́wà let's go and see what the US says bó ṣe máa ka ìtàn Nigeria tó máa rewrite ẹ̀ náà nìyẹn àti America àti Britain o whether they like it or not that country will collapse nǹkan kan dé ló máa kọ trigger pia collapse yẹn dẹ̀ máa dé just one small thing mo kí Akọ́lá Afọláyàn mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin olólùfẹ́ wa káàkiri gbogbo ìjà tí ń wò wá Kentos Àbẹ̀bí èèyàn dáadáa mo rí ẹ kò ní bàjẹ́ fún ẹ Nigeria is a limited liability company. Sam Smith, I don't pray for snow this Christmas so irọ́ èmi máa ń like white Christmas so kí ló dé Mr. Lukman mo kí yín ẹ má bínú ẹ̀ tí mo ṣe ń rí kọ́mẹ́ǹtì níbí báyìí ni fast caring humble guy wọ́n ní don't mind them ní come back home mo ń bọ̀ èmi ní kẹ́ máa dúró dè. It is high time that we come out of the country that merge to form one. The Biafrans has formed alliance with Ambazonia. Ṣé mọ̀ pé YouTube láàárọ̀ ẹ̀ wọ́n pull down video mi pẹ̀lú àwọn tí mo record pẹ̀lú àwọn Ambazonia àti Simon Ekpa. Ìjà ń bọ̀ sẹ́ẹ̀ kò ń ṣe mi mò ń sọ o àwọn Biafra ìjà ń bọ̀ so YouTube so àní máa transmit live kíní Biafra mọ́ lórí YouTube wa wọ́n send message mi láàárọ̀ wọ́n pull it down video yẹn dẹ̀ ti lọ it's not about the video has gone far but definitely ọmọ mo sọ fún mi pé platform is strong gan àárọ̀ ẹ̀ ni mo rí message yẹn lórí YouTube pé ó go against community standard or whatever ṣe àwọn yẹn ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ another level àwọn wà nísìn bẹ́ẹ̀ ni religious bondage ẹ jẹ́ ká kàńtà America sọ nípa the collapse màá kà díẹ̀ briefly bó ṣe máa wáyé ẹni tó bá dẹ̀ no believe me jẹ́ n share link yẹn torí èmi máa ń sọ̀rọ̀ pẹ̀lú fact so link yẹn ni mo fi síta fẹ́ni tó bá fi gbọ́wọ́ lé ẹ̀yin náà ẹ lè kà á link tí mo fi kà yìí mo ti fi sórí YouTube wa then ẹ follow wa lórí àwọn platforms wa náà it's very very important you know mo kí ẹ Allen Conde Mr. Abayomi ni ó lé ní gbogbo wọn àwọn òpònú àgbàlagbà ọ̀dẹ̀ gbogbo àwọn bá yẹn wọ́n ti bayé jẹ́ wọ́n ti bọ̀nà jẹ́ àníyàn jẹ́ wá Allen Conde tún sọ pé South Africa fight for their freedom to regain their land back in control today ìyẹn ló ṣe ń lé gbogbo akúrò. My grandfather and grandmother was not born as in Nigeria. Also, my father and mother was not born as in Nigeria. Only we, the children and grandchildren, was all born. So that means pé bàbá tó Allen Conde yẹn àgbàlagbà ló máa jẹ́ nìyẹn. Tó fi lè ní pé àwọn bàbá tó bí àwọn gan. Some of our parents, àwọn tá a jọ ń ṣe program yẹn, lómi ti wà in their 60s, in their 70s. Èmi náà ti wà in my 40s. Ẹ ṣe pé ká save Nigeria. Mo kí bàbá wa ọ̀nà Adéọlá Fortune. Mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin olólùfẹ́ wa. We gained nothing since 1914 Nigeria. Putting we Yoruba backwards since the evil kingdom of Britain. Evil kingdom ni wọ́n àwọn pera wọn ní great. I mean how can ọba ilẹ̀ Yorùbá èmi ò kò sí tó kàn mí pọ́ lọ ń gba church ń gbàdúrà fún yẹn kọ́ ló kàn mí kí governor wọn náà òun fún wọn ní certificate of kí ló máa ń fún wọn yẹn certificate of kíni àwọn fún ọba ilẹ̀ Yorùbá ní certificate of kí ló máa ń pè no not yet màá jẹ́ later ó ṣe. Ẹ má da ẹ̀gbọ́n mi Kọ́lá Olótùn yẹn ó náà tilẹ̀kùn mọ́rí ìyàwó òun rán àmàlà fóun àwa ń lọ sí Ìgàngán so that àwa ní kíbọn bà lórí. Our local government chairman are using our local money for their personal need, not for the local, so we need to challenge them for stealing the money. Wàá gbé owó wá láti federal governor àkọ́kọ́ gbọ́sẹ̀ líná àwa ṣẹ̀ máa distribute kò sí autonomy fún local government. Gbogbo tó yẹ kí Tinubu kọ́kọ́ sáré máa ṣe lélẹ̀ kí ayé tẹ àwọn ọmọ kẹwàá ń bẹ ẹ̀gbọ́n mi ṣe rẹ́rìn pé ayé yẹn ẹ̀gbọ́n mi ẹ má fi gbogbo ẹnu sọ̀rọ̀ mi báyìí o ẹ kò sọ pé yes or no Ọlọ́run fún yín ṣe o certificate of rulership bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ẹ̀gbọ́n mi Jàkó Olúṣọlá àwọn ọba ilẹ̀ Yorùbá àwa máa ní gọ́fúnà fi fóun ní lórí ọba gangan ní custodian of the stool àwọn gangan ló lédùmarè gbé kìnìyàn lé lọ́wọ́ ṣèbí gọ́fúnà máa ṣe tán máa lọ Ṣèyí Mákindé máa ṣe tán máa lọ ọba yìí máa wà níbẹ̀ bọ́n nǹkan kan sọ ni pé kí wọ́n lo the right people for the right thing. The Raya sọ pé I normally call all our obas as a evil junior brother ọba tá a bá tẹ̀ mọ gbogbo ilé tẹ́lẹ̀ ilé tá a bá mọ̀ nísìn technology ló jẹ́ ká rí gbogbo àṣírí gbogbo kìíní yìí so yẹ ká tún gbẹ fún technology náà even though wọ́n ń lo against wa. Because mo mọ reason ti YouTube ń pull down video kan pé torí a broadcast Simon Ekpa àti Ambazonia so àní máa broadcast wọn mọ́ lórí YouTube àmà ó dà pé Elon Musk ìyẹn tẹ̀ gba oríṣiríṣi tiẹ̀ so bí orí Twitter nìkan ni máa broadcast ẹ̀ lọ màá wo Facebook mo rò pé Facebook ní problem pẹ̀lú as well so jẹ́ kí n sáré ka ìtàn bí Soviet Union ṣe collapse mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wà ní underground ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wà lẹ́nu iṣẹ́ lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ mo kí ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ṣe ń jí káàkiri àtẹ̀yin tẹ́ ṣe fẹ́ lọ sùn. The breakup of the Soviet Union. After his inauguration in January 1989, George H.W. Bush did not automatically follow the policy of his predecessor, Ronald Reagan, in dealing with Mikhail Gorbachev. Yes, certificate of speech, Bernie. Sherry, in nǹkan ṣì máa dé níjọ́ kan. Ìyẹn làwọn kan ṣe sọ pé Koiki ṣe sùúrù Tinubu náà ní jagaban ó ló máa pín orí tiẹ̀ ní Nàìjíríà máa pín èmi ní I don't agree with that I disagree but I might be wrong I don't know but for now the picture of what I'm saying I don't see Tinubu breaking up Nigeria for now because kò gbọdọ̀ waste too much time Koiki ẹ jẹ́ kó lọ ṣe second time ó ti rí first time ṣọdẹ sílẹ̀ tọ̀tẹ̀ sọ pé second time àfikọ́ lọ́nà ọba Elédùmarè kó bá wa pẹ̀lú ẹ̀ nǹkan kan rẹ̀ gbọ́dọ̀ ṣe kó gbọ́dọ̀ kú bó ṣe wà yẹn Ṣètìmá gbàjọba nìyẹn so kò ní time ó gbọ́dọ̀ máa show signal pé yes òun ti ready bí a ó dẹ̀ ń show signal indirectly tá a mọ̀ ni ṣò eré tí kò release Nnamdi Kanu gan nísìnyí bí a kí Biafra lè máa gbà sí fún government kí gbogbo ẹ̀ dàrú I don't know kó àwọn kan máa ronú oríṣiríṣi ni tíyẹn bá sùn tó bá jí now n tó kàn sọ níbi báyìí ni pé George W. Bush Wani did not automatically follow the policy of his predecessor, Ronald Reagan. Kí ló dé tí Tinubu jagaban tó sì ń follow the same policy Buhari, because tá bá wo ìrìn àjò Tinubu láti ìgbà tó ti débẹ̀ nísìn a rí i pé kò tí ì sí much changes kankan lọ títí ṣé mọ̀ pé Tinubu òun náà ní presidential order tó lè máa give ó dẹ̀ lè lo anytime ìtàn pè lágbára nìyẹn ṣèbí nǹkan tó fẹ́ náà nìyẹn jagaba lo agbára yẹn kọ́kọ́ ní kó fún wọn ní autonomy fún gbogbo local government kó override the senate bí amòdè wrong bí a kò possible bẹ́ẹ̀ ẹ̀yin tẹ́ jẹ́ lawyer ẹ bá mi kọ síbẹ̀ yẹn ṣé Tinubu lè override the senate àti house of reps to give us the full autonomy kátẹ kọ́kọ́ rí autonomy yẹn gbà jáde lọ sí local government wa kí a lè máa ká lè hold gbogbo àwọn local government tí wọ́n ní function kó tó di pé Nàìjíríà máa pín because kò jẹ́ kí yà jẹ́ anybody. ṣe máa wà wá síbẹ̀ kẹ́ máa fún wa ní fàbú pé Tinubu máa wá ṣe ẹni kó kọ́kọ́ lo presidential order ṣé ó possible yes or no I don't know I'm not a lawyer. ṣé Tinubu lè override pé 1999 constitution yẹn o presidential order òun sọ pé full autonomy for all the local government. He said it will continue from where Bubu stopped. That means pé òun ò follow the same thing tí George H.W. Bush ṣe nígbà tí òun wọlé ní 1989. ẹ mọ̀ pé àwọn Bush àwọn family tó àtàbà mọ bàbá wọn aṣáàmọ George Bush to the president níjọ́ náà lọ́hùn. wọ́n ní kò follow policy Ronald Reagan in dealing with Mikhail Gorbachev and the Soviet Union. So bí àyẹn lọ ṣe fẹ́ jẹ́ kí Donald Trump padà àdúrà tèmi nísìn ni pé anybody tó ṣàmà wọlé lamẹ́ríkà again nísìn kó jẹ́ tó lè bá wa push ọ̀rọ̀ gbogbo tá à ń fà lọ́tún lọ́sì. Yes, he can use an executive order. Tinubu should be using that. Kò jẹ́ kó máa bẹ̀rù anybody. But ìgbà tó yẹ pé abẹ́ ẹ̀gò Sultan of Sokoto ló wà. Sultan of Sokoto ló ní Nàìjíríà. Tinubu is just another stooge. Tó bá mọ̀ tán pè bẹ́ẹ̀. Puppet ni Tinubu fún yín tẹ́ bá mọ̀. He's a puppet. Kò lè make a decision fún rẹ̀. Ó kọ́kọ́ gbọ́dọ̀ lọ through process kan sí process kan. Through àwọn tó wà níta, àwọn yẹn kọ́kọ́ communicate pẹ̀lú ẹ̀. Kí ló fẹ́ ṣe? No, ó lè ṣe yẹn o. Koiki ní kò pín Nàìjíríà. No, má dá Koiki yẹn lóhùn. Ṣáàjẹ́ kó máa pariwo ń tiẹ̀. Iṣẹ́ tiẹ̀ ni pé máa ṣe ta bá ní kó ṣe. Ìyẹn ni Tinubu ṣe ń ṣe gọ̀gọ̀lú òdùgà rẹ̀. Kò tẹ̀ ṣe bí president wọ́n sì wọlé nílẹ̀ Yorùbá wọ́n lọ ń gba ráìsì lọ́wọ́ àwọn ọmọ Yorùbá wọ́n ṣí north border sílẹ̀ wọ́n kó bọ̀n wọlé wọ́n kó gbogbo ẹ̀ wọlé ó yẹ kó ti máa give àwọn presidential order kan káwa gan máa sọ pé yes but ó débẹ̀ tó ń ṣe jágbajàgba ẹni jàgàbá ìyá máa jẹ gbogbo yín dáadáa. Ẹ jẹ́ ká continue. Collapse of Soviet Union ni mo fẹ́ kà yìí bí Nàìjíríà náà ṣe máa collapse tá a máa sọ́ de ìtàn a máa kọ report lé lórí wọ́n máa ṣàtìkù wọ́n máa ṣe movie lé lórí. Soviet Union was very powerful. wọ́n ní ìbọn wọ́n ní gbogbo ẹ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ tó wà lẹ́yìn sọ̀rọ̀ ìbọn bí Nàìjíríà sọjà bá náà máa kó gbogbo bọ́ jáde fi báwọn Biafra jà Biafra ní ẹ ṣáà fún àwọn ní referendum àwọn ọjà torí kẹ má sọ pé ṣó Koiki tí ń gbọ́ pọ́ máa jà tí oní tẹ́lómi fi wá gbọ́ nìyẹn Biafra náà wọn ò jà ó ní ẹ̀fọ́n òun ní referendum la fẹ́ àṣẹ Nàìjíríà mọ́ àkúkú nífẹ̀ẹ́ wọn already they are our enemies bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe máa ń sọ ṣèbọn fẹ́ gba Lagos mọ́ yín lọ́wọ́ tó bá fẹ́ gba Lagos mọ́ yín lọ́wọ́ ẹ ní kí Tinubu fún wọn ní referendum káwọn tẹ̀ kọ́kọ́ máa lọ kémi àti yín wà nínú Nàìjíríà kájọ máa mílkẹ̀ ẹ ní kó fún Biafra ní referendum and it is a right for the Biafran to ask for that referendum because àwọn náà the same thing tí mò ń sọ mo wá bó ṣe fẹ́ ló apply sáwọn náà so gbogbo tí bá ń sọ pé bó ṣe kó wa sínú ìgò Nàìjíríà náà ló apply sáwọn ló apply sáwúsá ta ni Fúlàní ṣé Fúlàní ní ilẹ̀ nílẹ̀ Nàìjíríà tẹ́lẹ̀ ni Fúlàní wá dẹni tó ní agbára ṣẹ́yìn ò mọ̀ pé gbogbo àwọn governors tí wọ́n wà ní north wọ́n ti di Fúlàní tán El-Rufai is a Fúlàní ó ti di gbọ́ba níyì nísìn tí Àwùjalẹ̀ bàbá wa ṣífìlà forí adé ẹ máa tanra yín ẹ máa rò pé eré là ń ṣe ní bíbáyìí. Mr. Koiki, believe this with me. According to my own brain years ago, Tinubu will be the last president. I'm not disagreeing with that. Tó bá possible bẹ́ẹ̀. Ṣèbí kínú mi fi dùn náà ni. But èmi ò gbọ́dọ̀ jókòó sí ibà kí wọ́n máa ní mọ̀ ntẹ́mi ń rí lèmi sọ. I might be wrong. Tó bá jẹ́ pé òun ni the last president. So be it. Àní kí n kọ́kọ́ ló máa pín Nàìjíríà. Ibì kan ló ti máa bẹ̀rẹ̀. But something must take for something. Má listen sáwọn ẹ̀gbọ́n ẹ̀ kan tó wà láàbúrò pé má dábọ̀ bọ́n yẹn lóhùn kò mọ tó ń sọ. Mo mọ tí mò ń sọ. The collapse of Soviet Union just start your car battery cell yẹn tí bá rí pé battery phone yẹn ti lọ́lẹ̀ tán pátápátá la máa end the program yìí tó bá ti indicate fún mi pé ó ti wà ní zero ti fẹ́ kanlẹ̀ but for now a ṣe wà good mo kí ẹ̀yin gbogbo yẹn tẹ́ wà lórí ètò pẹ̀lú wa pátápátá lọ́tún lọ́sì tó bá mọ grandfather òun lélẹ̀ lùgáàdì nìyẹn bàbá ńlá ẹ̀ nìyẹn sọ pé ó fẹ́ keep Nigeria tó bá di January 1st nísìn wọ́n á máa celebrate the amalgamation of Nigeria gbogbo pé wọ́n amalgamate Nigeria gan kò tí ì pé 102 more than 110 years gbogbo pé wọ́n amalgamate Nigeria. It was amalgamated in 1914. By January 1st, 2024, Nigeria will be 110 years old. Inú tiẹ̀ wá ń dùn. Instead, he ordered a strategic policy re-evaluation in order to establish his own plan and method for dealing with the Soviet Union and the arms control. Ìjọba kan máa dé. Ìjọba Tinubu ni, I don't know. Ìjọba America ni tó máa change dimension. I don't want to say eléyìí kan làwọn support. Ìtọ́lọ́run ṣáà máa jẹ́ kó dé tó jẹ́ pé òun lè àwọn ní agbára. Ẹ lọ fọ́ country yẹn dànù kẹ́kẹ́ má jẹ́ kí olúkálukú parẹ́ dànù. Ìjọba kan máa dé l'Amẹ́ríkà. Bí ẹ̀rí tó ń bọ̀ ni o, bí ẹ̀rí tó ti lọ ni o, we don't know. Kó má pẹ́ là ń sọ ni. Let's go further. Boris Yeltsin, ẹni tó bá rántí bọ̀bọ́ yẹn, ẹ lọ Google ẹ̀. Boris Yeltsin makes a speech from atop a tank in front of the Russian parliament building in Moscow, USSR, Monday, August 19, 1991. Date kan máa wà tó máa dé the final date of the dissolution and the collapse of that country. Tẹ́ ń pè Nàìjíríà tó lúkàlùkù máa mú tiẹ̀ kó lúkàlùkù máa lọ máa dé pẹ̀lú internal problem wọn. A lọ máa deal pẹ̀lú our all internal problem because a ti ní so much internal problem púpọ̀ nínú wa gan sẹ̀ wọ́n sì máa kó wa lọ sí psychiatric hospital láti lọ re-evaluate brain wa because ìrònú Nàìjíríà ó gbọ́dọ̀ kúrò ní psychology psyche wa. Nàìjíríà ti bayé jẹ́ ó ti bayé jẹ́ gan. Let's continue. Conditions in the Eastern Europe and the Soviet Union, however, changed rapidly. Gorbachev's decision to loosen the Soviet yoke on the countries of Eastern Europe created an independent democratic momentum that led to the collapse of the Berlin Wall in November 1989. And then the overthrow of the communist rule throughout Eastern Europe while Bush, ẹgbọ́n bíbẹ̀ dáadáa, ìyẹn bàbá àwọn Bush ló ń sọ yìí o, kò ń ṣe Bush George Bush o, bàbá tiwọn ẹ̀wọ̀n fún àwọn powerful gan l'Amẹ́ríkà. Why Bush supported this independent movement? Government kan máa dé ní àgbáyé yìí, ó lè jẹ́ Russia ni, ó lè jẹ́ America ni, we don't know. But ẹ bá ń dúró de ti UK, èmi ò rò bẹ́ẹ̀. Mo sorry. It has to be a country away from UK. It has to be a country away from UK. Why Bush? Ìkànnì wọn máa dé. Ó lè jẹ́ South Africa náà ni, ó lè jẹ́ African country kan náà ló máa support wa. Ìyẹn làwọn kan ṣe ń sọ pé Mr. Koiki ti jẹ́ ká máa bá wọn ìlú kọ̀ọ̀kan sọ̀rọ̀. Bẹ́ẹ̀ bá ń bá wọn sọ̀rọ̀ náà, wọn ò ní jáde freely. Ó lè jẹ́ China gan ló máa ní jẹ́ ká pín ìlú yìí. Ó lè jẹ́ America. We don't know. But we pray that something will lead to something. But àwa fúnra wa náà láti make effort. Ìyẹn làwọn èèyàn ṣe ń sọ pé àìmá jáde yín kọ́ rí yín gan lójú títì. Àwọn kan nìyẹn ṣe tàbá kan jáde lójú títì nìkan ló máa fi gba Yorùbá nation ni. Ẹ̀mọ́ tó ń pè ní movement ni. Movement ó máa paralyze country ni. Tó bá dẹ̀ ti ń paralyze country, àwọn ìlú yẹn ló máa hàn pé kí ni okay àwọn ò ní support Nigeria mọ́. Okay, let's give an example now. If countries start pulling out of support of Nigeria, ìlú wo lẹ fi pé ó ń support Nigeria pé tó bá pull out, strength Nigeria máa reduce in terms of gbogbo gìrìgìrì tí Nigeria ń ṣe léni nísìn, àwọn ìlú kan ló ń support wọn. Ẹ fún mi lóní comment section mo fẹ́ rí. Àwọn ìlú wo bíi méjì mẹ́ta wo lẹ fi pé tó bá pull out support wọn kúrò lára Nigeria, gbogbo tí Nigeria fi ń sọ pé òun jẹ́ Nigeria yẹn ó máa collapse. UK lè jẹ́ yọkan nú wọn, there's no doubt about it. America lè jẹ́ yọkan, ìwọ náà bá ń fi ìlú tẹ bá fi ìpè lọ́kàn yín. In tó ṣẹlẹ̀ nìyẹn. Bush wọlé dé ó support independent movement. The US policy was reactivated or reactive rather. Bush chooses to let events ẹgbọ́n bíbá yìí dáadáa ìwé wa very very important. Ọ̀rọ̀ tí mo fẹ́ sọ bíbá yìí bó ṣe máa wáyé níjọ́ kan náà nìyẹn ní Nàìjíríà tá a mọ̀ lẹ́nìí. Yes, UK àti America bá pull out their support from Nigeria, kò sí nǹkan kan tó ń jẹ́ Nigeria mọ́. At least ìlú méjèèjì yẹn. But there might be some other countries as well. Wọ́n ní Germany náà, China náà lè pull out. India gan lè pull out. France ẹ máa bá wa fi sínú comment section. So àwọn ìlú yẹn bá sọ pé àwọn support Nigeria mọ́ kí Nigeria lọ pín, but the question is kí ló máa ṣẹlẹ̀, ibo la máa dé, ìrìn wo la máa rìn, ṣé through rally ni, ṣé true lobby ni, ṣé true akọlẹ́tà sí àwọn senator wọn ni, ṣé true projection ní tá à ń ṣe yìí ni. What are we going to do to give this country tá à ń dárúkọ yìí so that we can be able to let them know that it is time that we could allow Nigeria to collapse? What do we do? Àti rí country bíi mélòó kan nísìn, àti rí UK, àti rí America, àti rí China, àti rí France, àti rí Germany. So all these 5 countries, kí làwa máa ṣe? Ìyẹn ló yẹ ká máa ronú sí. Ṣé a máa jáde lójoojúmọ́ so that àwọn embassy wọn lè máa feel pen yẹn nígbà tí aircraft ò bá lè land sí Muritala Muhammed Airport, tí yíyan kọkàn lè rìn láàrin gbogbo àdúgbò Lagos State títí dé Ogun State títí dé gbogbo Ọ̀kọ̀yà náà. Kí lẹ rò pé àwọn British ṣe ń sá fún ọ̀nà South East nísìn because ó ń gbóná lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́? Kí lẹ rò pé Britain ṣèbó wà nínú FCDO? ẹ rò pé wọ́n sọ ni? ẹ jẹ́ kí n kàn tó sọ fún yín. Wọ́n ń sọ fáwọn ọmọ wọn pé ẹ avoid ọ̀nà ilẹ̀ Yíbò because ibẹ̀ yẹn kò ṣe é lọ nísìn. Má kà fún yín. FCDO advise Southeast and South Nigeria. The FCDO advise against all travel to riverine area. Kí làwa náà máa ṣe? Ìrìn wo la fẹ́ rìn tó máa di pé wọ́n máa sọ fáwọn èèyàn wọn pé ẹ má lọ sí ilẹ̀ Yorùbá náà mọ́ for the time being tí solution máa fi wá sí nǹkan tó ń jà fún ni àbí nǹkan kan tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀. Ìyẹn làwọ̀ tí ìdè stage yẹn àwọn Britain ti mọ̀ pé ní òkè ọya náà ní South East àti South ibẹ̀ yẹn ń gbóná, kò dáa fún ọmọlúàbí láti gbàbẹ̀ kọjá lọ́sàn-án gangan. Kí làwa máa ṣe lókù nísìn? Ìyẹn ló yẹ ká máa ronú sí as we go into 2024 because Britain ò tí ì rí feelings wa pé a fẹ́ kúrò nínú Nàìjíríà. Ó dàbí àtẹ́ pé a kàn ń jáde lójoojúmọ́ à ń sọ̀rọ̀ without no action. Wọ́n dẹ̀ reaction yẹn before election wọ́n dẹ̀ sọ fún Tinubu àti Buhari pé tẹ́ ẹ̀ bá tètè gbéra, Ìgbòho àti Koiki àtàwọn tó ń tẹ̀lé wọn wọ́n máa pín Nàìjíríà mọ́ yín lọ́wọ́. That is a fact. Idiot all over the place. Ẹ rò pé Britain ò ní fún wọn ní signal ni? Ìyẹn ló ti fẹ́ wá pa Ìgbòho sínú ilé náà. Wọ́n mọ̀ kí tó bá ti pa Ìgbòho sínú ilé then at the end of the day èmi náà sá lọ ṣèbí torí mò ń rí Ìgbòho mo ṣe ń dúró. Idiot all over. Mo lẹ́yìn ní last man standing lórí ìrìn àjò yìí. Enough is enough. A gbọ́dọ̀ collapse in Nigeria so that the next generation of people àwọn ọmọ táwọn wò yìí come out to jìyà wọ́n disrespect àwọn ọmọ wa nílùú yìí. Tó bá disrespect ọmọ tiẹ̀ ó kù díẹ̀ nígbà tó ọmọ ẹ bá lọ ṣiṣẹ́ tó sọ pé iṣẹ́ tó ń ṣe yẹn kò lè ṣe because ó ti lọ ní one criminal offence àbí torí pé wọ́n value ẹ̀. Ó fi pé torí pé ọmọ ẹgbẹ́ British passport dání wọ́n máa value ẹ̀ ni. Ó kù kékeré díẹ̀ fún yín wọ́n máa disvalue àwọn ọmọ yín. Àwọn ọmọ yín tẹ́ gbé sí America tẹ́ gbé sí UK wọ́n á sọ fún wọn pé wọ́n ní respect kankan tó lè fún ọmọ and the same racism táwa go through àwọn ọmọ yẹn máa go through. Àwọn ọmọ tìsí ọ̀dẹ̀ nígbà ó dẹ̀ máa di pé wọ́n máa fún wọn ní criminal record. Ó kù díẹ̀ ni sọ pé ó fẹ́ Yorùbá nation ó kó àwọn ọmọ ẹ̀dá ní sílùú yìí wàá jẹ́ bàbá ìgbà lọ́jọ́ iwájú. Àwọn ọmọ yẹn máa dá sídìí sẹ́lòmí lára nínú yín gbà tẹ́ bá kú tán ó kù díẹ̀ ni. A ní enough is enough. Ẹ jẹ́ ká collapse Nàìjíríà interface ṣe ní 2021 yẹn yọ lórí burúkú ọmọ àlè. Ẹ wá sọ pé Ìgbòho sá lọ Koiki sá lọ because wọ́n mọ̀. Wọ́n mọ̀ pé tá a bá dé kò níjọ́ yẹn something will lead to something. Ẹ̀jẹ̀ máa ta sílẹ̀ ni ẹni máa kú ẹni máa yé ni. That is enough is enough. We must talk about it. There's no doubt about it. Nigeria will collapse just as Soviet Union collapsed. Mo kí ìyá tó kí mi tó bí iná ẹ káàbọ̀ sórí ètò. Sister mi Yeti Queen mo gbádùn program yìí yẹn lánàá. Ẹ ṣé gan ni. Ìyá mi á ní beast ní Nigeria. Èmi máa ń sọ pé á ní beast ní Nigeria. The only solution òun ni pé ká wá sórí round table. Tá a bá ti wá sórí round table, we must all be prepared láti padà sójú títì. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni, a máa padà sójú títì. Africa mentality ló máa lò fún wa. Wọ́n máa kó sójà jáde, wọ́n máa kó ọlọ́pàá jáde. Ẹ lé wọn kúrò lójú títì. Ìyẹn ló ń ṣe. Kí ló ṣe ní Ọjọ́ta? Nígbà tá a bá ní káwọn èèyàn jáde, wọ́n á ní náà àní jáde o. Wọ́n máa pa wá o. Ṣé ẹ ti máa kú nísìn nínú ìṣẹ́ àti ebi? Britain sọ fáwọn citizen wọn tó wà níbí báyìí pé ẹ má gba Abia State kọjá, ẹ má lọ sí gbogbo non-riverine area, ẹ má dé Delta, ẹ má dé Bayelsa, ẹ má dé River, ẹ má dé Akwa Ibom, ẹ má lọ sí Anambra, ẹ má dé Imo State. Kí lẹ rò pé wọ́n ṣe ń sọ bẹ́ẹ̀? Nítorí pé reaction àwọn ọmọ Biafra níbẹ̀ yẹn wọ́n rí lórí data wọn. Ẹ fi pé gbogbo tá à ń ṣe ìwọ ọmọ ni wọ́n mọ tá à ń ṣe bọ̀ wọ́n mọ̀ pé kò ṣe ọ̀rọ̀ terrorist ni mo sọ ní bíbá. Collapse of Nigeria is a right because under United Nations Charter December 14, 1960 idiot all over the place. Ẹ rò pé àwọn tá à ń sọ ni but ìyẹn is just a word. Ẹ lọ bèrè lọ́wọ́ àwọn lọ́ọ̀yà bí àwọn sister mi Yeti Queen wọ́n mọ̀ pé ọ̀rọ̀ pé a máa pín lórí paper nìyẹn action gbọ́dọ̀ tẹ̀lé lẹ́yìn. Britain mọ̀ pé tẹ́ ẹ bá fẹ́ action sí àwọn gan lè má support yín wọ́n á máa wò wá bí òmùgọ̀. Pé kí làwọn eléyìí sọ yìí ẹ̀ẹ́dẹ̀ pé ra yín lọ́mọ Yorùbá ẹ máa ṣakọ ẹ máa ṣe ẹ máa ṣe ẹ máa gbé àyà síta láti sọ pé enough is enough. Ẹ jẹ́ ká padà sí American sọ. Bush bàbá wọn ló sọ pé òun ò ní follow policy Reagan. Òun máa allow kí ẹ tó bá fẹ́ kúrò nínú Russia kó kúrò. Wọ́n dẹ̀ mọ̀ pé USSR ní agbára. But nígbà tí America ti back movement yẹn, we need a country that will give us that strong backing. Tá a máa fi gbé ìsẹ́ àti sẹ́ pé enough is enough. But whether we are still have those country or not, I don't know. But I can say that àwa tí àwa mọ̀ pé wọ́n àrí country, ẹ jẹ́ káwa náà takú bá àgbà. But tabako ń jáde orí social media, èmi pariwo gbogbogbogbogbò ìgbàgà, gbẹ̀dúgbàdú gbogbogbò ìgbàgà, yèyé dára tó bá tún dalẹ̀, ọmọlúkà. Yes, those are good. It's just the awareness. But the real deal, òun ni bàbá Akíntóyè fẹ́ ṣe níjọ́ yẹn. Tán ni yẹn, bàbá yẹn ò mọ̀ ṣe. Bàbá yẹn ní tá bá máa jáde torí pé a ní owó bí àwọn olóṣèlú. Ẹ jẹ́ ká ṣe rally ládùúgbò wa. Àwọn kan tó wá sínú meeting, wọ́n dàrú. Wọ́n ní bàbá Akíntóyè, ẹ ti jẹ́ kí gbogbo wà lójú kan, ẹ ti mọ̀ pé ibi tá àti rí nǹkan kan tá serious nìyẹn. YSDM kí ló ń ṣẹlẹ̀? Oríṣiríṣi wa kàn ń gbọ́ left and right. Wọ́n ní bàbá Yílóge ti resign. Kí ló ń ṣẹlẹ̀? Tẹ́ ẹ̀ báyìí ti gbọ́, òun lẹ ti gbọ́ lẹ́nu mi yẹn. Wọ́n ní bàbá Yílóge, wọ́n náà ti kúrò nínú YSDM. Kódà bí tún ṣe ń gbọ́ pé wọ́n náà ti fẹ́ set up another platform. Àti wọ one chance. Àti wà ní rí one chance ni mo sọ fún yín. Ṣẹ́rẹ́ yẹn ọ̀dọ́. Àwa set báyìí ẹ lajú ká shine face wa dáadáa. A ti wà ní one chance. A ti wà ní one kí ni mo sọ one chance. I'll still hold on to my thought on that. Ẹ máa kí n ti fọ gbogbo ẹ̀ mọ́lẹ̀. People have been calling the attention of the YSDM for some time. I'm a journalist. I'm independent. Bàbá Akíntóyè nìkan ni mo gbà fún. Mo gbà fún bàbá Yílóge, but wọ́n ní bàbá Yílóge náà ti ṣe kí ni? Wọ́n náà ti resign. Kí ló ṣe resign? I don't know. Mo ti mọ̀ fact. But wọ́n náà ti resign from information tí mo ń gbọ́. He's no longer the deputy chairman of the YSDM. Tí YSDM ò bá ní gbé wá, ẹja fọ́ gbogbo ẹ̀ mọ́lẹ̀ ká padà sí ìlànà, ká dó sórí ìlànà lọ́dọ̀ bàbá yẹn gangan. Torí pé bàbá yẹn tèmi rí, bàbá Akíntóyè tèmi rí yẹn, tèmi dúró tì tí mo rí, tó dúró tì Ìgbòho, ọmọ èèyàn ni bàbá yẹn. Èèyàn ní bàbá, kò sí nǹkan tẹ́ lè sọ fún mi láyé spiritually physically èèyàn ní bàbá yẹn. Ṣé kò ń ṣe pé YSDM ti compromise wa báyìí? Mo kàn ń gbé sí létí ni o, I don't know. Ẹ máa rò lọ́kàn yín o, because Yorùbá nation tàgbé dání ó gùn lóòótọ́ o, but a lè slow it down tí Nàìjíríà máa fi collapse. I hope we are not in one chance. Kí ni bàbá Yílóge ṣe resign fún? Okay, wọ́n náà ń bọ́ àwọn, wọ́n ṣe wọ́n ní èmi kówó jẹ. Ṣé wọ́n ní èmi kówó jẹ? Yíyan kan má dẹ̀ pè mí lẹ́yìn ètò, ẹ má bàa gba èpè gidi. Ẹ wò mí dáadáa, ìyẹn mo ṣe dá dúró independent ni mí o, independent ni mí. Ìgbòho bàbá Professor Banji Akíntóyè, mo sọ fún yín àwọn lẹ́pa bí ṣúgà ni tí àwọn ọmọ ìta fẹ́ lọ, ẹ má gbé wa lọ. Mo sọ fún yín pé ẹ mọ̀ pé mo ṣe program kan ní a máa jókòó sí a máa ṣe program, ẹ máa rò pé à ń ṣeré. Mo ní ẹ má jẹ́ kó lọ fún yín ní clause lórí afẹ́gbà Yorùbá nation no. Anyway náà ẹ̀ tó bẹ́ẹ̀ ẹ̀ tó bẹ́ẹ̀ tẹ́mi bá wà ṣe wà ẹ̀ tó bẹ́ẹ̀ pẹ̀lẹ́ òṣègbè mi sẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ ẹ̀ tó bẹ́ẹ̀ ni mo sọ. A ní gba clause kankan a fẹ́ kúrò, tá a bá ti kúrò ká mọ̀ báyìí ti kúrò ká wà lójú kan. Yes, èèyàn lè believe in anybody, yes, but like I said, kí ni reason tó ṣe kúrò? Because why must they leave now? Time tá a wà yìí ó wà very delicate. Ó dàbí kí n tẹ́yìn náà dáre nísìnyí kí n sọ fún yín pé mo ṣe Yorùbá nation mọ́ ẹni máa sọ pé Koiki kí ló ń ṣẹlẹ̀. That's the question. Kí ló dé tán resign nísìn tí wọ́n tún wá náà fẹ́ set up another platform? Come on, understand tom like that. Lọ́ fẹ́ set up platform fún. Why is you want to set up another platform? Èmi ò dẹ̀ rí bàbá Yílóge rí, orí fún láti sọ̀rọ̀. Mo rí Ìgbòho rí, torí Ìgbòho lèmi ṣe lọ Nàìjíríà, torí bàbá Akíntóyè mo ṣe lọ Nàìjíríà, àwọn tí mo dẹ̀ sọ fún wọn mo dẹ̀ sọ fún wọn. Ìgbòho ní kẹ́ lọ máa dúpẹ́ fún, bó bá yẹ pé gbogbo tèmi sọ nígbà yẹn pé ká tètè ṣe ni tí gbọ́ coordinator nítorí tún gbé wáyé lágbára díẹ̀ o bá mi ẹ̀yẹ lọ dúpẹ́ fún. So orí ìrìn àjò làwa ṣì wà. Èmi ò rí bàbá yìí lóge rí, ìṣe èmi wà tó wọn appoint wọn mọ̀ ọkọ̀ ní àwọn ní deputy chairman àtàbá lè tẹ̀ náà appoint èèyàn, àwa gbọ́dọ̀ gbà fún gbogbo movement ni. But tó bá ti di pé movement ti di pé kí ló ń ṣẹlẹ̀, a gbọ́dọ̀ wá tó wá béèrè náà ni. What is going on in YSDM is a question I've just asked. I'm not scared of any one of them. What is happening in YSDM? Kọ́pẹ́ town hall meeting, kọ́ wá ṣàlàyé fún gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá kí ló ń ṣẹlẹ̀. That's what I've asked. Journalist ni mi, mo ní right láti béèrè. Mo lè máa question bàbá Ìgbòho ṣá torí mo mọ tí Ìgbòho lè ṣe. Ẹ ní láti sọ fún mi. Mo mọ tí bàbá Akíntóyè lè ṣe torí mo rí wọn a dẹ̀ sọ̀rọ̀. Mo dẹ̀ ti suspect bàbá Adéníran ti pẹ́. But àwa ta sọ fún bàbá kìíní nígbà yẹn. Mo rẹ̀ mọ ẹ má yẹ kí n tún wọnú ọ̀rọ̀. Ẹ jẹ́ ń dè mọ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ tí ọmọ sí mi máa ń ní òun ṣọmọdé mọ́. Ṣé ẹ jẹ́ ń ra dè mọ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ ká padà sórí ìta dúró lé. Mo kàn gbé sí létí náà ni. Tẹ́ ẹ̀ bá tí mọ̀ tẹ́lẹ̀ wọ́n ní bàbá yìí lóge ò sí lára YSDM mọ́. Ó dàpọ̀ náà ti elected lómi, I don't know. But we expect them to come out and speak to every Yoruba sons and daughters. If not, ká lè mọ̀ bóyá ṣé YSDM náà ṣe ní the Yoruba self-determination movement. Tó bá jẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ mọ́ ká fà wálẹ̀ ká dúró lórí ìlànà torí ìlànà dúró tán. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni mo sọ fún yín, tí mo bá mọ̀ rárá mo mọ̀ ní ìlànà dúró tán páípáí. Ó dúró tán bámbám. Mo dẹ̀ mọ̀ ìlànà US. Wọ́n náwó wọ́n nọ́ra ìlànà Canada ti Nàìjíríà. So tí YSDM bá ní wọ́ọ̀kì mọ́ káyà tètè yá ẹ má yẹ ká jẹ́ kó pẹ́ ká tètè yá kó sọ fún gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá. Èmi kàn sọ tèmi ni. Ìrìn àjò tá gbé dání kò ń ṣeré. Àwọn kan rò pé là ń ṣe ni. Ẹ pé àwọn wá sórí social tẹ́ bá fẹ́ ṣeré àwọn kan máa ń ṣeré. Èmi náà wà lórí TikTok láàárọ̀ yìí nídàájí oríṣiríṣi àwàdà wà ń bẹ̀. Orí ibi tá a wà yìí ibi tó serious gidi ni. Ẹ jẹ́ ká ka díẹ̀ sí nípa bí collapse ṣe wáyé ní USSR. While George Bush John Long supported this independent movement, the US policy was reactive. Bush chose to let events unfold organically. Mo like ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn. Things will unfold in Nigeria organically. Mr. Lajire says, I was part of that program. No clause either we are free or not. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, ẹ mọ̀ pé mo sọ níjọ́ yẹn. Because èmi kàn sọ̀rọ̀ as in tá a dẹ̀ ń rí a gbọ́dọ̀ ní any clause because àwọn kan ti ṣe mistake yẹn rí àti rí ìlú yẹn. India gbàsí fún wọn nísìnyí wọ́n ti detain gbogbo àwọn leaders wọn because àwọn tó lọ sign fún wọn ká má nà lọ gba Yorùbá nation. Yeah, Bush the senior bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ká máa lò bẹ́ẹ̀ kò ń ṣe ọmọ wọn tó ṣe ọmọ Bush o. Ó allow things to unfold organically. Okay, wọ́n ní Baba Iloge is a principal among those that are saying Yoruba should go and vote for APC. Baba vote for APC kí la máa ṣe? Àkó wa mọ́rógà. Bush senior ẹ ṣe gan ni Baba wa fà. Ó allow things. Ṣẹ́rí in tó dùn jù ni pé kí ṣẹ́rí fear táwa ń fear wàláì ó lè jẹ́ pé UK gan máa kọ̀ sọ́jú nù fún Nàìjíríà pé ọmọ kí lẹ rò pé UK ṣe ń sá fún ṣé mọ̀ pé UK bẹ̀rù Biafra ẹ̀ hàn kí mo ti sọ́rí no ta ló accept bẹ́ẹ̀ pé UK yìí wọ́n bẹ̀rù àwọn Biafra gan. How many people knows that? UK tí àjọ tèmi wà yìí ṣé àwọn kan bẹ̀rù àwọn Biafra ó bẹ̀rù wọn gidi ni because wọ́n ti rí ìtọ́jọbára wọn pa ìtọ́jọbára wọn fò ìtọ́jọbára wọn sọ ìtọ́jọbára wọn ṣe ní 1967 ẹ mọye secret agent Britain tó máa wà ní Biafra land nígbà tó ń já ogun yẹn lọ ni pé àwọn people lọ pẹ̀lú bó ṣe 3 years tó fi jàjà yẹn ọdún mẹ́ta ló fi jàjà yẹn so Britain ni mọ̀ pé wọ́n dẹ̀ mọ̀ pé generation okay I think I have mo ní fídíò kan tí mo lè play fún wa ti ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wà lórí Facebook Koikimedia ẹ̀ ní láàyè gbọ́ because bí system ṣe wà set up náà ní má bínú ẹ jẹ́ n lọ mú fídíò yẹn jáde kódà mo send ẹ̀ sí yàn kan náà lánàá ẹ jẹ́ n lọ mú jáde fún yín kẹ́ gbọ́ ẹ jẹ́ àgbọ́ fídíò yìí audio ló máa jáde.
People must understand the rage that is boiling within us. You must understand how angry we are. We may look normal to you, but we are very, very angry, believe me. And by the time we are done with Nigeria, the name won't exist. That I can assure you.
ẹgbọ́n kan tí Nnamdi Kanu sọ.
People must understand
People must understand the rage. Kí ló ń pè ní rage? R-A-G-E. Romeo Alpha Golf Echo. And this platform is not violent platform. Self-determination. Self-determination. Ó dẹ̀ máa ń hit up. Ọ̀rọ̀ tó máa ń hit up gidi ni. Especially in the African context. A lè compare self-determination táwa ń ṣe pẹ̀lú àwọn ti Scotland o. Ti Scotland civilized diplomacy làwọn ṣe o. Àwa ò lè ṣe the same thing o. Tá a bá ń dúró dè yẹn ó máa pẹ́ o. Kí ló ń pè ní rage? Tá a bá sọ pé rage. Why is Nnamdi Kanu saying tẹ́ bá mọ rage tó wà lọ́wọ́ let me
Rage.
violent, uncontrollable, anger. Her face was distorted with rage. Ọmọ bí Koiki ṣe ń sọ̀rọ̀ yìí bọ̀bọ̀ yìí ti sinmi gan-an ẹgbẹ́ yìí ń sọ̀rọ̀ báyìí ṣé ìwé yìí pé ọmọ yìí ní problem? No, ní problem. Nàìjíríà ló ní problem tá à ń try láti àfẹ́ problem tó wà Nàìjíríà àfẹ́ ìdá ká fa oxygen yẹn kó kú or ká wá sórí round table kí the remaining oxygen yẹn kó má lọ ṣe kí ni kó má di ticking time oyè yín. There was a time they begged them with visas. The Biafra turned down the visa. Ṣègbọ́n kan tó sọ. Wọ́n bí àwọn Biafra kó àwọn fún wọn ní visa kó máa bọ̀ nílùú yìí. Ẹ bá jẹ́ millions, wọ́n náà wọ́n fẹ́. They're very worried and concerned about them. So, rage also means feel or express violent, uncontrollable anger. What is the full meaning of rage or violent anger? So, Nnamdi Kanu sọ nínú fídíò yẹn mo post lánàá. Ọ̀dọ̀ àwọn ọmọ Biafra yẹn ni mo ti rí because tó bá ń comment abẹ́ mi wọ́n máa ń post àwọn fídíò kọ̀ọ̀kan mo wá rí oríṣiríṣi fídíò dẹ̀ lòun ti ṣe 21 seconds ní ẹja gbọ́n kan tó tún sọ lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí.
People must understand the rage that is boiling within us.
Ó ní ẹ gbọ́dọ̀ mọ the rage tó ń bọ́ìlì nínú àwọn. Kí nìkan tó ń bọ́ìlì nínú wọn? Skarsgo sọ pé it is disheartening that the overall experience of the Yoruba elder is not directly proportional to their age. Tàbá máa ń dúró de gbogbo àwọn bàbá yẹn bá ṣe máa dúró títí forever nìyẹn o. Ó ní àwọn èèyàn mọ in táwọn face. Mr. Fab in this modern they will find it very difficult in this modern world.
You must understand how
Ó ní you must understand how kí ni
angry we are.
how angry táwọn wà. Inú àwọn ọdún àwa Yorùbá ń criticize wọn a ní àfẹ́ wọn àwọn náà lọ ń ṣe fake wine àwọn lọ ń ṣe fake drug àwọn ó da ẹ jẹ́ kó máa lọ ẹ fún wọn ní referendum káwa lọ́wọ́ àánú Nàìjíríà ẹ fún wọn ní referendum ẹni kí Tinubu fún wọn ní referendum kí ó fẹ́ dógúnlẹ̀ ni ṣé Tinubu fẹ́ dógúnlẹ̀ lé wa lórí ni ṣé Bọ́lá Tinubu the president of Nigeria ṣó fẹ́ dá ogúnlẹ̀ fún wa ni ẹ jẹ́ kó fún àwọn Biafra ní referendum káwa dé wa nù Nàìjíríà ká máa ṣe Nàìjíríà wa lọ. Bàbá mi Ọlásùnkànmí làwà ní Tingo Group Nigeria company frauded US bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ẹ sọ fún Jagaban ẹ sọ fún ṣe Tinubu pé kó sọ fún bàbá rẹ̀ kó fún àwọn Biafra ní referendum kó máa lọ àfẹ́ ogun because gbogbo yín náà lẹ sọ pé ìbẹ̀rẹ̀ ogun la mọ̀ àmọ̀ parí ogun bọ̀bọ́rọ̀ ṣe ń lọ ìpẹ̀lú Biafra àti federal government wọn ò ní gbà because Nnamdi Kanu ní tẹ́ bá mọ bí rage tó wà láàrin àwọn àti inú àwọn sí ọ̀rọ̀ Nàìjíríà wọ́n hate British bí ìgbẹ́ especially torí àwọn ti jagun pẹ̀lú wọn wọ́n hate wọn bàjẹ́ ibẹ̀ ni Nnamdi Kanu gbé British passport tó ń lò ìyẹn ni Britain ò ṣe dá sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀ ẹ fi pé wọ́n mọ bọ́ ṣe ó gbọ́n ọlọ́mọ bọ́ ṣe kidnap ẹ̀ náà wọ́n dákẹ́ lọ́lọ́ ni àwọn Biafra náà dẹ̀ mọ̀ pé Britain ò like àwọn ẹ lọ gbọ́ bí Simon Ekpa ṣe máa sọ̀rọ̀ kò dẹ̀ sí nǹkan tẹ́ lè ṣe fún because Finland náà ti go through this kind of self-determination independent tí Simon Ekpa ń jà fún yìí.
We will look normal to you.
Ó ní àwọn máa look normal nísìn a kà nínú pépà láàárọ̀ yìí pé Aro ní Abẹ́òkúta ní Yaba psychiatric patients in Yaba hospital have increased by 100%. So dìgbà tá a bá pé 250% tá à ń kó gbogbo ara wa lọ sí Aro tá à ń lọ sí Yaba ẹlòmíì ní Nàìjíríà lé ní nísìn kò náà mọ̀ ẹlòmíì ò náà mà ó kàn wọṣọ ni ó ń wọ suit asumọ ẹ wetin happen Oga abeg I never chop ọmọ Yorùbá I never chop kò dẹ̀ tí chop lóòótọ́ á dẹ̀ wọ suit jáde wọ́n níyàwó wọ́n lọ́mọ tó bá dé stage kan èèyàn máa ní mental problem èèyàn máa ní breakdown and ìlú tó bẹ̀rẹ̀ tí ní this kind of thing that is symbol of breakdown tí ń bọ̀ ó kọ̀ dàbí ìgbà tẹ́ báyìí tí ok nígbà tí 100% of people kí lè rò pé wọ́n sọ níbẹ̀ wọ́n náà èèyàn ti ń lo drugs kí lè fi ń lo drugs fún because everybody feel high ẹ̀dẹ̀ pé tí yàn bá dẹ̀ ti high oríṣiríṣi ló lè máa rí kódà o lè máa rí spirit oríṣiríṣi gan ló máa rí torí pé ó ti mú Colorado ìlú tó bá ti wà ní stage yẹn ó ti di pé ó máa collapse náà ni because yes ìlú yìí náà ní sẹ́ wọ́n lo drugs but à ń try láti make sure pé wo ọ̀pọ̀ tó bí pé wọ́n máa wá dàdúrú mọ́ wa lórí ní Yaba ó náà pẹ́ mọ̀ psychiatric patients in Yaba hospital have increased by 100%. These are the same set of people tó máa wá jẹ mí àtiwọ́ tó ní kí n máa bọ̀ ní Nàìjíríà so kàkà kí n wá sí Nàìjíríà kó jẹ mí ẹ jẹ́ ká yọ oxygen tó wà ní Nàìjíríà ká rọra máa yọ díẹ̀díẹ̀ torí pé tó bá padà wá bá gbogbo wa everybody ló máa jẹ breakfast in 72 hours ọkàn mi wà lókè gan torí èèyàn kan tó ń rìnrìn àjò kan lọ sọ́nà òkè ọya wàláì tàlà sí mọ́bìlà làzíláwà mo bẹ̀ wọ́n títí pé ìrìn àjò yẹn wọ́tẹ̀ ẹ̀yin ò ní mọ̀ ni ẹni tó súnmọ́ mi gbágbágbá ni ọkàn mi ṣe kí ni ó wà ní òkè tó fi lọ tó fi padà ṣé yẹ kó rí bẹ́ẹ̀ I couldn't sleep until tó wọ flight tó fi dé the final destination and I don't have to give you all the breakdown of ibi tẹ́ni yẹn ti ń bọ̀ ibo ló lọ mo bẹ̀ títí pé ìrìn àjò yẹn ò dáa mo ní mi tí mo pariwo Yorùbá nation ó ní mo máa lọ náà ni o mo ló dáa títí di alẹ́ àná tó wọnú ilé ẹ̀ lọ́kàn mi ṣe balẹ̀ idiot all over the place ẹ rò pé mo ń ṣeré lórí program tí mo wá sórí program ni ẹ rò pé mi náà dáhùn tó wà affected ní Nàìjíríà ni ṣe rò pé gbogbo àwọn tó ń kó lọ sáró yẹn ṣe rò pé tó bá dé stage kan wọ́n ní wá attack yín ẹ̀yin tẹ́ lówó ẹni tó lówó àtẹni tó lówó cousin mi sọ pé wọ́n já fóònù mọ́ sí òun gbà níbi àbí last week àtẹ̀dúpẹ́ tó ṣì yá yẹn léṣe àwọn ló ń já fóònù gbà wọ́n ń ṣe pickpocket nílùú iná kí ló ń fà tó fi ń wá sí Aro òmùfẹ́kà fún wa yìí kí ló ń fà tó fi ń wá sí Aro. We also have 100% increase in admission cases in which drug abuse cases is now 10% increase and the discharge cases is reduced by 10%. Ó wà ní level kan náà. Bó ṣe ń try láti curb it down láwọn kan tún wá drug abuse. The poor and the rich will eat each other if we do not collapse that contraction tẹ́ ń pè Nàìjíríà. Bọ̀ kó tó dọ́dọ̀ àwọn Ṣèyí Tinubu á pẹ́ kó tó dọ́dọ̀ Davido wá fìbọn fọ́ orí yín ẹ lọ wo fídíò bàbá kan bó ṣe gbá èèyàn kan tó ń tẹ̀lé Davido lẹ́yìn tẹ bá rí bó ṣe gbá etí ẹ̀ kí ló dé ṣèbí fans ẹ̀ ni ṣé wọ́n lè ṣe security yẹn ó lè dán wò bẹ́ẹ̀ l'Amẹ́ríkà kó gbá etí èèyàn torí pé ó jẹ́ fans ẹ̀ Davido máa san gbèsè l'Amẹ́ríkà bọ̀ nígbà tó yẹ pé lawless country ní Nàìjíríà fídíò yẹn wà lórí social media tẹ bá rí bọ̀bọ̀ yẹn ṣe gbá etí bọ̀bọ̀ náà ó kàn fi baya picture ó dẹ̀ lè fi pickpocket kò sí nǹkan tó possible náà làwọn yẹn náà ó lè fi já chain gbà bó tó bá já chain gbà ní mẹ́wàá wá pa síbẹ̀ ni bó kò lè jẹ́ kó kàn ní the picture ẹ mọ̀ káyìn tó bá ti jẹ́ celebrity people are always excited about you wọ́n máa ń ya wèrè nípa ẹni ọ̀rọ̀ tó dẹ̀ wà nílẹ̀ kò sí ọ̀rọ̀ celebrity ọ̀rọ̀ tó wà nílẹ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ tó kan gbogbo wa ni but àwa fi ń ṣeré a fi ń ṣàwàdà ẹ já padà sórí Soviet Union bó ṣe collapse àti sọ meaning rage fún yín tí Nnamdi Kanu sọ ó ní ẹ mọ rage tó wà nínú àwọn tẹ bá mọ rage tó wà nínú àwọn ni kí ló ń pè ní rage mo ti fún ní meaning rage yẹn violent ló ń pè bẹ́ẹ̀ tí wọ́n bá dẹ̀ sọ pé o fẹ́ violent máa béèrè pé nígbà tó wá colonize wa ṣé wọ́n lo violent lé wa lórí gbóhùn sókè Nnamdi Kanu.
We are very, very angry.
ẹ máa rí àwọn as normal people but àwọn wà very very angry. Àwọn Biafra yẹn wọ́n bínú pé àwa ò push, àwa ò dẹ̀ fẹ́ push nítorí pé a sì like Nàìjíríà. Wọ́n dẹ̀ mọ̀ pé Yorùbá gangan ló ń hold Nàìjíríà. Every day lára àwọn Biafra yẹn tán attack wa, every blessed day pé ẹ̀yin gangan lẹ̀ ń dá wa dúró. Wọ́n mọ̀ pé àwa gangan ní the key to Nigeria. But tá a bá wá dá wọn dúró títí ṣe fi pé wọ́n ní jáde fúnra wọn tó bá yá. Ìbọn láti rí nísìn. Káwa máa bá lọ bá ṣe ń bá lọ. Àwọn ò ní bá lọ bẹ́ẹ̀ o. Tó bá dẹ̀ ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ kí ẹ̀kan máa jáde pé Koiki ṣorí pé wọ́n ló ń support àwọn Biafra yẹn wo. Anyway, ẹ jẹ́ kó tó táìmì kí ẹ̀kan jáde kó ṣe program lèmi lórí àbí wọn. Èpè lẹ́ máa gbà lẹ́nu mi. Torí à ń sọ nísìn pé kí Tinubu fún wọn ní option. Referendum yes or no ni. Tó bá dẹ̀ náà wọn lọ wà nù Nàìjíríà pẹ̀lú wa, àjọ máa ṣe, àjọ máa jẹ, àjọ máa mú. O lè sọ pé ò fẹ́ràn wọn tọ́dẹ̀ náà wọn fẹ́ lọ kò ní kó máa lọ kò possible. Ìkànnì ẹ̀ la máa mú. Ẹ fẹ́ràn wọn ẹ dẹ̀ fẹ́ kọ́ lọ èwo lẹ fẹ́ nu méjèèjì. Hypocrite Yorùbá people, hypocrite nìyí, hypocrite. Ẹ fẹ́ràn àwọn Igbo wọ́n dẹ̀ náà wọn fẹ́ lọ ẹ dẹ̀ fún wọn láyè kó máa lọ. We are all hypocrite. Àwọn ni wọ́n ń gbalẹ̀ mọ́ yín lọ́wọ́, ó ń pẹ́ kó tó gba gbogbo Èkó mọ́ yín lọ́wọ́, ó ń pẹ́ kó tó gba gbogbo ilẹ̀ Yorùbá mọ́ yín lọ́wọ́. Ẹ sọ fún Tinubu pé kó fún wọn ní referendum kó máa lọ, káwa máa lẹ̀ dín mọ́ Málà àti Fúlàní nínú Nàìjíríà kí ya máa jẹ wá. Hypocrite people, hypocrite Yorùbá people. Ẹ wọ́n ní wọ́n ti gbalẹ̀ gbogbo Èkó láti gba Koiki ìwọ shut up idiot, shut up. Ẹ sọ fún wọn pé kó máa lọ. Tó bá ti wá lọ tán ká wá lọ́ọ̀kì ilẹ̀ Yorùbá mọ́ wọn lọ́rùn pé wọ́n bí wọn dá kó máa bọ̀ nílẹ̀ Yorùbá nígbà yẹn. Ẹ lè ṣe nothing nísìn because they are part of Nigeria. In tó bá wọn ní kódà tó bá lè ra House of Assembly Lagos gan ẹni kọ́ rà á. Ṣèbá à ń rí wọn nísìn. Ẹ̀yin ò mọ̀ pé àwọn náà wà strategic ni. Wọ́n wà strategic ni. Ṣèbí mọ̀ rí e-money tó ń lọ báyìí pẹ̀lú àwọn immigration officer tó ń ṣe kíní kan because òun náà fẹ́ wà strategic. Tó bá dẹ̀ máa wà strategic that means pé wọ́n expand mọ́ wa lọ́wọ́ ni. So let them go. Ẹ jẹ́ kó máa lọ. Hypocrite Yorùbá people. Àwọn aláìda. Like àwọn Igbo dẹ̀ ń sọ pé òun fẹ́ lọ. Ta ló bá máa kọ́kọ́ pariwo pé kó máa lọ. Gbogbo iná kúkú ṣe fake drug lẹ́ ń ṣe gbogbo ẹ̀wọ̀. Ẹ jẹ́ kó máa lọ ká lè lọ́ọ̀kì ilẹ̀ Yorùbá mọ́ wọn lọ́rùn. So that wọ́n lè máa dín pẹ̀lú ra wọn kó máa para wọn sókè lọ́hùn. Hypocrite Yorùbá people. Ẹ tí mọ̀ kankan. Jẹ́ gbẹ́lẹ̀ lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí ká tó máa tẹ̀síwájú.
People must understand the rage that is boiling within us. You must understand how angry we are. We may look normal to you, but we are very, very angry, believe me. And by the time we are done with Nigeria, the name won't exist.
By the time they are done with Nigeria, bí orúkọ yẹn dà kò ní exist mọ́. That is what they're going to do. And they are already on the track. Wọ́n ti dáwó, wọ́n ti prepare mind wọn. Àwọn dẹ̀ mọ̀ pé ogun ló máa parí ẹ̀. Tí Biafra kan wá sọ fún yín pé àwọn máa lọ without fighting, irọ́ ló ń pa fún ẹ̀. Á jẹ́ pé èyí tó ń tẹ̀lé DOS nìyẹn, torí wèrè ni wọ́n ti pín sí méjì. Àwọn kan náà ti tẹ̀lé DOS. Ṣùgbọ́n àwọn autopilot yẹn. Ṣé mọ̀ pé bọ́ ṣe ń ṣiṣẹ́ lójoojúmọ́ ló ń dáwó sí àpò ìjọba olówó wọn tó fi sílẹ̀. Wọ́n ti ṣe as a mandate pé kàkà kí mo níra mi lára wọ́n lọ ń ṣe extra hours tó fi ń dáwó. Àwọn máa ní ẹ dáwó nísìnyí o a fẹ́ ṣe díṣe o àwọn kan tí máa probe ẹ̀. Ẹ̀rọ kan ṣeré. If you think they are joking, they are not joking. So actually we are very good because like I said, I still have a bit of energy and I'm not going anywhere. So phones yẹn gbogbo wọn ṣì mo dúpẹ́ lọ́mọ sí mi. She actually have to leave one of her phone. Pé kí wọ́n gbà lọ́wọ́ àwọn. Fóònù yẹn ni mò ń lò ní orí Facebook ẹ̀yin tẹ̀ ń wò mí ẹ máa bá ń kí mọ̀ sí mi dáadáa. Mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin grandma náà tẹ̀ ń tọ́jú wa lọ́tùn lósè. So bẹ́ẹ̀ náà ṣe ń ṣe ni mọ̀ sí tèmi náà ń ṣe. Mo lọ gba fóònù yẹn lọ́wọ́ wọn láti fi replace mẹ́ta tá fi ránṣẹ́ lọ sí Nàìjíríà. Ẹ tó bá ní phones ẹ wipe it off ẹ send ẹ̀ sí wa. Tó bá dẹ́ pé Nàìjíríà náà ni tẹ́ bá dẹ̀ lè ra tuntun fún wa a ṣe need more of all these products so that we can continue to do so much of this campaign. Now a sì wà lẹ́nu pé báwo ni Soviet Union ṣe pín nítorí pé George Bush senior ẹ ṣe gan ni bàbá wa Fab àwọn ló ní Koiki máa fi senior sí kó lè bá yé gbogbo wa. George Bush senior ó support independent ṣe rí internet nísìn ni pé kọ́lọ́ Elédùmarè kó kọ̀ fún wa ní country kan àmọ́ country náà ẹ lè máa fọkàn sí pé bí a Russia ó tẹ̀lé má jẹ́ Russia kódà ó lè jẹ́ UK àní kó kọ̀ fún wa ní country kan tó máa sọjú nù kí lẹ rò pé Biafra nísìn tí wọ́n ṣe ń sọjú nù fún wọn bí àwọn ìlú kan fẹ́ kí Nàìjíríà kó tètè pín kò dẹ̀ ní wọ́n ní wá align tó bá dé United Nations tí Amẹ́ríkà bá ń veto nǹkan kan Russia náà lè veto against ẹ̀ ọ̀rọ̀ tó máa ṣẹlẹ̀ yìí ọ̀rọ̀ Biafra máa dé United Nations Security Council láìpẹ́ láì jìnnà ìgbà tó máa débẹ̀ láì tí mọ̀ bọ̀bọ̀ ṣe ń bá lọ yìí especially ẹ̀dín Nnamdi Kanu síbẹ̀ ẹ̀ wá ń sọ pé ẹ fẹ́ ṣẹjọ́ pẹ̀lú ẹ̀ ìdàdí náà wọ́n fẹ́ Nàìjíríà mọ́ ẹ̀yin wá ń sọ pé ẹ fẹ́ ṣẹjọ́ pẹ̀lú ẹ̀ nítorí pé ó fẹ́ set up rédíò ṣé Bọ́lá Tinubu ò set up rédíò nígbà nàdẹ́kò hypocrite Yorùbá people hypocrite ni gbogbo yín tó yẹ kí Tinubu máa sọ pé kọ́ di Nnamdi Kanu mú ẹ fi sí bí ẹni bí ọdọ ń ṣe reverse ni ẹ máa bára wọn ẹ máa gbà sí fún wọn I don't know ṣé Tinubu ò set up radio Yorùbá radio Nadeko Kudirat radio níjọ́ náà lọ́hùn Nnamdi Kanu fẹ́ set up radio and then so what wọ́n ní ó fi pín Nàìjíríà tó máa collapse. Why George Bush Senior supported this independent movement? U.S. policy was reactive. Bush chose to let events unfold organically. Mo like ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn. Things will unfold organically in Nigeria when some countries look away. Careful not to do anything to worsen Gorbachev's position. While the policy review complete and taking into account unfolding events in Europe, Bush Senior met with Gorbachev at Malta in the early December 1981. Ó kù just under 2 years tí USSR máa pín, and it eventually collapsed. They laid the groundwork for finalizing START negotiation, completing the Conventional Force in Europe Treaty. Wọ́n máa force Nigeria kó negotiate pẹ̀lú Biafra láìpẹ́ láì jìnnà. Àwa máa lẹ́pa mọ́ Nàìjíríà torí ọmọdé kì í ṣe bẹ̀bẹ̀rẹ̀ tó wà níbẹ̀. Hypocrite Yorùbá people. Ẹ fẹ́ràn Igbo. Ẹ dẹ̀ fẹ́ kọ́ lọ. Èwo lẹ máa múnu méjèèjì. Wọ́n ti gba Koiki wọ́n ti gba gbogbo Èkó mọ́ wọn lọ́wọ́. Ẹ jẹ́ kọ́ lọ ká wá lé wọn pa jáde pé kọ́ ẹ bá wà lá nílẹ̀. Èyí tó bá náà rà lẹ̀ kọ́ fún lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀ kọ́ jẹ́ kó máa kó gbára ẹ̀ padà lọ sí Biafra. Àwa mọ̀ pé a ti lock wọn. Èyí tó bá fẹ́ wá wọlé á follow òfin tá a ṣe wà lábẹ́ Nàìjíríà. That's táwa náà báyìí ti lọ. Èyí tó bá náà rà lé ẹ fún lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀ kó padà lọ sí state ẹ̀. Ṣèbọn ti gba bí àwọn níṣe yẹn ọwọ́ wà nínú Lagos state ẹ wá ń complain wo they play ṣèbí nǹkan tẹ́yìn náà máa sọ fún mi nìyẹn ẹ̀ ń play ni they play. We cannot say we don't want Igbo people in our territory, yet we don't want them to be given referendum. Economy méjèèjì la máa mú, and that's a fact. Ó lè máa wà comfortable fún gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá ọ̀rọ̀ tí mò ń sọ problem tí nìyẹn kò ṣe problem tí mi. Ìkànnì ẹ̀ la máa mú. So anyway, eventually a ní láti ka gbogbo ìtàn yìí mo fẹ́ padà sórí ti ìta ń bá bọ̀ gangan lugard. Eventually we saw that Soviet Union collapsed. Now ìlú mélòó ni Soviet Union ló jáde látara wọn? How many countries eventually? Eurostar service suspended after strike. Ẹ̀yin tẹ́ bá fẹ́ travel update kan nìyẹn. Kò rí atẹ́gùn yẹn ṣe ń fẹ́ fúrúfúrú báyìí. How many? What are the 15 countries of the Soviet Union? 15 ló jáde níbẹ̀. Lágbára Elédùmarè mẹ́wàá máa jáde nínú Nàìjíríà kò sí nǹkan tó máa ṣẹlẹ̀. Ẹ bá gbàdúrà ní crossover 19 pé kọ́lọ́ máa pín Nàìjíríà ẹ̀ ń tanra yín ó máa collapse. Akọ̀wé lè bẹ Ọlọ́run pé tó bá collapse kó má di ìtàjẹ̀sílẹ̀ tó máa pọ̀. That's all. Kíyàn kan máa lọ sí church ní crossover 9. God bless Nigeria. God please don't let this country break. Òmùgọ̀ nìyẹn. Prior to their independence, they existed as Union Republic top-level constituent of the Soviet Union. Prior to independence, kó tó gba independent, kí Yorùbá tó gba independent, kí Igbo tó gba independent, ojú kan la wà. Kí Mala Hausa tó gba independent, ojú kan ni gbogbo wa. But along the line, it will eventually paka. Baba Sunday Okparani, Koiki, God Almighty will bless you for great enlightenment to your people. The truth will keep you forever. Thanks for the liberation and the vision of the people. Baba Fabni, is either you agree to wind or snowing, you must take one. And all this demon soil, it can be dissolved without even one bullet if we are honest with each other. But our politicians, ṣé ìtì dínà tó ń wa Bentley tó ń tẹ̀síwájú ṣé owó tiẹ̀ ló fi ra Bentley tó bá ń ṣòwò Nàìjíríà àwọn kan ní hustler ní tẹ́lẹ̀ ìwọ hustle ẹ̀yin ò ṣe lówó ẹ ṣe bàbá wa Àríṣekọ́lá ẹ̀yin ò ṣe lówó ṣèbẹ́yìn náà hustle gbogbo akọ́là hustle kí ló ń káwa náà lówó politics ló ń jẹ́ kí gbogbo wọn lówó tó yọkùn pọ̀npọ̀npọ̀n yẹn. There are 15 post-Soviet states in total. Ẹ jẹ́ ká kà Armenia, Azerbaijan, Belarus, Estonia, Georgia, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Latvia, Lithuania, Moldova, Russia, Kyrgyzstan, Turkmenistan, Ukraine tó ń jà lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ àti Uzbekistan. Gbogbo àwọn ìlú tó jáde lára Soviet Union nìyẹn. Soviet Union ní agbára tó pọ̀ níjọ́ náà lọ́hùn àmọ́ wọ́n ní Amẹ́ríkà sọjú nù torí àwọn kan fẹ́ independent kọ́lọ́n ọba Elédùmarè kó jẹ́ káwọn ìlú ńláńlá tó lè jẹ́ pé káwọn náà kọ́ sọjú nù káwa máa bá tiwa lọ pẹ̀lú Nàìjíríà tí Nàìjíríà bá fẹ́ wá lo tòkánná jẹ tiwọn kó sọ fún Nàìjíríà pé tó bá lò yẹn àgbà ẹ wá sórí round table kájọ sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ máa bọ̀ ní Qatar torí Qatar ni gbogbo àṣẹ máa end up sí lágbára Ọlọ́run ibẹ̀ láti máa lọ yanjú ọ̀rọ̀ tó wà nílẹ̀. What are the 15 countries of the Soviet Union? How many countries are Soviet Union? 15 Soviet Socialist Republics. Soviet Union formed Northern Eurasian Empire from 1917 to 1991. It was founded and it was dissolved, it was collapsed. Nigeria was founded, it will be collapsed. It is just that nobody knows when. It could take another 5-7 years, it could take longer, it could take shorter. It all depends on every single one of us, not just about one person. It is about every one of us, including the loyalty to the country. Àwọn kan loyal sí Nigeria because àwọn countries yẹn inú ibẹ̀ làwọn ti ń jẹ. Àwọn kan loyal, àwọn kan náà fẹ́ ká pín because wọ́n lè ṣe business pẹ̀lú Nigeria. Wọ́n ní Simon Ekpa should not travel to Qatar. Ara àwọn tó máa tẹ̀lé lọ, òun ní láti lọ. So, how far have we done? A ti ṣe 3 hours. Ẹ ká wind down there. Ẹ ká ka lùgáàdì díẹ̀ ká tó máa lọ. Ẹ jẹ́ kí n ka lùgáàdì yẹn padà. So, ẹ jẹ́ ká wá lọ ka ìtàn lùgáàdì. This is coming from the www.cfr.org. Màá share link yẹn fún ẹni tó bá fẹ́ lọ kà á lẹ́yìn tá a bá parí ètò. Follow backup channel wa dẹ̀ bá wa pín ètò kí ló dé ṣebí church náà máa ní kẹ́ pín ètò dẹ̀ máa ń pín ètò ilé náà ara service náà ni ẹ bá wa pín mo kí ẹ jùlọ tó sìn ẹ bá wa máa pín ẹ jẹ́ kó kárí ilé ẹ jẹ́ kó kárí ìta ẹ jẹ́ tó sáré wo àwọn tó ti comment ní gbogbo ibi tí a ti ń ṣe broadcast ká wo ká máa ní mo kí bàbá wa Gbájé Wàsíù Denix mo rí ẹ oní Yorùbá nation need them one outright now. Well, gbà tó bá yẹ everybody máa mọ̀. If Yoruba stand up between 24 hours, that is the end of Nigeria. Baba, I've programmed yesterday at the YWM about that. Okay, mo mọ̀ tẹ́ kọ síbẹ̀ yẹn. Màmá mi dúpẹ́ làwà ẹ ṣé gan ni mà. Tsunami nìkan ló lè tú ìlú yẹn ká àwọn wèrè tí pọ̀ jù nílùú yẹn. Wọ́n ní ìyá mi mo dúpẹ́ làwà ìyá dáadáa ìyá ìwé. Wọ́n ní tsunami ló máa tú Nàìjíríà ká. Eleni, I don't pray for snow this Christmas. Okay, Atika, Elenko, you don't want us to enjoy Christmas. But you enjoy Christmas. Ni pé kó wá ní tajàre ká máa build the snowman. Ẹ̀yin like ẹ máa build the snowman ni. Mo kí gbogbo ilé nǹkan sí. Ní pé parí ètò yẹn. Ẹ jẹ́ kí n ka ti Lugard díẹ̀ sí ká tó máa lọ. Lugard. Kí ni Lugard? Ẹ jẹ́ ká ka ìtọ́kọ nípa Lugard. A ti sọ ti Soviet Union. Mo ti fún yín ní understanding ẹ̀. According to Lugard created Nigeria Omade ìgbà tó kọ article yìí was January 2nd, 2018, which is about some years back. But now, nígbà yẹn Nigeria was 104 years. But ní January 1st, tafemu yìí Nigeria máa di 110 years old. Kò ní territory. I mean, tó bá ṣe pé fraud ni, òyìnbó lo territory lẹ̀ Yorùbá, wọ́n gbé Nigeria lé lórí. In tó ṣe nìyẹn, because Nigeria tá à ń sọ yẹn, ṣe mọ̀ pé kò ní territory òyìnbó ló wò pé ibi táwọn ti ṣe ẹrú fáwọn wa wọ́n ti colonize wa wọ́n wá ṣe gbogbo yẹn títí kàkà kọ́ máa lọ mo kí justice for the masses ẹ kí wa pé ẹ káàsán èmi náà ní ẹ káàbọ̀ sórí ètò sá ṣe mọ̀ pé what they now did was rather than allow everybody to stay on their own. Wọ́n wá ní okay no ẹ jẹ́ ká pa orúkọ yẹn rẹ́, wọ́n wá pa orúkọ tiwa rẹ́, Ọlọ́run ní jẹ́ kó pa orúkọ wa rẹ́, wọ́n wá gbórúkọ mi lé lórí bí ṣe sọ fún yín tó bá wá ń travel especially àwọn àtàṣe ní Nigerian passport kò ń ṣẹ́yìn tí ẹ ti ní British passport o. Wọ́n wá ní are you a Nigerian? And yes, oh from southwest one month based on orúkọ ẹ a ní Ọlákúnlé Ọláyọmí ọmọ pé orúkọ ọmọ Yorùbá ni. Kí ló dé tá àwa jẹ́ ká gba real identity wa? Mo kí ẹ TJ bàbá káàbọ̀ sórí ètò. Kí ló dé tá gba real identity wa? Mo kí ẹ Kúnlé Bakers, mo ì tí ì rí yẹn kó wọlé, tó bá ti wọlé ó máa fún mi lówó ni, ó máa fi hàn pé ó ti wọlé. Mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin olólùfẹ́ wa. Ẹ jẹ́ ká kan tí John Campbell tó kọ ní January 2nd 2018 Lugard created Nigeria 104 years ago. That was in 2018. On January 1st 1914 ẹlòmíì ibi tí mo fẹ́ kà mo ní interrupt má kàdélẹ̀ tó bá wá yí ẹ by the time tí bá kà tán ẹni Mr. Koiki ń tẹ́ ka yẹn àwọn òyìnbó tẹ́ ń lò yẹn ti pọ̀ jù màá wá ṣàlàyé fún yín. On January 1st 1914 Lord Frederick Lugard, the governor of both the Northern Nigeria Protectorate and the colony and the Protectorate of Southern Nigeria, signed a document consolidating the two, thereby creating the colony and Protectorate of Nigeria. 46 years later, in 1960, Nigeria became an independent state. Anniversaries are times for reflection, and given that today, just over 104 years after amalgamation, the country is still grappling with its national identity. The country is still grappling with its national identity. And the emanated separatist movement, it is worth reflecting on how exactly Nigeria became Nigeria. For me, a few seconds, kí n fi lọ sókè kí n na ọ̀sẹ̀ mi díẹ̀. While I'm doing that, mo fẹ́ wo kí ni mo tún lè play fún wa tí màá fi padà dé. Kákọ̀ fi nǹkan tó light sí ni. And I'm always careful with videos now, so mo sì lè lọ lo tí Ṣòwòrẹ́ yẹn. Ẹ jẹ́ ká lọ play Ṣòwòrẹ́. I prefer yẹn. Tí bá padà dé, mo mọ tí mo kà dé, I'll continue from there. I'm going to joke for some time now. I need to stretch the leg up and come back down. So, ẹ jẹ́ ká padà sí Ṣòwòrẹ́. So, ẹ jẹ́ ká gbọ́n tí Ṣòwòrẹ́ kọ sí bíbá tó sọ. Tẹ́yìn tẹ́ wà lórí Koiki Odùduwà, in case tẹ́ bá gbọ́, ẹ má fi ṣèbínú because the way the system is set up. Tẹ́ bá fi gbọ́, ẹ sáré lọ sí other platforms wa.
Nigerians must understand that unless something drastic happens, we cannot have elections that are won on the basis of ideas. As things stand in Nigeria today, our successive governments have destroyed the basis for any progressive politics. You cannot have a country where young people who are brilliant, who have ideas, are told to run for councillors, while people with antiquated ideas are recommended to be presidential candidates. And even they become president. That's why the country is the way it is today. Unless a revolution happens in this country, same way they had in Sudan, probably in Algeria, it's going to be difficult to have free and fair elections. I am saying it so that we're not under any illusion that somehow, if we continue to talk, it is not a battle of wits, that the democratic space will open for us to have a country where good people, great ideas can lead the country. As we chanted during our recent protest march in Maryland area of Lagos, in Nigeria, where just 5 people will be richer than 200 million people, call it work. In Nigeria, where your NEPA bill is greater than your house rent, call it work. To the skeptics who say Nigerians are too apathetic and divided to rise up for a revolution or up to a revolution, I say this: hunger doesn't know ethnicity, insecurity doesn't know religion, and when Nigeria becomes a better place, it won't matter where you come from. The time for revolution is now. And it will not be televised.
It will not be televised. Ẹ rí pé mo dé at the exact time. Òṣègùn Ọmọyẹlé Ṣòwòrẹ́, èèyàn ti Koikimedia. So ẹ ká padà sórí Lugard tá à ń kà lọ lẹ́ǹkan. Mo kí gbogbo Waris Yunadu ní artificial state colonies are bound to collapse as indigenous Yoruba and other nationalities will revive their individual languages, custom, culture, identity with their territorial jurisdiction. Kò síbi kankan tó jẹ́ pé Nàìjíríà ní jurisdiction tẹ̀. Mo kí Alájà Láyé ẹ káàbọ̀ sórí ètò ìyá wa. Mo kí bàbá mi Prince Adékúnlé, Yoruba nation must surely stand. Now let's go further. Before Europeans arrived in the territory that is now Nigeria, a number of different civilizations existed whose presence is felt today. For example, in the north, Islam was predominant in the 19th century. There were two Islamic empires, the Sokoto Caliphate and the Borno Empire. To the southwest lay numerous Yoruba cities that generally had in common Aminist religion and were only sometimes united. To the southwest was an Igbo kingdom, Inri, and a collection of semi-autonomous towns and villages in the Niger River Delta. Such regions were linguistically, religiously, and politically distinct. Àìtí rẹ̀ ní sanwó 3 hours wá o. Lecture room látẹ̀ nǹkan ẹ̀ka ti rí £30 kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀? Joke aside nìyẹn. While other colonial powers such as the Portuguese became involved in the region by way of the slave trade as early as the 15th century, the British arrived in force. The British arrived in force only in the 18th century. Wọ́n wá pẹ̀lú eré, wọ́n wá pẹ̀lú tìjàtìjà, wọ́n wá pẹ̀lú togun-togun. It was not until 1861 that they formally occupied their fourth Nigerian territory, Lagos, in a bid to protect Christian converts and trading interest. Trading interest and to protect Christian converts. Àwọn tó convert sí Christianity. Àwọn tó ṣe ti oníṣẹ̀ṣe mọ́ níjọ́ náà lọ́hùn ní 1886. So that means pé Britain ò ní any access any kankan on territory until 1861 nígbà tó kọ́kọ́ rí Èkó gbà bí àgbà tó gbà lọ́wọ́ àwọn Portuguese. Only God knows how many ẹ̀jẹ̀ tó ta sílẹ̀. And to further their anti-slavery campaign, in 1884, the British occupied what would later become the Southern Protectorate. Wọ́n ti expand, wọ́n ti kó ìbọn wọlé, wọ́n ti kó bọ́ǹbù wọlé, wọ́n ti kó díìsì wọlé, wọ́n ti pa àwọn èèyàn, wọ́n ti manipulate gbogbo wa. Ó yá báyìí lè jà, ìwọ tó ní ọmọ Ìjẹ̀bú nìyẹn, ọmọ Bú Èkìtì, ọba bá gbogbo wa, àwa kọrí síra wa. Òun ló sì ń ṣẹlẹ̀ lẹ́ni títí dọ̀la. That is what they did. Mo sọ fún yín pé ṣekúṣẹyẹ làwọn òyìnbó kò ń ṣàwọn ọmọ wọn, àwọn ìjọba tiwọn ìjọ náà lọ́hùn àtàwọn kọ̀ọ̀kan nú wọn lénìí. Àwọn yẹn ni wọ́n wá yín mú sèmi pé they play. Ó ṣáà ń gbọ́n nǹkan tó ń sọ síbẹ̀ tó bá gbọ́ òyìnbó ṣáà ń gbọ́ bí ṣe ń ṣàlàyé ẹ̀. In 1884, the British occupied what would later become the Southern Protectorate and the Northern Protectorate piecemeal from 1900 to 1903. By 1903, the British controlled the territory that comprises modern-day Nigeria, but as 3 separate administrative blocks. Ọ̀tọ̀ọ̀tọ̀ ní gbogbo wa. Even as at that time, kí ló dé tó wá kó gbogbo àpapọ̀ bíi màálù àti màálù àná àfẹ́gbé pẹ̀lú àwọn ẹranko mọ́. Ìta ń jà fún nìyẹn. Ìta ń pariwo lójoojúmọ́ nìyẹn tó dàbí ìgbà tẹ́ pé à ń ṣe múfì bíi Kúnlé Ọláyan. Òfin pa àwọn yẹn máa ṣeré ọ máa sọ̀rọ̀ tẹ́mi sọ ni. Àwọn mẹ́kọ̀ọ́ òfin pé mi náà fẹ́ mẹ́kọ̀ọ́ owó ni èmi náà fẹ́ lówó. Tó bá yẹ pé mi náà lọ ń fa gbùrù tí mo ń ṣe tí mo jẹ́ kí n máa ṣe màá lówó lọ́wọ́ màá fi tọ́jú ọmọ màá fi tọ́jú ìyàwó àjókòó sí orìnrìn àjò pé kí ayé wa lè ní identity ẹ wá yín mú sí wa ẹni dey play mo ti gbọ́. No problem. Gbogbo ala máa jẹ breakfast. Ṣọ́ ti rí bọ̀bọ́ yẹn ṣọ́ ti rí gbálẹ̀ àwọn èsì wà lọ́dọ̀ àwọn Fúlàní terrorist. Jùjú bá nìyẹn mo ní tó bá bí da tó bá dé kó má tètè kọrin tó máa reflect problem tó bá tẹ̀ support Yorùbá nation kó tètè ya sọ tójú ẹ̀ rí kọ́lọ̀ má jẹ́ kó pa síbẹ̀. Likely pé wọ́n máa release it before Christmas ó slim. Kódà àwọn Nàìjíríà ti gbàgbé pé wọ́n ẹlòmíì tẹ̀ ti gbàgbé ìyẹn lásán kan tó yín pé kẹ́ jáde kẹ́ lọ protest ẹni kémi máa bọ̀ ń lé orí yín ò pè ni mo sọ. Ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ń sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ ni o kò ṣe àwọn tó ń wò mí o. Ìyẹn lásán gan tó pé ká jáde pé odindi 14 people lọ kidnap. Ìyẹn kan ti fún mi lówó fìlà yín dẹ̀ máa ń dà pé ìyẹn lówó tó pọ̀ dáadáa ẹ ṣé gan ni sà lórí TikTok kò ní tán níbẹ̀ Mr. Sean Leon. Àbọ̀rọ̀ mo yẹ yín nísìn ìyẹn lásán tó gan kí gbogbo jáde ká lọ protest pé èèyàn 14 people have been kidnapped láti jọ Saturday di Sunday. Kò sí ẹ mọ̀ pé àwọn èèyàn kàn sọ lórí social media àti mẹ́nu kúrò nù yẹn àtúndó da àwọn ẹlòmíràn tó máa kidnap. Má ṣe o. By 1903 British ti ní agbára ò lọ ní wọ́n ti control gbogbo territory. Ibo ni wọ́n control ibi tó ń control níjọ́ náà lọ́n kò ń ṣe Nàìjíríà wọ́n ń pè ní Southern and the Northern Protectorate. Àwọn dẹ̀ ló ń pè níbẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ ni I think the juju artist has been released with his band members. Okay, when I think tó bá ipò ti release wọn adúpẹ́ fọ́lọ́run ìtafẹ́ náà nìyẹn láti pé wọ́n tètè kówó jáde nìyẹn adúpẹ́ fọ́lọ́run. So ṣe rí gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ ẹ̀ disagree pé ṣe rí bíbáyìí òun ní Nàìjíríà ẹ lè má rí dáadáa ibi tí mo fọwọ́ sí. So even as at that time ìgbà tá à ń sọ̀rọ̀ yìí ní 1903 wọ́n ń pè ní Southern and Northern Protectorate. Even God said orúkọ tó ń pè yẹn ó wrong but àwọn kò fi demarcate ni because Yorùbá kingdom lọ́ba Ẹ̀yọ́ empire lọ́ba but àwọn wá pè ní Southern Protectorate and Northern Protectorate. But by 1903 Britain ti ní agbára tó pọ̀. Nígbà tá a bá náà ti release wọn kí ni èmi wà ń lé ni wọ́n bá ti release wọn kọ́ release wọn náà ni èbí kọ́ release wọn náà là ń bẹ Ọlọ́run fún. So bí àwọn tó súnmọ́ wọn lọ́wọ́ nímọ̀ pọ̀ release wọn brother wa kan dẹ̀ ní pé èèyàn wọn méjì kan wà níbẹ̀ bọ́ mo rò pé wà lórí program pẹ̀lú mi lẹ́nìí tó bá náà ti release wọn àdúrà kan gbà pé kọ́ release wọn náà ni àbí kí la fẹ́ ṣe sí tó bá dẹ̀ ti release wọn tó náà ti release wọn Nàìjíríà tó bá sọ pé ilẹ̀ ti ṣú ṣáà make sure pé ilẹ̀ ti mọ́ ni. I have sent the release video clip to your Instagram this morning. Oh, okay. Ẹ jẹ́ kí n lọ wò ń gbà yẹn. Okay, I didn't know that. Ẹ ṣe gan bàbá wa. Ṣé orí Koikimedia lẹ send ẹ̀ sí àbí Ọláyọmí Koiki? Ó ní orí Koiki náà lẹ máa fẹ́ send ẹ̀ sí. All right, that's fine. So we're grateful that they've been released. Okay, mo ń try láti wo how many hours ago. Okay, kò ṣe lè. All right, mo rí bí they send ẹ̀ sí o. I'm trying to look for it, but I can't find it anyway. About to release one, that's very good. It's a great news, because Kamama fi yẹn ṣẹ̀fẹ̀ pé ẹn tó kidnap, òun ló mọ tó jẹ́ màtírí lọ́hùn. I just pray pé nígbà tó dé nísìn kọ́ ṣàwà fi kọrin pé bọ́rọ̀ Nàìjíríà ṣe rí ẹjọ́ lọ́wọ́ Láyọ̀mí Koiki. I can't say it there. Messages me. All right, I'll check it properly to bash it on the program. Let's come back to the actual conversation again. By 1903, the British controlled the territory that comprises the modern-day Nigeria, but as 3 separate administrative blocks. 3 separate administrative blocks. Ìgbà yẹn la máa fi sọ pé, okay, màá check it out. Bàbá wa màá check it bá ṣe tán because mo rí dáadáa nísìnyí. Màá wò lórí fóònù mi. We have the Eastern, the Northern, and the Southern Protectorate. I mean, the Southern and South. Western region, Eastern region, and the Northern region. As early as 1898, the British considered combining the then 3 protectorates to reduce administrative burden on the British and allow the rich South, Tile Yoruba, to effectively subsidize the much less economic prosperous North. Ibi táwọn Yorùbá tẹ́ fi máa ń sọ pé Koiki tábà wá pín kí ló máa ṣẹlẹ̀ ṣàlè maintain ara wa. Britain gan mọ̀ pé as far back as 1898 ni wọ́n ti ń consider pé ọmọ bí nǹkan ṣe ń lọ yìí ó náà pé a máa join gbogbo yín papọ̀ because àwọ̀ ò lè máa fi owó tiwa ká máa fi bọ́ North. That was exactly what happened. So as early as 1898, the British considered combining máa kó gbogbo wa papọ̀ the 3 protectorates to reduce administrative burden. Lẹ́ni nísìn ìran wo ló ń support North in terms of the IGR. Àwa là ń pawó wọlé ní South West. A fi ń bọ́ àwọn gàmbàrí lókè ọ̀yà lọ́hùn. So why are we not then able to stand on our own? Because British gan mọ̀ pé níjọ́ náà lọ́hùn ní 1898 kò tí ì sí Nàìjíríà nígbà yẹn o. Wọ́n ti amalgamate wa o. The Lagos colony was later incorporated into the Southern Nigerian Protectorate for budgetary reasons. Ẹlòmíì ò gbọ́ tàn yìí rí. àwọn tó dẹ̀ tún gbọ́ ṣe ni wọ́n complain pé Koiki ìgbà tó gbogbo yẹn wá ṣẹlẹ̀ nǹkan já máa bá torí inú bẹ̀lẹ̀ yìí ti ń jẹ oníjẹkújẹ nìyí wicked people. The Lagos colony was later incorporated. Nigeria was just a business center fáwọn British. Business center ní látòkè délẹ̀. Láti òkè délẹ̀, Nigeria was a business center. Queen Mama Moki. Okay, tèmi lórí Mixella, Okoya, gbogbo yín pátápátá. A máa mẹ́tò yẹn wálẹ̀ díẹ̀. Can you take a short break? Àti ṣe 3 hours 21 minutes. I don't like going that long length. Nígbà tẹ̀mọ̀ àti fẹ́ padà wá, kí yẹn lè padà wá strong and able to go. But mo fẹ́ kábí ìbàtàn délẹ̀. The Lagos colony was later incorporated into the Southern Nigerian Protectorate for budgetary reasons. That is what Lugard was referring to in his infamous description of how a marriage between the rich wife of substance and means that the South, our long penny rich wife, and the poor husband, the North. Eshigoni, Mr. Machiavelli, and may you live long, senior man. Thank you so much, sir. I am not here to fight anyone. Mo kàn ṣàlàyé fún wa what and how the make. Ṣẹ̀rẹ́dẹ̀ tí mo sọ yìí nísìnyí, òun la máa fi ṣe part 1, part 2, series 1 for a very long time. Kódà àbá máa parí lẹ́ẹ̀mejì lẹ́ẹ̀mẹ́ta because ó gbọ́dọ̀ yé yín dáadáa the making of that shit old country called Nigeria. Àwa ni rich wife. Our not ni poor husband will lead to a happy life for both. One will lead to a happy life for both of us. Ṣé happy life là ń gbé nísìn? Àwa àti not. Ṣé no, ẹ̀yin náà comment náà kó má rà pé mi nìkan mò ń sọ̀rọ̀. Ṣé happy life la jọ ń gbé? Why are we living in denial? Yes, we're not saying that gbogbo wọn lọ bad. A lè jókòó síbà ká ní gbogbo Hausa ló bad. Kódà lè sọ pé gbogbo Fúlàní ló bad, but mo fẹ́ mọ gbogbo Fúlàní tó fẹ́ wọlé, a fẹ́ ní details wọn up to their data. In tó bá mú British gba fingerprint tèmi, a gbọ́dọ̀ gba fingerprint gbogbo àwọn Fúlàní àti Igbo àti gbogbo ẹ̀yà tó kù tó bá fẹ́ wá gbé pẹ̀lú wa. Ẹ̀gbọ́n mi triple one, why did they call South wife? Which means they know what they are doing. Àwa la ní Nàìjíríà. Because àwa ó ti sọ síbẹ̀ náà, ẹ̀jẹ̀ tó bẹ̀ yẹn kà kó lè bá yé wa. Wọ́n ní Lugard ó pèdè kan infamous description of how a marriage ìgbéyàwó láti ara olówó obìnrin the rich wife of a substance and means that our South nílẹ̀ Yorùbá and the poor husband ní North àwọn North ló wá ń jẹ gàba lórí gbogbo wa ẹ rò pé Tinubu ló ń control Nigeria they joke or they play dẹni. Tó bá yá gbogbo ala máa understand pé Tinubu is just another puppet. Kò ń ṣe pé mo disrespect ẹ but mo ń sọ fún yín pé Tinubu is a puppet to Southern of Sokoto. Sultan of Sokoto ló ní Nigeria. The poor husband in the North. Wọ́n wá ní will lead to happy life. Ṣé happy life là ń gbé láti ìgbà tí wọ́n ti merge wa together? Are we living happy life? Or we are all living in denial? A lot of us know that we are not living happy life. But we are trying to pretend rather, that we live happy life, even though we are not. Anytime I lórí YouTube Koikimedia, fún mi ní just few seconds, mo fẹ́ fi check nǹkan kan lórí phone mi, mo ní pẹ́ kí n tó padà, ẹ má bínú.
Politics. You cannot have a country where young people who are brilliant, who have ideas, are told to run for councillors, while people with antiquated ideas are recommended to be presidential candidates, and even they become president. That's why the country is the way it is today. Unless a revolution happens in this country, same way they had in Sudan, probably in Algeria, it's going to be difficult to have free and fair elections. I am saying it so that we're not under any illusion that somehow, if we continue to talk, it is not a battle of wits. That the democratic space will open for us to have a country where good people, great ideas can lead the country.
Wọ́n ní jẹ́ kí good people Ṣòwòrẹ́ wọ́n ní jẹ́ kí good people wọ́n ní kí Ṣòwòrẹ́ lọ bẹ̀rẹ̀ as a councillor. Tẹ́ bá ṣe ń gbọ́ mi lórí Koikimedia YouTube ẹ jẹ́ kí n mọ̀ ẹ má bínú pé mo come out lẹ́ẹ̀kan. A ní láti dá èèyàn lóò lẹ́yìn ni. So ẹ jẹ́ ká padà quickly sórí Lugard. A ti gbọ́ pé àwa ni ìyàwó. So anytime tó bá ń rí rẹ máa rí rẹ as ìyàwó ní àwa Yorùbá. Àwọn málà ẹ ṣe gan Mr. Azeez Sakiru. Àwọn málà kò ń ṣe pé I hate málà o. Haúsá bí a kì í pè bẹ́ẹ̀. Àwọn Haúsá ni ọkọ. Ṣe ni pé wọ́n gbọ́n. Wọ́n dẹ̀ ní ọkọ lólórí ó ti yé yín. Wọ́n wá jẹ gàba lé wa lórí. Àtẹ̀dúpẹ́ pé Tinubu débẹ̀. Adúpẹ́ ṣèbí nǹkan ta fẹ́ náà nìyẹn. Ó dẹ̀ ti débẹ̀ nísìn. Kí ló máa wá ṣẹlẹ̀? Àwọn kan ní Koiki wọ́n má wọ́rì. Òun ló máa jẹ́ the last president. I pray and I hope so. Because tí Tinubu bá lọ parí tẹ́nu ẹ̀ pátápátá. Tí mo tún wá ń jókòó sí bíbá tí mo tún sọ̀rọ̀ pé Yorùbá nation no going back. Ọmọ Málàpá ṣe gèsì gbogbo alára. And that is the reason why I afford láti slow down torí bàbá Tinubu wà níbẹ̀. Kò sí tó kàn wá. I hate it. This is the time that we must continue to propel and push and push and push the movement until we collapse the country. But tá a bá ti ṣe yẹn, ọmọ ọjọ́ ọ̀la yẹn ó máa le díẹ̀ o. Ẹ mọ̀ pé ó dàbí nǹkan tó pẹ́ ni. Tá a bá máa díjú dàlà báyìí nísìn. Gbogbo tá à ń sọ yìí 7 years máa dé o. Ó kọ́ ẹ pé age wa máa ti gbogbo olúkàlùkù bá di 7 years mọ́ age ẹ̀. Ìwọ náà máa mọ bí tá a rẹ̀ kù sí. Kọ́lọ̀ kó fún gbogbo alẹ́ mi gúngún àtàlàfíà. Kára lè kókó bí ata. Gbogbo ẹ̀yin ìyá wa ẹ̀ ní kú sí wa lọ́wọ́. Gbogbo ẹ̀yin bàbá wa ẹ̀ ní kú. Ẹ máa dàgbà ẹ máa dògbò. Bọ̀ kẹ́yìn máa jí pé tá a bá di 7 years mọ́ age wa. Yorùbá ọ̀rẹ́ tí kúrò lára Nàìjíríà. Kì í mọ́jọ́ lóòótọ́ o. Torí bàálẹ̀ máa ní Koiki wọn náà lọ tún ní a máa kúrò ní 2037 2031. Subject to gbogbo abarẹ́dì ni o. I said it in 2023. It would have been possible. But one year, Koiki ní gbogbo mechanism, ní kan jà, ní this, ní that. Okay, agreed. Ní kan jà lóòótọ́. But ní kan ta lè fi pull it down, which is the crowd. Rí Igboho ni. You don't see Igboho. Tí crowd yẹn bá káàkiri ilẹ̀ Yorùbá bẹ́ẹ̀ for continuously. A máa shut down gbogbo system. So we see how it goes. Mo kẹ́gbọ́n mi, gbogbo ìyẹn, brothers mi, àtàyìn beautiful sisters wa. A máa parí ètò yẹn tí bá ti ka article ìtàn so that kí mi náà lè lọ take short break. Kí n tẹ̀lé lọ 1 second batch oúnjẹ mi jẹ. Àwọn yóò ti tap yẹn. Omi yẹn ó ń drip díẹ̀díẹ̀. Wọ́n dẹ̀ máa mú bíìlì wa nísìn. Kò sí ìdókòó dẹ̀ kan àwọn ọmọ ìlú òyìnbó tí wọn. Bàbá ló máa san bíìlì. So tó mi yẹn tó ń drip kò yẹ pọ̀ pọ̀ náà bọ̀ tẹ́mọ̀ kéékèèké náà làwọn àwọn save owó náà ni mo kẹ́ easy. Ẹ má bínú pa ayé kí program yìí pẹ́ díẹ̀ lénìí àti over 3.5 hours nísìn. So let's move swiftly. Bola Kade. Some have suspected that Lugard was referring to the political supremacy of the North over the South. Ẹ gbọ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn. Some àwọn èèyàn ti ń suspect. But Lugard was referring to the political supremacy of the North to the South. The name Nigeria. If you are going to go, the name Nigeria was coined by the future Lady Lugard in an 1897 London Times article. Anything pertaining to that. In the Times on January 8, 1897, she wrote, "The name Nigeria applying to no other part of Africa may without offense to any neighbors be accepted as coexistent with the territories over which the Royal Niger Company has extended British influence and may serve to differentiate them from the colonies." Flora Shaw, ìyẹn girlfriend Lugard. Baba Abidi, the people who joined the protectorate in marriage refused to dissolve the sham marriage. Naming Nigeria in an essay that first appeared in the Times on January 8, 1897 by Miss Shaw, ìyàwó, kò tẹ́ ṣe ìyàwó girlfriend ni wọ́n because of Fẹ́ra officially. Laura Shaw, she suggested the name Nigeria for the British protectorate on the Niger River, or River Niger River làwọn kọ, but it should be River Niger, but it doesn't matter. In an essay, Laura Shaw made the case for a shorter term that will be used for the agglomeration of pagan and Mehodin state to replace the official title of the Royal Niger Company territory. Nigeria used to be Royal Niger trading post ní Nigeria òmùgọ̀. Ìwọ tó ń ṣe save Nigeria is a trading post. Tó o bá tẹ̀ gbọ́ tẹ́lẹ̀ rí, eléyìí tó ń gbọ́ ìṣe kò jẹ́ kó máa ronú sí ni. Let's go further. Was too long to be used as a name of a real estate property. Under the trading company in the part of Africa, she was in search of a new name. Girlfriend ń bá wa wá orúkọ. Tá a bá mọ gbogbo eléyìí tẹ́lẹ̀. Ara ìdí tá a ti ń sọ pé ká padà sí ìran wa tẹ́lẹ̀ ní òun ló wá coin bẹ́ẹ̀ ni Mr. Waris Jinadu. She coined it after the geographical river location. Tó fi ń pè ní River Niger. Ó ní orúkọ tó ń jẹ́ tẹ́lẹ̀ yẹn Royal Niger Company ó ti gùn jù àwọn gbọ́dọ̀ wá kékeré fún. Only was too long to be used as the name of a real estate property. Under the trading company in the part of Africa, she was in search of a new name. So that means pé kò ń ṣe Jésù Kristi ló create Nigeria. Kò ń ṣe Ànábì Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam ló create Nigeria. Àwọn onílẹ̀ wa kọ́ create Nigeria tí àwọn onílẹ̀ tí wọ́n gbé fún wa tí à manage. Laura Shaw, girlfriend Lugard, ló decide pé ọ̀nà táwọn máa gbà ní pé àwọn ò fi máa pè ní Royal Niger Company, àwọn á máa pè ní Nigeria. Let's go further. She was in search of a new name. She coined Nigeria in preference to the term such as Central Sudan, which were associated with the area by some geographical travelers. Ẹ má bínú. Small one, so yes, but you won't be able to put on the shoe. I'm sorry. Do you have something to put on?
I left it at the bank.
Well, if you want to take the shoe off and just walk through.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, thank you. Am I been on? No, don't want to take it. A very, very small one. So, yeah, very small. That's it. Yeah, very small one. That's that's it. It's empty. There's nothing inside. Yeah. All right. There might be no.
It's unplugged, huh?
No. It's not plugged. It's not plugged. Yeah.
So small.
Yeah, very small one. Yeah. Very small one. So, bí ṣe ń sọ lọ, àwọn ṣe tí wọ́n lọ. So, nígbà tí wọ́n create orúkọ tá à ń pè eventually many people lẹ́ni nísìn ẹ wá ní ká forget history wa ká dúró lórí ẹni tí wọ́n create fún wa ìdí ni pé why should we do that mo kí baba Mojid Ibrahim ẹni tell them they will hear by force which is what we are doing ẹ gbọ́dọ̀ gbọ́ ni Ogunmola.
Okay, sir.
Thank you so much. Those market mama will still vote Tinubu if Nigeria exists. Benny, I won't be in doubt of that. Ẹ jẹ́ ká gbọ́ show rẹ̀ kí n fi lọ close ilẹ̀kùn.
It is pointless chasing a rat when your house is on
You okay
fire.
there?
Nigeria needs a revolution or else. Nigerians must understand that unless something drastic happens, we cannot have elections that are won on the basis of ideas. As things stand in Nigeria today, our successive governments have destroyed the basis for any progressive politics. You cannot have a country where young people who are brilliant, who have ideas, are told to run for councillors, while people with antiquated ideas are recommended to be presidential candidates. And even they become president. That's why the country is the way it is today. Unless a revolution happens in this country, same way they had in Sudan, probably in Nigeria, it's going to be difficult to have free elections. I am saying it so that we're not...
Ta ló ń gbádùn ẹ lọ? Ta ló ń gbádùn ẹ? Bóyá bó ṣe ń gbádùn tí àti sìgá. Ṣé ń gbádùn program yẹn? Ṣó ń lọ díẹ̀díẹ̀? Ṣó ń yé wa? Ẹ ò pé lecturer láti béèrè pé ṣó ń yé wa? Fóònù ilé Twitter space yẹn ni mo tẹ̀ ní láti pa ẹ má bínú Mr. Bashir ẹ lọ darapọ̀ mọ́ wa lórí the other platform because fóònù yẹn ti wọ red so máa pa Twitter space yẹn nísìn kò dẹ́nà allow kí n charge ẹ̀ tí bá ń lò so ẹ má bínú sí mi sà ẹ lọ darapọ̀ a ṣe wà lórí live lórí other platform wa tí o mọ̀ pé ẹnìkan ló kù lórí space ẹ má bínú sà thanks so much ṣó ń yé wa kẹ́tẹ́kẹ́tẹ́ ṣó ń yé wa tá à ń bá lọ a yẹ kí àwọn kan fúlẹ̀ o ọlọ́run kankan create Nàìjíríà o àwọn méjèèjì bára wọn sùn wọ́n jí níjọ́ kan lọ ní trading post ẹja change orúkọ ẹja rẹ̀. Some of the educative people never listen to this wonderful explanation from the Koiki Soji worldwide. Ṣé wọn kí n bá lóye lọ́lọ́ ń wò ọ̀rẹ́ mi dáadáa èèyàn ti Koikimedia. Ìyẹn dẹ̀ ń discuss ọ̀rọ̀ politics in Nigeria tí kò lè tó máa lọ forever bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn ìrọ̀lẹ́ ló wà níbẹ̀. Politics ò lè solve problem tó wà nílẹ̀. The solution ni pé ká wá sórí round table ká discuss ẹ̀. So ẹ jẹ́ ká padà sí a ti ní better understanding ẹ jẹ́ ká wá padà sí lùgá tá à ń ká lọ ẹ̀ mú kọ́ lọ wo ètò and I'm gonna post this now èyí tí mo lọ ra short tí mo ń ṣí lẹ́ǹkan yẹn dà okay jẹ́ kí n search for again mighty closer so màá post the exact word yìí nísìn ẹ jẹ́ mú ẹ̀ náà màá fi sórí community wa lórí kódà èyí tí ẹ ká promote ni so màá fi síta nísìn so ẹ jẹ́ ká ṣe yẹn mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wà lórí ìjókòó ẹ kú àtàárọ̀ akúpalẹ̀mọ́ Christmas akúkú bá wa láyé kò ní fi wá sílẹ̀ lọ àbáwá dẹ̀ la máa fi wá sílẹ̀ lọ náà nàbí báwa ní Yorùbá yẹn so mo ti ń fẹ́ post ọ̀rọ̀ Lọ́ra Shaw yẹn mo ti fẹ́ post ẹ̀ síta so ẹ jẹ́ kí n kọ́kọ́ lọ fi sórí mo kí bàbá ọ̀nà ẹ ṣe gan ni wọ́n ní nobody is happy o Mr. Koiki Ikeja and the mainland of Lagos is part of Ogun State interesting ṣẹ́rí wọ́n ti gé gbogbo territory yẹn wọ́n ti gé bó ṣe wù wọ́n olúkálukú kọ̀ yọ tiẹ̀ ni create so many false states so mo fẹ́ mú picture ìyàwó olùgáàdì yẹn àtọ̀rọ̀ tó sọ so fẹ́ post ẹ̀ síta ẹlòmíì ò rírí ẹlòmíì lè nìkan tí mò ń sọ igan kò rí bẹ́ẹ̀ so ìyẹn mo ṣe fẹ́ post ẹ̀ síta ọlọ́run fi wá sílẹ̀ ìkà ni wọ́n ti ṣèkà fún wa wọ́n ti ṣe ìkà fún Nàìjíríà fún ìran Yorùbá rather so it is time now that we allow the history to be rewritten mo kí bàbá kí tó yẹ dáadáa ẹ̀gbọ́n mi triple rẹ do all these Yoruba elders read this article you are reading or they are just sitting down for their own interest they careless mo kí bàbá mi ẹ̀gbọ́n mi Sean Lawal thank you so much hello boss afternoon how was your day òun náà la ṣe wà lẹ́nu ẹ̀ láti 11 o'clock láti jókòó. kí sound yẹn ti padà. Pop up the volume Yoruba. Oh, sorry. Kí sound yẹn ti padà nísìnyí. Where I'll get this post. Mr. Baba Soji, ẹ lọ sórí page mi. Ẹ máa post ẹ sórí TikTok, but tí bá ṣe tán nìyẹn because ẹ mọ̀ pé mo wà live nísìnyí. So ẹ mọ̀ pé ẹ máa repost mi lórí TikTok. And I have a lot of people that are following us on TikTok. Ẹ ṣé gan ni. We have good amount of people. Even though I'm not following anybody, ẹ má bínú, I just decided to leave it like that. But gbogbo ẹ̀ tẹ́ ń follow wa. So màá post ẹ̀ tí bá ti parí program lágbára Ọlọ́run. Màá post ẹ̀ sórí. Ẹ mọ̀ pé TikTok mo lè lo browser láti fi wọnú TikTok. So phone ni màá fi ń post. So tí bá ti ṣe tán lẹ́sẹ̀kẹsẹ̀ màá post ẹ̀. Gbogbo ẹ̀ lẹ́ máa rí. So ẹ jẹ́ ká fi ilẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn for now. So now I've posted it, kí ni mo sọ àwọn èèyàn tí ń retweet. So, you know, these are kind of information that is needed because tó máa fi the 1st of January nísìn wọ́n máa sọ̀rọ̀ nípa, you know, this Nigeria. Àwọn Yorùbá Clubhouse, àwọn náà ń gbìyànjú. Founders of Union Baptist Church, Allen Poly, American name, original African name, Poly, Kupoli, origin Yoruba, Allen Rose, Yoruba, Copper Katie, Monabi, Ọmọlúàbí, Yoruba, Kebbi Osha, Le Joseph. Ẹ mọ̀ kọ́ change gbogbo orúkọ yẹn nígbà slave trade yẹn. The founder of Union Baptist Church, the African American heritage. Do you know about the historical town of Africa Town near Mobile, Alabama, US, which was formed by 32 West Africans, among 110 majority of whom were Yoruba, from Bente, now the Central Benin Republic, illegally brought as enslaved people into America in 1860. That community spoke Yoruba until 1950. Oluwale Koshola, aka Koji Lewis, Omolabi, Matabi, Macred. So these are history that they read. What more? What fẹ́ jẹ́ kí ìtàn wa kó parẹ́ àwa là nígbà. So ẹ jẹ́ parí ti Lugard yẹn so that, you know, màá lè parí ètò yẹn so that even if I want to come back in another 3 hours, màá lè, because people are sending messages kí n tó lọ ka message kàkà phone and we're almost just the last bit. So àti kan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ ní ntí Lugard ìyàwó ẹ̀kọ́, the name Nigeria was coined. Ká bẹ̀rẹ̀ láti bẹ̀rẹ̀ padà. The orúkọ Nigeria yẹn wọ́n put it together. Ìyá girlfriend ní Lugard tó ń pè ní Lady Lugard, kódà ó mention ẹ̀ ní 1897 ní London Times article yẹn la post nísìn. A máa post ẹ̀ sórí TikTok tá bá parí ètò. With Lord Lugard arbitrary conception of Nigeria in mind, one can begin to see the many varied problems colonialism created in Nigeria. Ṣẹ̀gbọ́n kan tó sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn. Pẹ̀lú kan tó dálẹ̀ yẹn, ó create many problems in Nigeria, across West Africa, and around the world. It is worth noting this as well. Ma post ilé tí bá ti parí ètò. Because if I parí the last article yẹn kú kékeré. Not least among these problems, for Nigeria in particular, was the problem of unifying national identity. National identity wa là ń jà fún. Fúlàní pa wá nínú gbogbo yẹn àmọ́ ni. The real reason that ṣe ń fẹ́ Yorùbá nation òun ni identity wa. Ẹni tó bá ti lose identity, o ti lose gbogbo tó ní. O kọ́lé sí Nàìjíríà, o wá lose identity ẹ, you are wasting your time. Gbogbo ẹni tẹ́ nílé lọ́hùn, ọ̀nà àbáwá dúró ti ilé yẹn, tá máa fi débi tá à ń lọ, tí ilé yẹn túbọ̀ máa ṣe kí ni, a tún lè dáwó ẹ̀kọ́ ètò tó máa jù bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. Identity wa là ń jà fún. Òun ni Campbell kọ sí bíbáyìí. Màá tútú bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn kà lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí. Not least among these problems, for Nigeria in particular, ìlú tó ní 350 different languages, almost 300 different ethnic people rather, indigenous people. Ẹ wá kó gbogbo àpapọ̀, ẹ wá ní ká máa gbígbé àlàáfíà, àwọn ìnà ara wa ni, a lè gbígbé àlàáfíà. The problem of unifying national identity. It is no wonder that divisive people forcibly united into single state, sometimes turned to separatism. Contemporary examples range from Biafra, Ambazonia, Cameroon, to Somaliland and to Azawad. Wọ́n kọ Yorùbá síbẹ̀. Nísìn táwọn máa tún kíní nǹkan tí bọ̀bọ̀ ẹ̀ bá máa tún kíní nǹkan nísìn, wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ fi ti Yorùbá sí because àwa náà ti ń complain nísìn. Ẹ jẹ́ n ká bẹ̀yẹn padà. So wọ́n mọ Biafra dáadáa because Biafra declare ní 1967. Ó ní ìyẹn ló ṣe ń fa contemporarily examples range from Biafra, ó kọ Biafra síbẹ̀, Biafra, Nigeria, to Ambazonia, Cameroon, to Somaliland, Somali, and to Azawi in Mali. Ibi tá máa rí ètò tèmi dé nìyẹn for now. Like I said, àní jẹ́ kó pẹ́, probably 4, 3, 5 hours if I can make it out again. Ẹ̀yin ní kẹ́kọ̀ọ́ make sure pé notification bell yẹn ẹ tàn. Ẹ má bínú pé this one lasted 4 hours. A fún yín ní top up ní Christmas bonus. Tẹ́bá rẹ̀ tó máa ní Koiki, èmi náà sanwó 1 hour minimum wages mi ò pọ̀ jù. A gba basic pay £10 an hour. Kì máa ní lecturer tó máa fi gbowó tó pọ̀ ní ẹ lè fi sí àkáǹtì wa. Ẹ má ẹ̀ kó pẹ́. Mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá. Mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ àyìn tẹ́ ẹ̀ ń gbọ́ wa àtẹ̀yìn tẹ́ ẹ̀ gbọ́ wa. Princess Awoniyi, mo rọ́wọ́ yín níjọ́ ní ẹ ṣé gan ni. Ẹ bá wọn kí ọmọ Òdùà, ẹ bá ń kí Princess, ẹ bá ń kí òun náà dáadáa. Princess ò kì í ṣe pet name o. Mo kí gbogbo àwọn Èkìtì parapọ̀. Mo kí gbogbo àwọn Ìjẹ̀bú. Mo kí àwọn Oǹdó. Mo kí Ọ̀ṣun. Mo kí ẹ̀yin ti Kwara. Mo kí ẹ̀yin ti Ọ̀fà. Mo kí ẹ̀yin ti Èkìtì. Mo kí ẹ̀yin ti Ọ̀ṣun, Ọ̀yọ́. Ọmọ Yorùbá ìkan náà ni gbogbo wa. Àwọn òyìnbó aláwọ̀ funfun yìí, àwọn ló da gbogbo ẹ̀rú bí ẹsẹ̀ télọ̀. A máa wá tuntò. Ó lè pẹ́, ó lè yá. Nàìjíríà máa collapse. Láṣẹ Èdùmàrè ni mo sọ. In Jesus' name. Thank you so much. Have a very great afternoon. My name is Olawumi Koiki. Èní a máa jẹ́ 21st day of the month of December 2023. Aago mẹ́ta fi lọ lù ní London níbi tí mo ti ń transmit. Ẹ make sure pé kẹ́ tó darapọ̀ mọ́ wa. Ẹ wá máa follow wa back to back. Ẹni tọ́rọ̀ bá wá yé, ẹ má ẹ̀ka búra wa, ẹ má ẹ̀ka jà. Ìta lè ṣe ni pé ẹ pè wá lẹ́yìn. Mr. Koiki, ọ̀rọ̀ tẹ́ sọ yẹn mo like ẹ bá má sọ bẹ́ẹ̀. A máa ń like feedback. Mo like feedback because ìlú òyìnbó ni mo gbé. Tẹ́ bá wá fẹ́ communicate pẹ̀lú wa, ẹ lọ sórí website mi w-meta.koikimedia. Kò ń ṣe kókìkí o, Koiki media. Láti bẹ̀ ẹ send message sí mi. Má wàá tún send message pé mo ní message mo fẹ́ béèrè. Ẹ̀yin ní kẹ́kọ̀ọ́ send message ẹ̀ máa reply yín and I'll communicate back. And on that note, thank you so much. Láṣẹ Èdùmàrè bí ṣe sọ, a máa collapse Nigeria yìí on behalf of Yoruba people. Èmi àti iná làjọ máa wá ṣe o. Kò ń ṣe olóyè Ìgbòho nìkan, kò ń ṣe bàbá Akíntóyè. Gbogbo wa a máa wà in formidable force. Láìsí ìjà, a sọ fún àwọn olóṣèlú wa pé a fẹ́ Nàìjíríà mọ́. Orúkọ tó pé yẹn, a mọ̀ bó ṣe wá. Bó ṣe jẹ́ nìyẹn. Ẹ ṣé gan ni. Mo kí àtó bí mi lọ́mọ. Thank you so much. One love, one love, one love. Bye for now. Màá post kìíní ẹ̀ sórí TikTok tí bá ti ṣe tán nísìn. Ẹ rí níbẹ̀ ní gbogbo languages. Bye for now. Ẹ̀yin tèmi lórí YouTube, Waris Jinadu, gbogbo ẹ̀gbọ́n mi, Ṣẹ́gun Ọ̀nà, as God and the rest of you. Àtẹni tó jù mí lọ, àtẹni tí mo jù lọ, mo ṣe bá yín o. Ọkọ̀yà Fọláyan, shout out and I'm checking out now. Bye for now. Ẹ ṣé gan ni wọ́n mú wa tó fún wa ní super chat o, kò ní tán bẹ́ẹ̀ o. Thanks so much.